Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Issei snapped and betrayed by everyone and met Ravel for Harem? Before I start, please do support for more awesome content, and subscribe my channel and like this video. Go support and follow the Skinny 40k for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story. Link in the description. Issei Hayato was sitting on the couch in the Orc, occult research club. His master Rias Gremery, who was the president of the Orc, was working on some papers she had received from the underworld. Things were not going too well between the Gremery princess and her pawn Issei Hayato, since Issei still views her as his master and not someone as his equal. He kept calling her president, which deeply hurt Rias' heart, especially after the rating game interview when she and Issei were in the sauna alone and Rias was about to offer Issei her virginity, but then he called her president. All Rias wanted was to be closer to Issei and for him to say that he loves her, or at the very least call her by her name. Issei, I still don't understand what I did wrong. Everything was going so well for me. I just hope that she cools down soon so that we can talk and smooth things over. Issei silently pondered over what had happened. He knew things between him and Rias were starting to deteriorate, and he wondered where he had gone wrong. As he reflected on his situation, searching for an answer to the problem, Issei noticed a magic circle materialize before him on the coffee table. Just as he was about to speak, Kaneko glanced at it, and immediately recognized who it was from. Kaneko Phoenix, a woman bearing an uncanny resemblance to Ravel, appeared. She appeared to be in her early 20s, possessing the same blonde hair and blue eyes. The only difference was that her hair was elegantly styled, adorned with various ornamental pieces. Ravel, mother. Ravel was completely taken by surprise. She didn't expect her mother to call Issei Ravel's mother, so that means she is the current head of the House of Phoenix, which also makes her Riser's mother. And she's really beautiful. Hello, Ravel. Sorry for the sudden call. I couldn't get any time, so I ended up calling at this hour. In the human world in Japan, it's still school time, right? Ravel, why yes, it certainly is, but why did you call all of a sudden? Rias walked over to the hologram. Rias, hello, Lady Phoenix. It's been a while. May I know your reason for calling? Lady Phoenix indeed, but first I should introduce myself. Everyone, my name is Layla Phoenix, the current matriarch of the Phoenix family. Is the Red Dragon Emperor Issei Hayato here? If so, may I speak to him? Issei, yes, Lady Phoenix, I am here. Do you need something from me? He responded with a respectful voice. Layla, hello to you too. This is our first time meeting like this, isn't it? Issei Hayato, the Red Dragon Emperor. I apologize for introducing myself like this. Issei, there's no need to apologize, it's a pleasure to meet you. Layla, yes, I thought I should greet you properly. Normally I would go and greet Rias, who is in charge of the Hayato residence where my daughter will be staying while she attends Co-Academy, but there were reasons why we couldn't visit. Rias, it's fine, Lady Phoenix, I understand how busy you are. Layla, thank you, Rias. Now then, Issei Hayato, I have a request which I would like for you to complete if you do not mind. Issei, what is it, Lady Phoenix? Layla, you see, my daughter Ravel is studying at that school, and I wanted you and Rias both to look after her and protect her from weird pests. Would you please look after her? Issei, yes ma'am, you can count on me, Lady Phoenix, I will look after her. Layla, thank you, Issei Hayato. Oh, and one more thing, I had Riser trade with me a while back, after which she is a free bishop. Your goal is to be a high-class devil, right? Issei, yes. Wait, do you mean? Layla chuckled. Layla, indeed, if Ravel so pleases, she can be in your peerage once you become a high-ranking devil, so I am counting on you to look after her, and who knows, maybe she will. Ravel, mother. Ravel shouted out of embarrassment and bashfulness. Layla only chuckled at her daughter's plight. Then Issei responded. Issei, you can count on me, I will protect Ravel no matter what, you have nothing to worry about. Ravel blushed while Rias looked at the scene with sadness and slight anger. Layla, thank you, Issei, and you see around Rias. Rias, of course, Lady Phoenix. The magic circle disappeared, and then Rias all of a sudden decided to go out, which Issei and the other club members present noticed. Issei then asks, Issei, are you going somewhere, President? Rias looked at him with a sad look. Issei flinched. He did not know exactly what happened or why she was still sad. Issei, is something wrong, President? Rias, Issei, I need to know, would you protect me? Issei, yeah, of course, I'd die for you, President. Rias, what about Asia? Issei, yeah, I'd protect her too. Rias, and Aquino. Issei, duh, totally. Why wouldn't I still though? Why are you asking? Is something up? Rias sighed. Aquino and Asia, as well as the majority of the ORC, understood what Rias was getting at. She had a sad look on her face as she asked one final question. Rias, I see, tell me. Issei, yeah, what? Rias, what am I to you? How do you see me? Issei, Rias, just answer me already. Issei, okay, well, let me think. You're the president. Rias, you idiot! Why can't you understand the way I feel? Issei, but president, if you would just let me. Akino, enough, Issei. It appears that you're too naive to understand Rias' feelings. Issei, please just give me a chance. Zenovia, geez, Issei. I know I can be dense sometimes, but even I know how Rias feels. If you're this oblivious, then having kids with you would be a bad idea. Drake observed the tense atmosphere, growing increasingly concerned for Issei's well-being. He understood the turmoil within Issei's emotions and feared that it might awaken something dangerous within him. He could feel the curse of the former users of the gear beginning to awaken, and soon they would try to get him to activate the Juggernaut drive. Drake was going to say something to defend his partner and prevent the selfish actions of the girls from causing any further harm to him. It could trigger a very dangerous situation with Issei. Meanwhile, Ireina firmly advised Issei to remain silent, recognizing that any words he spoke would only exacerbate the situation for everyone involved. She acknowledged Issei's inclination towards perverseness but questioned his obliviousness to Rias's feelings. As tensions heightened, Kaneko can't help but express disappointment in Issei's behavior, unleashing a barrage of hurtful remarks. Drake observes the backlash, deeming it excessive despite understanding the other's grievances. But at the same time they are ignoring Issei's feelings and, more importantly, the trauma he has experienced. If they understood, Drake believed this situation would unfold differently. But as of now they are only showing how little they truly care about his partner, and how selfish they all are. Except for that Phoenix girl. Hoping to find solace in Asia's support, Issei instead faced further disappointment when she criticized him and deemed him worthless. Tearfully, Issei questioned what he had done to deserve such treatment, desperately seeking understanding from those he saw as friends and lovers. Kiba sighed, feeling uncertain about where to begin in explaining Issei's missteps. Gasper, agreeing with Kiba, voiced his disapproval as well. Issei, emotionally overwhelmed, couldn't comprehend why everyone was turning against him. Sensing Issei's distress, Ravel approached him with genuine concern. However, before Issei could respond, another voice chimed in. Akino provided context to Issei's actions, revealing that the complaints they have been getting about his peeping on the Kendo Club has started tarnishing their club's reputation. Rias, acknowledging the impact of Issei's actions, agreed that they could no longer overlook his behavior. Ravel, passionately defending Issei, struggled to comprehend how they all could treat him as disposable after everything he had done for them. Especially Rias, of all people here, since it was Issei who almost died to earn her freedom and saved her from her arranged marriage with her brother Riser. She started to berate the other girls for their selfish actions and not appreciating all the good he has done for them. While Issei was in a personal turmoil, the weight of the situation left him feeling physically unwell and overwhelmed by the rejection from those he had considered his friends and peers. Drake, I knew that Gremry girl to be selfish, but witnessing everyone, including his childhood friend the so-called Angel, not standing by him infuriates me. I am unsure if it weren't for that Phoenix girl showing genuine concern for my partner's well-being, he would have succumbed to the Juggernaut drive once more. If it weren't for the fact that I am bound by this sacred gear, I might have already unleashed my flames and incinerated them all. Issei Ravel is the only one who has shown that she cares. She never berated me like the others. She has only shown concern for me. Issei discreetly grabbed Ravel's hand and slightly squeezed it, making her turn her head to face him. She could tell from his face that he was hurting from their words. But before Ravel could say anything, Rias spoke up. Rias, I acknowledge that Issei rescued me from the forced engagement with your brother. However, it has become increasingly evident that you have not experienced significant personal growth or maturity. Frankly, I am beginning to consider the possibility of being with Riser despite his tendency to treat us as mere playthings and disregard our emotions. This may sound harsh, Issei, but I deeply regret reincarnating you and including you in my peerage. I believe the time has come for you to depart from the Gremry household because at this point you haven't matured. You're still naive, and your perversion will only bring shame to the Gremry household and my peerage. I will be trading you off. The room fell into stunned silence, with Rias herself taken aback by the weight of her words. In a moment of anger and frustration, she had spoken without considering the consequences, and the realization of her actions quickly set in. However, it was too late to retract what had been said. The impact of Rias's outburst triggered a profound transformation within Issei, one that would reshape the course of events and force everyone present to confront the repercussions of their choices. Issei's boosted gear materialized on his left hand. Drake, I strongly advise all of you to evacuate the surrounding areas immediately, and I suggest that you all leave as well. Rias, but why Drake? Drake, Rias Gremmer, you are so selfish and arrogant you don't even realize the mistake you have just made. However, time is running out. You all must leave immediately. I can only restrain him for a short while. Ravel, Drake, what is happening to Issei-sama? Drake, these fools have shattered my partner's heart, and now because of their actions a true dragon will be born. I witnessed all of my partner's thoughts while he was being berated by these women. I can honestly say that you, Ravel Phoenix, provided him with a glimmer of hope. However, the selfish actions of everyone else, especially you, Rias Gremery, have pushed him into this volatile state that I can barely control. Ravel, on behalf of my partner, you should know that he genuinely cares about you and your well-being. I can see that you also care deeply for him. But you must leave now. I know my partner wouldn't want to harm or kill you in his rage, and even now I can barely contain. At that moment Drake could no longer contain Issei, and before anyone could react or utter a word a mighty roar echoed through the air. An explosion of aura erupted from Issei, its impact felt far and wide, spanning across the realms from the underworld to heaven and even reaching into the dimensional gap. The tremendous display of power even caught the attention of a certain red dragon, causing it to halt its flight and turn towards the source of the explosion. The aura's intensity also drew the attention of a short black-haired girl with a lowly-like appearance. Scene change: Lilith, capital city in the underworld. Surzex, what is happening in K? The doors to Surzek's chamber were forcefully thrown open. Graphia, my lord, did you feel that explosion of aura? Surzex, yes, I did, Graphia. It originated from K. Graphia, do you think someone is attacking the town? Surzex, I'm not sure, but I have a bad feeling about this. Quickly contact Serafal and tell her to meet me at Ko Academy. Also contact Falbium and Ajuka. Tell them to be on high alert and prepare for a possible attack by the Cow's Brigade. Graphia, understood, my lord. Shall we also inform Michael and Azazel? Surzex, yes, send an urgent message to them instructing them to rendezvous with Serafal and me at Ko Academy. They must be ready to confront the potential threat that emanates such a menacing evil aura. Let's quickly head to Ko Academy without delay. Considering the magnitude of the recent aura explosion, I have my doubts that Rias or Sona's peerages combined would last long against whatever they could be facing. Scene change: back in the orc room. Issei regains control from Drake, his head lowered and his eyes concealed by his hair. As he raises his head, his emerald eyes burn with a furious intensity. In a display of immense power and aura, he activates his balance breaker, causing the ground beneath him to fracture and crumble. The onlookers are struck with fear, witnessing a transformed Issei who is no longer the lovable pervert they knew but an enraged dragon. The onlookers are struck with fear, witnessing a transformed Issei who is no longer the lovable pervert they knew but an enraged dragon. 9. Rias, Issei, what are you doing? Akino, why did you activate your balance breaker? There are no enemies around. Asia, she's right, Issei. There's no need for this. Please calm down, let's talk. Unfortunately, the person they're trying to talk to is not Issei but an enraged dragon who has had enough of listening. And what Issei did next surprised everyone. Drake, promotions, Welsh Blaster Bishop. Everyone was surprised to hear Drake's voice call out Welsh Blaster Bishop. But that's not the end of the surprises, because Issei then points the cannon at Asia and fires. Rias, Asia, no. Akino, Asia, get out of the way. Ireina, Issei, no. Zenovia, Issei, don't do it. Minutes earlier, outside the old school building, Surzex, accompanied by Graphia, arrived at the old school building, stepping out of the teleportation circle. Much to their surprise, two familiar faces were already waiting for them. Surzex, oh, I'm glad to see you two have already arrived. Azazel, well, to be honest, I happened to be in the area when I sensed the explosion of aura. I quickly determined its origin and rushed over here. Michael teleported shortly after. Surzex, I see. So have you been able to figure out what caused this? Azazel, actually, as I was racing here, a few ideas crossed my mind. And when I neared the school, I realized where the aura was emanating from and found its strongest point. I can't help but suspect Issei had something to do with it. Michael, indeed, brother. The aura released has a dark and malevolent feel to it. Azazel, you noticed it too. Michael, yes, there is no mistaking it. It bears the same resemblance to the aura released when someone using the divine dividing or boosted gear succumbs to anger and activates the juggernaut drive. Upon hearing Michael and Azazel's words, both Surzex and Graphia felt a sense of unease creeping in. Surzex, Graphia, please go and check on the situation inside with Rias and the others. Graphia, yes, my lord. Using a teleportation circle, Graphia disappears to check on the situation in the orc room and determine if Rias and her peerage are in need of assistance, as they may be under attack from whatever let out that monstrous aura. Surzex, I have a bad feeling about this. Especially since my little sister might be involved with what is happening to Issei. Azazel, we can't jump to conclusions just yet. By the way, wasn't Serafal supposed to be here as well? Sirzex, I'm sure she'll be here soon. Just as the conversation was about to continue, another teleportation circle materialized and Serafal, accompanied by her sister Sona, emerged. Sirzex, Serafal, there you are. Where have you been? Serafal was about to explain when a loud explosion echoed from the old school building, diverting everyone's attention. They turned to witness Grafia forming an ice wall in front of Asia. They were shocked, but what stunned everyone was Issei attempting to harm Asia. Sirzex, Rias, what have you done? Azazel, let's not worry about that now. We need to calm Issei down before he activates the Juggernaut drive out of rage. Michael, Sirzex, my brother is right. We must calm the young man down, evacuate the humans from the area, and quickly put up a barrier. Sona, don't worry about the students. School ended a while ago, so only the ones here were those in clubs. I already had my peerage get them out, and Tsubaki and the rest of my peerage have set up a barrier around the academy. Serafal, great job, Sotan. I'm proud of you. Sona blushed slightly at her sister's compliment. Michael, well, at least the students won't be in danger now. But we still need to calm Issei down. Sona, does anyone know what made Hayato so angry and release this aura, and where is Rosweiss? Azazel, Rosweiss was helping me find ways to restore Issei's lost life force. I asked her to bring an item I've been working on that can temporarily disable a sacred gear user's abilities. I informed her of the situation and asked her to hurry here. As for what triggered Issei's state, I don't know. Sona, I understand. First we need to calm Issei down. Then we can find out what happened. Sirzex, I agree. Does anyone know how to calm him down? Serafal, the magical girl, has got this. Serafal began calling out to Issei to get his attention, and it worked. But what happened next no one could have expected. Issei looked towards her and let out a monstrous roar and a burst of energy that knocked everyone backwards, including Grafia. Before leaping off the destroyed part of the building that was formerly the meeting room of Orc, Drake's voice could be heard calling out mode change Welsh Sonic Boost Night. After that, Issei charged at Serafal with blinding speed, taking her by surprise. She was not expecting this level of speed from him. Issei appeared in front of her and Drake's voice was heard again calling out mode change Welsh Dragonic Rook. Serafal's eyes widened and she immediately jumped back, barely evading the incoming attack from Issei. Sona ran up to her sister, who looked slightly shaken up from that attack. Sona, sister, are you alright? Serafal, yes, but that isn't Issei. That blow he aimed at me was delivered with murderous and killing intent. It felt just like when the heavenly dragons were slaughtering our troops during the Great War, showing the same murderous and killing intent. Sona, what are you saying? That's still Hayato under that armor. He's the only one it could be. It's hard to believe that the Hayato I've gotten to know would so easily try to kill somebody. Serafal shook her head. Serafal, Sona, you are right about it still being Issei-kun underneath that armor. But we aren't fighting Issei-kun or even Drake. We are fighting the aspect of Issei-kun's dragon's side that has taken over control of his body. To simplify it, we are fighting an enraged and bloodthirsty dragon that won't stop until those who caused all this pain towards him are dead. Even then he might not stop. He could destroy all of Ko, if not a majority of Japan. Sona, you don't mean? Before she could finish what she was going to say, she stopped as she saw Issei stand up from the crater he made on impact with the ground. Only to see an enraged Zenovia charging at him with Durandal in hand, ready to slash at Issei to make him pay for trying to kill Asia. Serafal, Zenovia, no! Stay away. Serafal was unable to finish her warning as Issei swiftly turned around, grabbing Zenovia by the neck and forcefully slamming her into the ground. In a matter of seconds, Issei relentlessly pummeled Zenovia, mercilessly smashing her further into the ground and creating a crater beneath her. The sickening sounds of Zenovia's cries for help filled the air, accompanied by the bone-chilling noise of her bones shattering with each blow. Her blood stained Issei's armor and the surrounding ground, further intensifying the gruesome scene. However, before Issei could continue his merciless assault for more than seconds, Serafal intervened by launching a massive ice projectile, forcefully propelling him away from Zenovia. This brief respite allowed Ireina to arrive and witness the horrifying carnage and brutality inflicted upon Zenovia in such a brief span of time. Realizing that Issei was now charging towards her, Ireina hastily picked up Zenovia, who looked on the verge of dying. Ireina knew she needed to get her away from here and get Zenovia immediate medical attention. Ireina, oh Issei, sniff, what have we done to you? We turned you into a monster. Upon spotting Ireina making her escape, Issei emitted a low, menacing growl. Gradually reverting to his original balance breaker form, he unfurled his wings from his back. However, his attempt to take flight and pursue Ireina along with the barely conscious and injured Zenovia was immediately stopped by Ravel, who conjured numerous ice chains that tightly ensnared Issei, encasing his entire body and slamming him into the ground. As if that weren't enough, Grafia jumped in to help restrain him by imprisoning him within an immense mound of ice, rendering him completely immobilized. Grafia, this won't hold him for long, and just to keep the ice from melting I have to keep pouring my magic into it. We need to think of something to calm Issei down. Ravel, Grafia, I'll assist you in maintaining the ice prison around Issei. Meanwhile, Sirs Azazel and Michael think of a way to break through his rage and restore him to the Issei we all know and love. Grafia, Sirs Lucifer, you better bring my little brother back to us. Sirs, rest assured Grafia. I will do whatever it takes to restore him, not just for you but for all of us. In the meantime, I need you and Ravel to maintain the ice confinement as long as possible while we devise a plan. Ravel, fear not, for this magical girl stands ready to aid in saving the day. Grafia silently nodded in agreement, directing all her focus and magical energy alongside Ravel to keep Issei securely imprisoned within the icy prison. Michael, so what should we do now? Any ideas, Azazel? Azazel, I have a plan, and it seems that what I need to carry it out has just arrived. Suddenly a teleportation circle materialized and Rosweiss stepped out holding a box which she handed to Azazel. Rosweiss, Azazel, I brought the item you asked me to retrieve from your lab. Now could you please explain what's going on and why Issei is causing havoc? Azazel, thank you, Rosweiss. I will explain everything to you later. But for now I need you to evacuate Ireina Ravel Rias and her peerage from this location. Rosweiss, understood, Azazel. Azazel, Sona, can you take Zenovia to the Citri hospital in the underworld? She requires immediate medical attention. Sona, of course, Sensei. I'll take Zenovia there immediately. Azazel, very good. Sona quickly retrieved Zenovia and teleported them to the underworld hospital. Just as Rosweiss was about to go and evacuate the others, a blonde girl with her hair styled in drill curls and flame-like wings landed near Azazel and the other leaders. Ravel, where is Issei-sama? Rosweiss, Ravel, come with me. It's not safe here. The leaders can handle this. Ravel, no, I won't leave Issei-sama. I want to help him no matter what. Azazel, Ravel. Ravel, Azazel Sensei, please listen. Drake told me before losing control that Issei-sama cares about me and wouldn't want to hurt me. He said I'm the only hope Issei has right now. Sirs Ravel, although that may be true, the Issei who is in front of us now is not. Ravel, I won't abandon him like Rias and the others did. Issei is probably feeling alone and scared, please let me help him. Michael, Sirs and Azazel, I believe we should let her try to reach him. This girl seems genuine, and she may be the only person who can bring him back from his enraged state. And we don't have many other options besides letting her try to reach him and bring him back to his senses, or trying to beat Issei unconscious without killing him in the process before he can activate the Juggernaut drive. If things get serious, we would have no choice but to kill the poor boy, and I know none of us want that. Azazel, fine, if she can bring back my student, I'll put my faith in her. Sirs Ravel, do you truly believe you can reach him? Ravel, yes, I do, Lord Lucifer. Sirs, if that's the case, I'll also trust you. Please bring back my little brother for everyone's sake. Rosweiss, Ravel will stay here to help calm Issei down. I need you to gather everyone else and take them back to the Haida residence. Rosweiss, understood, Lord Lucifer. Rosweiss flew off to gather everyone and bring them back to the Haida mansion. Suddenly an explosion is heard. Michael, Sirs and Azazel turned to see Issei holding both Grafia and Ravel by the neck, even more enraged, slowly choking them. Sirs Ravel, I'm putting my faith in you. Please save my little brother, and prevent him from making a mistake by hurting Grafia or Ravel. Ravel, I will, Lord Lucifer. Azazel, Ravel, before you go, take this. Ravel, what is it? Azazel, it's a special collar I made. It's meant to disable a sacred gear user's abilities as soon as it's put on them. If you can calm Issei down enough to put this collar on him, it will end his rampage, and keep him from using his sacred gear until it's removed. Ravel, I understand, Azazel Sensei. Leave it to me to bring him back. Azazel, good. Now go bring my foolish student to his senses and save the man you love. Ravel blushed upon hearing the last thing Azazel said, but she was quickly snapped out of her thoughts by Lord Michael. Michael, brother, this is no time for teasing the young girl. Azazel, just giving her some extra motivation, Michael. He said that with a cheeky smile on his face. Michael sighed at his brother's antics, but then recomposes himself before speaking. Michael, I have the utmost faith in you, Ravel. If anyone can reach him, it's you. Ravel, thank you all for believing in me. I won't let you down. Back with Issei choking Graphia and Seraphol. Graphia P. Please. I see this isn't you, you're a kind boy, not a mindless monster. Cough. Seraphol Issei Kunel. Let go please, you're hurting me, you're not a killer, please don't do this. Cough cough. Issei only looked at them and growled. He was trying to break their necks until he heard a familiar voice call out to him. Ravel, Issei, stop this now. Issei loosened his grip on both Seraphol and Graphia. He threw them aside and turned to face Ravel. Meanwhile, Michael and Azazel rushed towards Seraphol to ensure her well-being while Surzex hurried to check on his wife. They all watched as Ravel stood her ground facing down Issei. Ravel, I see Sama, it's me Ravel. I know you must be angered and hurt by what everyone said to you. But it's not true. I haven't left you or hurt you, and the same goes for Graphia, Seraphol, Surzex, Michael, and Azazel. We just want to help you and bring you back to your senses. But more than that, I want the Issei I started to fall for to come back, because this isn't you. I want the Issei who always smiled and did his best to cheer everyone up no matter the situation. I want the man who wears his heart on his sleeve and who is honest to a fault. I want the man I fell in love with, the man I thought only existed in the fairy tales my mother told me as a kid. While Ravel spoke, Issei looked at her feeling conflicted. As she slowly approached him, Issei slammed the tail of the balance breaker on the ground, causing her to hesitate. But she remained determined, continuing to move forward, willing to reach the man she loves and save him from his own darkness. Ravel, Issei, I could see the pain in your eyes when the girls said those hurtful words. And I could feel the sorrow you felt. Their insults cut deeper than any physical attack ever could. They disregarded your feelings and didn't take into account how much their words affected you. Although I may not know the full extent of what you've been through, I've always noticed how you reacted when the girls approached or forced themselves upon you. Despite their advances, you have never once acted inappropriately or forced yourself on anyone. It was clear to me that you were afraid every time they crossed boundaries, as if you were hesitating. Whatever happened to you, I want to support and help you through it. Suddenly, Issei used the tail of his balance breaker to wrap around Ravel's neck, pulling her closer to him at eye level. Ravel struggled to free herself from the tightening grip of his tail, but still tried to reach out to Issei. Ravel struggled to free herself from the tightening grip of his tail, but still tried to reach out to Issei. Ravel, Issei, please understand that this is not who you are. You're not a monster. I beg you, don't let anger and despair consume you, don't let darkness take over. I love you and I want to help you overcome all of this. Let me be the one to guide you back towards the light, to burn away the darkness with the flames of the phoenix. Having you in my life means everything to me, and I want to be there for you. I want to be by your side. Ravel released her phoenix wings and wrapped them around Issei to give him the warmth of her wings and to try and reach him. Scene change: Issei's mindscape. Issei finds himself in a dark void shrouded in darkness, his body curled into a fetal position, tears streaming down his face. Suddenly a familiar figure with black wings envelopes him, taunting and tormenting him within his own mind. Rainier, it appears that the red-haired Gremry bitch and her peerage have finally finished what I started, shattering what little of your heart remained. Issei. Rainier, it's not much fun if you don't respond or put up a fight. Issei, just end it, kill me already. Rainier, now why would I do that when you still have one last purpose left, a purpose that could be useful to me? Issei. Rainier, come on now, you know how this should end. Let's finish it the way it was meant to be, except this time let your fury and anguish be known to all. Seems you're only good as a trophy to flaunt or a weapon to be used, just like your former master did. Unlike me, I never deceived you, did I? Issei. Rainier, so why don't we reunite in the afterlife where we can forge a real connection? Just say the words and let the curse consume you. Then we can be together forever. After all, nobody else would ever love you like I do. Now use that love and become my red dragon of domination. Embrace your true monstrous nature and activate the juggernaut drive to eliminate all who stand in your way. Issei, yes, you're right. I am a monster, and monsters are only capable of killing and spreading death. Rainier, good my love. Now show the world the monster you truly are. Issei, I will become the monster that the world perceives me to be. Ravel, Issei, you're not a monster. Issei, wait, that voice, it's Ravel. Ravel, please come back to me. I need you in my life. Everyone needs you. Issei, Ravel wants me by her side. Rainier, don't listen to that voice, it speaks nothing but lies. Ravel, I love you. Issei, Ravel loves me. She wants me in her life, and she doesn't see me as a monster. Rainier, no, start the chant. Embrace your role as the dragon of domination. Soon Issei found himself in the dark void that was starting to be lit up by a warm and comforting fire wrapping around him. The fire took the shape of a phoenix and gave the fallen angel a death glare, intimidating her. The phoenix indicated that it was here to protect Issei, and flames began to surround him and embrace him in a protective golden fire. In a swift instant it flapped its wings, burning away the rest of the darkness that was encircling and consuming Issei. This made Ireina furious. She was about to take control of the situation until she heard a deep and terrifying growl behind her. "Drake, so I finally get the pleasure of meeting the crow who has caused my partner so much pain." Issei, Drake. "You're back. I thought you were gone because I couldn't feel you anymore." "Drake, partner, I will explain everything later. But now you need to leave your mindscape. Because while you were imprisoned inside your own mind by this crow, your dragon side took over your body and released the wrath of a dragon upon all who gained your attention, including the young phoenix who was able to break you out of your prison." Issei looked at the fire that took the shape of the phoenix and noticed it looked weaker than it did a few minutes ago. That's when he realized, and he immediately left his mindscape, leaving a frightened fallen angel to deal with a very pissed off dragon. "Drake, you have caused my partner so much pain when you were alive, and even in death you were able to move a portion of your soul inside my partner to continue tormenting him. But that ends now because I will be your final executioner, fallen angel. You will now feel the full wrath of an enraged and angered dragon." Ireina gulped in fear. Scene change back with Ravel and Issei. Ravel, cough cough. "Issei, please stop. I can't breathe. Just come back to me and stop this, I need you." A lone tear went down Ravel's cheek as she started to lose consciousness until she felt Issei's grip on her neck loosen, and he dropped her, causing Ravel to fall to the ground and cough rapidly, able to breathe again. She finally heard Issei's voice, which made her stare at Issei only to see him fall to his knees and his helmet dematerialized. "Issei, Ravel." Ravel was starting to tear up after realizing that the green emerald eyes she saw in the club room, which only showed hate and anger, were no longer present in Issei's eyes. Instead, his normal chocolate brown eyes now showed immediate regret after seeing what he had done to Ravel. Tears were building up in his eyes, making her realize that her Issei was back. She ran up to him and hugged him while crying. "Ravel, oh Issei, you came back to me. I thought I had truly lost you forever." Sobbing, Issei fell unconscious while the rest of the balance breaker dematerialized. At the same time, the rest of the leaders ran up to Issei's unconscious form. "Ravel, Issei-sama. Issei-sama, please. I just got you back, don't leave me. Grafia, please help Issei-sama." Grafia sat on the ground next to Issei while Ravel was crying hysterically, still holding Issei's unconscious body. Grafia put her hand over Issei's forehead, and a small magical circle floated above his forehead from her hand. After a few minutes the circle disappeared and she retracted her hand before speaking to Ravel. "Grafia, Ravel, he will be alright. He overexerted himself fighting in that state, and using the multiple different transformations of the balance breaker. He will be alright, but he'll be out for a while." "Ravel, that's great to hear. Issei-sama will be okay." "Sirzex, thank you, Ravel Phoenix, for saving Issei and bringing him back to his senses. But I would still like an explanation of how all this came to be. But we can worry about that later. Michael, indeed, all that matters now is making sure Issei properly recovers. That goes for you as well, Ravel. A lot has happened, and I'm sure it was mentally and emotionally exhausting for you." Ravel nodded at Michael while caressing Issei's cheeks as he slept in her lap. "Azazel, before anything else, Ravel, I think you should put that collar on him just in case his mental state is still not completely stable. It will prevent him from going back into a berserk state, or even worse, accessing the Juggernaut drive." Ravel looked up at Azazel and nodded in agreement. She pulled out the sacred gear neutralizing collar and put it around Issei's neck, snapping it together. Lights appeared from the collar, changing from red to blue to green until it eventually turned white, showing that the collar successfully neutralized Issei's sacred gear and prevented him from accessing it. "Ravel, did it work?" "Azazel, yes, it is working. He is no longer able to access his sacred gear abilities. Although he should still be able to communicate with Drake, he won't be able to use any of the abilities of the boosted gear as long as the collar is on him. Seraphal, it would be best if we kept that knowledge among those currently here, because we still have to worry about the Cow's Brigade. They would take advantage of the situation knowing that Issei-kun cannot use his sacred gear." "Michael, I agree with Seraphal. Keeping this information confined to those who are currently present would be best. Don't you agree, Sirzex and Azazel?" "Azazel, I agree with that decision. The risks posed if the Cow's Brigade found out this information could become catastrophic quickly, especially if they are able to mobilize enough to launch an attack on the Alliance with a large force." "Sirzex, I also agree, but I think it would be best if we took Issei home to rest." Ravel, Lord Lucifer, I would like to politely request that we do not let Issei go back to his home, or the Gremory estate. It wouldn't be good for Issei's recovery if those who hurt him were able to find him, or have easy access to him. It would only make the situation worse for Issei after everything they said to him. Serafal, I agree with Ravel on this. I suggest having both Issei-kun and Ravel come stay at the Leviathan mansion so that Issei can rest and recover, and we can figure out everything that happened. Ravel can inform us of exactly what happened. It would also be a good idea to have Grafia stay with him just in case something happens. Sirzek, I agree with what you're saying. It would be best to keep the others away from Issei for now until we figure out exactly what happened. And I completely agree with having Grafia be with him during his recovery. If you're okay with that, Grafia. Grafia, I completely agree with this. Also, I want to make sure my little brother is in a proper state of mind along with his physical health. Serafal, well, it seems that we are all in agreement. I will be taking Issei-kun, Ravel, and Grafia with me to the Leviathan mansion. Grafia picks up Issei's unconscious body, then Ravel stands up. They both head towards Serafal, who has a teleportation circle ready for them. As soon as they both stand next to Serafal and their circle, they teleport away. Azazel, Sirzek, I think your sister has royally ed up. But I have a feeling Rias wasn't alone in this, and I think once the truth comes out, Berkiel is going to be pissed and ashamed if he finds out his own daughter helped make this mess. Michael, you're not alone, brother. I feel like my ace Ireina and I need to have a discussion about this, and the part she played in making this disastrous situation. Sirzek, I agree with both of you on this. It seems like all the women that were close to Issei have a lot of explaining to do. But let's worry about that later. We need to work on fixing the school and adjusting the memories of any humans who might have witnessed this event. Plus, both Azazel and Michael nod in agreement, and begin to fix the damage to the school and change the memories of the humans who could have seen this event. Issei, ha 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 ha. I get it now, it was nothing but the means to an end. I was nothing more than the Gremory family's shiny red dragon emperor meant to be show off and thrown away when severed my purpose. I finally understand why Sirzek and Grafia always want me to marry you. It's so the Germaris never lost their dragon and could be a leash on me. Well, and no more if you truly regret reincarnating me because I've caused you and your precious club reputation to go down because of my perverted antics. You have nothing to worry about then. I will take you up on that offer of being traded. Rias, Issei, I didn't. Issei, no. You said what you said because you said it yourself. You no longer wish for me to be part of your peerage. Then I'll grant my king her finally requested. Hey, Ravel. Ravel, who was still in shock between what Rias said and now what Issei is saying until she was brought out of her thoughts by Issei call for her. Ravel, yes, Issei-sama. Issei, can you take me to your mother, Lady Phoenix? I wish to inform her of my king's intentions to trade me. Ravel, I can do that, Issei-sama, but may I ask why? Issei, I wish to be traded to someone in the Phoenix clan. Ravel, who was surprised upon hearing that. But her surprise soon turned into a smile. Ravel, I understand, Issei-sama, I will take us there now if you would like. Issei, yes, let's go now because I see no reason wait. I would like to get this trade done as soon as possible. Ravel, yes, Issei-sama. Ravel began forming a teleportation circle under her and Issei. But before they left, the boosted gear materializes and Drake decided to speak. Drake, Rias Gremory, along with your peerage and that so-called childhood friend and angel. You all have made a huge mistake bratting my partner after all he has done for you. From save you, Rias, from a marriage you didn't want to helping that knight of your get his revenge and make peace with his past and helping the cat and the crow accept themselves. Even more so the disgrace of an exorcist after being excommunicated and being welcomed, being treated like family. Same with you, Asia, my partner almost died and trying to save you and cried over your death, and he begged Rias to revive you as a devil. Not to mention the former childhood friend that is supposed to be an angel who's supposed to uphold virtues and never fall under the temptation of sins, yet you have committed the great sin of all, the same one that got Lucifer casted out of heaven, the sin of treachery. You betrayed your own childhood friend just as everyone else betrayed his trust as comrades and as of now ex-lovers. To fulfill your own selfish desires by forcing him to admit his feelings before he was ready and not dealing with the underlying issues of the trauma that he has been dealing with. You call my partner pervert, and yes he is, but he has never done anything to anyone other than peeping. He's never forced himself on any of you. Even when you threw yourself at him, he never forced himself on any of you. If you would have looked closer at the situation, you would have seen the fear in his eyes every time he was in a situation like, but you were blinded by your own selfish desires. But the only one I can say that stood by my partner, and never berated him to this whole thing, and was actually concerned for his well-being was the young Phoenix girl. Of all made a grave mistake today, and you don't fully understand the full ramifications of what you've done, but you soon will. And as for you, Angel, I would recommend contacting Michael and informing him of what you done, having him removing you as his ace and returning you to being a human once again. Because it's only a matter of time before your guilt makes you fall, and you become a fallen angel. That is all I have to say to you all. As for me and my partner will no longer be used by the Gremory clan or by Urias Gremory. I'm done saying what I need to, partner. I'm going back to sleep. The Drake goes back into the boosted gear, and it dematerializes again. Issei, well, since my partner has said what he wants to, and his thoughts are practically the same as mine on this matter. So with that, I look forward to no longer being your pawn, my former king. After that, both Ravel and Issei vanished in the teleportation circle, leaving everyone in the orc shock and guilt-ridden, realizing that their actions might have cost them their friendship, for some and other a partner and lover. Most of the girls started to cry, none more so than Ireina, realizing she could have just lost her childhood friend, and even more so the only man she loved. While Rias could only walk to her desk and fall into her chair and lean back on it to stare up at the ceiling wood-like, besides realizing the mistake she made, while the other broke down around her. Until two certain individuals walked in, seeing the current status of everybody and noticing two people were missing. Rossweiss was confused, while Azazel had a pretty good idea what happened, and he was hoping he was wrong. Azazel, oh boy, I have a feeling Surzex isn't going to like what his little sister has done this time. Scene change: Underworld, Phoenix Castle. Ravel and Issei made to the Phoenix Castle to meet with Lady Phoenix to discuss what happened with Rias and how she said she would trade Issei. But when the two arrived, they saw Layla Phoenix there. She was also talking to another blonde woman that looked very similar to Layla. This person was Claire Phoenix, the second oldest child and first daughter of the Phoenix clan. Layla, oh Ravel, I wasn't expecting to see you so soon. Is everything alright? Issei, actually Lady Phoenix, that's why I have come here to you today. My king has decided I'm no longer fit to be in her peer, and has told me she will be trading. Kneels to Lady Phoenix. I humbly ask you, Lady Phoenix, to offer a trade to Rias Gremory for me. Layla Phoenix. Ravel, is this true? Did Rias really announce that she would be trading Issei Hayato? Ravel, yes mother, it is true, I was there when she did. Layla Phoenix. Issei Hayato, please stand up. I would be more than happy to offer a trade to Rias Gremory for you if that is what you want. But I would like to know what happened after our call and that caused this. Cough. Claire Phoenix. Mother, don't you think introduction are in orders? Ravel, oh big sister Claire, you're here as well. Claire, yes little sister, I came to visit mother and father. But enough about that, why don't you introduce me to the security sister? Issei. Scene break. Graphia, oh no Ravel. Surzex grabs hers and keeps from getting involved. Graphia, why? Surzex, because we put our trust in her to reach Issei, so I expect you to do the same. Graphia looked at her husband for a bit before nodding in agreement, and went back to watching the scene unfold before her. Before you proceed with the story, I would like to mention that I have 2 more chapters to publish for this story. After that, I will either return to the Emperor's Champion or the Yokai Dragon. I have been brainstorming ideas for the Forsaken Hero, but it has been challenging to come up with a good concept for a second follow-up chapter. Although I initially created it to stimulate my creativity, I have put that on hold for now because I'm struggling to develop a compelling storyline. Currently, I am more focused on updating this story and adding more content to it. I do intend to continue working on the Yokai Dragon, but I am currently unable to generate new ideas for that story. Rest assured, both this story and Emperor's Champion will be regularly updated as I brainstorm and plan how to advance their plots. I would also like to apologize for the long wait for the second chapter of the story. I assure you that it will be worth it. The word count for this chapter is, which reflects the considerable effort I have put into it. I sincerely hope that you all enjoy it. It has been 2 days since Issei's rampage. Ravel had informed everyone about the incident, and how the girls contributed to it. Those informed, which included the foremost Lord Michael and Azazel, expressed their outrage. They unanimously decided that this behavior would not go unpunished, and that the punishment would be severe. They then requested permission from Ravel to use her memories and create a memory crystal to show everyone what had transpired. Ravel agreed. Currently, everyone is gathered at the Hayato Mansion for a meeting. Present at the meeting are Layla Phoenix, Lord Phoenix, Venelana Gremory, Xiaticus Gremory, Mickey and Gora Hayato, Sona and her queen Tsubaki, Gabriel from the Angels, Barakiel from the Fallen Angels, Surzex, Graphia, Rias, and her peerage, except Rossweiss, who wants nothing to do with Rias or the incident the peerage caused. She was put in charge of watching over Issei while they had the meeting, and Zenovia was still in the hospital recovering from what Issei did to her along with Ravel and Ireina. The purpose of the meeting was to discuss Issei's rampage, the consequences of the girl's actions, and to inform Issei's parents about what happened to their son, and everything that has happened to him since the day he was reincarnated as a devil and entered the supernatural world. Surzex, thank you everyone for coming, especially Mickey and Gora, Issei's parents. This is not going to be easy to explain, so I think first I should just show you everything, and I would ask that you would save your questions for the end. As everyone exchanged glances, their anticipation palpable, Surzex carefully placed the memory crystal at the center of the table. The crystal flickered to life, projecting its contents onto the screen in the grandeur of the living room. The room fell silent save for gasps that escaped the lips of those present. Various emotions danced across their faces: shock, fear, anger, and disappointment. For a staggering 35 minutes the memory played out its tale, leaving an indelible impact on the hearts and minds of all who bore witness. At the conclusion of the memory crystal, Goro Hayadu, his expression a mix of disdain and sorrow, finally broke the silence. His voice rang with conviction as he confronted the individuals present. Goro, you selfish brats! How could you betray my son in such a manner? You disregarded his emotions, cut him off before he had the chance to fully express himself, and completely failed to notice the despair welling within him. Each and every one of you turned on him. What's even more surprising is that you turned on him as well, Ireina, a childhood friend who should have known better. But you joined in belittling him and adding to the mockery. Your actions disgust me. Mickey, trembling with a mix of anger and anguish, stepped forward to address those who had brought harm to her beloved son. Mickey, how dare you treat my boy in this manner, especially you, Asia? He brought you into our home, considered you a sister, and we embraced you as our own daughter. And yet this is how you choose to repay his kindness. Moreover, your actions almost led my son down a path from which there would be no return. You pushed him to the brink, fanning the flames of his rage and unleashing a fury that turned my baby boy into a cold-blooded killer that could have claimed innocent lives due to you whores. I cannot fathom how my own flesh and blood could possess such destructive potential. All of you did that to him, and ignored his trauma, which led to this maddened state. He even came close to ending the life of the very woman who saved him from his own turmoil. I hold you responsible for this, you heartless whores. As the words echoed throughout the room, a heavy silence fell once again. The weight of the truth simmered in the air, filled with sorrow and regret. The Hayadu family's pain was evident, their love for their son radiating from every word spoken. Surzex, it is clear that profound wounds have been inflicted upon young Issei Hayadu and his loving family. The consequences of your actions extend far beyond mere words. The time for questions and explanations will come, but let us first acknowledge the gravity of this situation and the impact it has had on everyone involved. Only through genuine understanding and heartfelt remorse can we hope to pave the path towards healing and redemption. Then 6 terrifying, oppressive, and horrifying auras started to be radiated from 6 different individuals. Layla Phoenix Rias Gremery, I must express my deep disappointment and utter disbelief at your heartless actions. I implored both you and the Red Dragon Emperor to protect my precious daughter on that fateful day. Yet instead of fulfilling your duty, you chose to berate him, transforming the very man entrusted with my daughter's safety into a monster who could have potentially taken her life. I am not placing blame on the boy, as it is evident that he has undergone immense trauma that was never properly addressed. Your incompetence as a king is glaring, for you failed to recognize the emotional turmoil he was experiencing. To make matters worse, you indulged in your own selfish needs and prioritized your feelings over his well-being. Furthermore, the entire situation was worsened by everyone piling onto that poor boy. It was my courageous and compassionate daughter Ravel who had the strength and willpower to extend her hand to him, opening her heart and rescuing him from the depths of his madness and despair. Something that a so-called childhood friend and reincarnated angel didn't do. I shuddered at the thought that I could have lost my daughter as a result of your actions. Lord Phoenix Rias, you entitled little bit brat. Do you honestly believe that my son would be a suitable choice for you and your entitled peerage along with that angel? After all, you had that boy fight for your freedom, and he nearly died in the process. He displayed more courage and determination than you have ever shown in your entire life, you spoiled brat. At the time I may not have been fond of him, but even I could recognize and appreciate the unwavering determination he possessed to fulfill his king's dreams. However, the choices you made, Rias, have jeopardized the lives of others and showed blatant disregard for the man who saved you on numerous occasions, including your own peerage. By transforming him into a repulsive and twisted version of himself, you have put my daughter, your peerage, the people of Ko Serafal, your sister-in-law, and importantly Mr. and Mrs. Hayata's son at risk. It is important for you to understand that inevitably the leaders would have been forced to bring down the hero of the underworld before he caused further loss of life. The responsibility for these deaths would have ultimately rested upon you and your peerage, and the hands of the reincarnated angel. Your collective actions, belittlement, degradation, and betrayal have caused immense harm. It is disheartening to see how quickly you discarded someone who had done so much for you and your group. Despite his efforts to go above and beyond for you, you dismissed him because he did not adhere to your desires. If it were not for my daughter's intervention, the consequences would have been even more devastating. Ultimately, the gravest loss would have been the transformation of a hero into a monster, and for that reason you should all be ashamed of yourselves. Layla Phoenix, Mr. and Mrs. Hayato, please accept my sincerest apologies for the unforgivable actions committed against your son. As a parent myself, I can only imagine the profound anguish and despair that must consume your hearts. The degrading treatment he endured, and witnessing such a good-hearted boy who's only ever wanted to make others happy and be loved by another. But instead he was made to feel worthless and disposable by the ones he thought cared about him, which led to him giving in to his despair and turning an otherwise sweet and caring boy into an entity capable of causing harm to those who care for him innocently is truly inexcusable. I firmly believe that deep down your son would have regretted his actions, as any individual would when forced into such a dire situation due to the choices made by others. Lord Phoenix, my deepest apologies to you as well. As a father of 3, I can empathize with the emotions you must be experiencing. Witnessing one's own child subjected to such humiliation and verbal abuse is a sight no parent should have to endure. Your son has undeniably been a hero in the realm of the underworld, his unwavering dedication and selflessness applauded by children and adults alike. It appears that my daughter too has developed strong affections for him, and for that I express my regret that your son has had to endure this ordeal. Mickey, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you noble phoenixes for the incredible compassion and empathy you have shown towards our family. I cannot find the words to adequately convey how deeply appreciative I am for the profound impact your daughter's intervention has had on my son's life. With her unwavering determination and tireless efforts, she has become his guardian, shielding him from his darkest moments. Your selfless actions exemplify a level of kindness that is truly unparalleled, and I will forever cherish the immense gratitude I have for both of you noble phoenixes and your extraordinary daughter. Gora, I can't help but join my beloved wife Mickey in expressing my profound gratitude for the incredible kindness and understanding that you noble phoenixes have shown to our family. Your daughter's exceptional courage and unwavering support played a crucial role in rescuing my son from the depths of despair, even in the face of baseless criticism and adversity. The gratitude that fills my heart is immeasurable. Your exceptional parenting has raised an extraordinary young woman, and for that I am forever grateful. Ravel, words cannot adequately express the depth of my appreciation for your pivotal role in saving my beloved son and providing him with the love and care he so desperately needed. By providing your unwavering support, genuine care, and affection for my son, I offer my deepest appreciation and thanks from the bottom of my heart. Mickey and Gora humbly bowed their actions, expressing deep respect and gratitude towards the phoenixes. They were overwhelmed with appreciation, and their gestures spoke volumes about their heartfelt thanks. Ravel stepped toward Mickey and Gora, gently taking their hands and requesting that they refrain from bowing before she addressed them. Ravel, there's no need to bow or thank me. I am moved beyond words by your expressions of gratitude. Please know that I helped your son in his time of need out of my genuine love for him. So your heartfelt appreciation brings warmth to my heart. Just knowing I could save the man who has not only captured my heart in a way I could have never thought, but showed me that the fairy tales and stories my mother told me as a child about heroes and brave knights are not just stories. Your son incorporates an undying and unshatterable will even when everyone else has fallen around him. He will continuously get up and fight to the bitter end. He will go above and beyond to save the lives of the innocent and protect them, even giving his own life. He will face down any threat or foe even if there is no chance of winning, because he will continue to try. His determination to pull through and bring hope to others is a rallying point for all those who look upon him. He gives hope to the children of the underworld, representing that it doesn't matter where you come from or who you are, you can be a hero. He represents all that is noble and good through his own actions. In my eyes, Mr. and Mrs. Hayate, your son is literally a brave and gallant knight in his red crimson armor. And the girls and even boys that he thought of as his lovers and brothers started to belittle him, and degrade him, crushing him with each word they said. I couldn't take it seeing the man that I viewed as my own knight being torn down and destroyed. I didn't want to watch that anymore, so I decided that if he's going to be my knight, I'm not just going to be his princess, I will be his shield when he needs to be protected. I did what I did even though I could have been seriously hurt, or even killed by the very man that I love, because I refused to let the person I thought could only exist in fairy tales go from being a hero to being degraded to a monster because of the actions of others who showed no compassion or care for him. I had no issue going above and beyond to try to bring him back, to keep him from falling further into darkness at any cost, and I would do it again because Mr. and Mrs. Hayata, that's how much your son means to me. Mickey and Gore were taken aback by the admiration and affection expressed towards their son. The love conveyed in every word spoken by this girl made it clear that she genuinely cared for him. They were on the verge of responding when another individual, the angel Gabriel, broke the silence. Gabriel, you possess a remarkable kindness as evident in your words. Your love for Issei resonates deep within your heart and soul. He is truly fortunate to have someone like you in his life, and you are equally blessed to have found a partner like Issei clad in his heroic red dragon armor. Ravel, your loving nature and beauty are remarkable. As an observer, I witnessed the regret and fear in Issei's eyes when he realized he had unintentionally harmed you. Surely he now feels profound remorse as he recollects his senses. I sincerely hope for his swift recovery, and please inform me when he awakens. I would be delighted to visit him. Ravel, I appreciate your kind words, Lady Gabriel. I will certainly let you know when he awakens, as well as inform the other leaders if anyone else wishes to see him. Gabriel, thank you. Now let's discuss Ireina Shida. You have dishonored the title of my brother Michael's ace. As an angel you should show compassion and love, but you let your emotions take over and give in to selfish desires. This is highly disappointing, and I'm sure your parents will be equally dismayed. Your status as an angel is now in jeopardy, and the seraphs will decide whether you should keep your angelhood. They will witness the monster you turned your childhood friend into, and how you turned your back on him. I suggest you voluntarily surrender your ace card and return to being an ordinary human unless you wish to become a fallen angel. But if that is the path you desire, it does not accurately depict the true essence and capabilities of an angel. At present you have only demonstrated numerous reasons for which you may fall from the divine grace of heaven. Ireina could only cry and cover her head with her hands, knowing the consequences of her actions. Not only did she destroy her childhood friend by turning him into a monster who would have killed her if given the chance, but she has also lost the right to be an angel, and could become a fallen one. Gabriel, Mr. and Mrs. Hayata, I deeply apologize for the unfortunate incident involving your son. He did not deserve such treatment, especially considering his extraordinary contributions to the underworld and the supernatural realm. He has consistently proven himself as a heroic individual, always willing to put his life on the line for others. With the purest of hearts, he is a rare gem that only comes along once in a lifetime. You should be proud of him. I will inform Griselda so she can visit her. Even though she may be disappointed, she still wants to ensure her daughter's well-being. As for the rest of you, I hope you reflect on your actions and feel remorse for what you have done to such a kind-hearted individual. I hope you understand the magnitude of what you have lost and the possible consequences of your actions. I must take my leave now, as I have some urgent matters to attend to regarding Ireina's situation. However, I wanted to convey heaven's condolences for your son, as well as apologize for the misconduct displayed by one of our angels towards him. I hope to have the opportunity to speak with all of you at greater length next time, Mr. and Mrs. Hayata, and the same goes for you, Ravel. Until then, farewell to all. Gabriel's words were punctuated by the appearance of a teleportation circle beneath her feet. With a bright light she disappeared, leaving the others to continue their conversation. Mickey, can everyone teleport? I apologize for my ignorance, as the realization that my son is a hero and part of the supernatural world has been overwhelming for me. Grafia, I understand that this situation is overwhelming for you, especially considering the recent discovery about your son. We are here to support you, and I consider your son like a little brother. Seraphal unfortunately couldn't join us due to other obligations. Also, please know that the actions your son took were not reflective of his true nature, as they were a result of what the girls did to him. Mickey, I'm relieved to hear that none of you hold any grudges against my son. I know he would never harm you under normal circumstances. It's comforting to know that my son has an older sister figure like you who is wise and beautiful. Grafia, your kind words flatter me, ma'am. Your son is truly special, and I feel fortunate to have him as my little brother. At that moment, Lady Venelana Gremory stood up and approached Mickey, bowing respectfully. Venelana, Mr. and Mrs. Hayadu, I sincerely apologize for the pain and suffering my foolish daughter has caused to you and your family through this situation. Layla Phoenix spoke up. Layla Phoenix, Lady Venelana, you shouldn't blame yourself for this. You weren't present, and I know Issei wouldn't hold a grudge against you for something your daughter did. He is a kind-hearted boy after all. Mickey took Venelana's hand and spoke to her. Mickey, both of us as women can understand the powerful emotions that come with being in love. It can make us feel amazing but can also lead us to do foolish things, acting on our emotions without considering the consequences. I somewhat understand why your daughter acted the way she did, but I cannot forgive or justify her approach. She prevented my son from expressing his feelings and disregarded all the positive things he had done for her and the other girls. However, I want to be clear that I do not hold you responsible for your daughter's actions. Parents cannot always control their children, and it would be foolish to think otherwise. Venelana, I see now. I appreciate your kind words, and I can see where your son gets his kind heart from. Ravel, you have grown into an elegant and loving woman. I can understand why you are more suitable to be the woman meant to be with him rather than my own daughter. Rias, but mother. Lady Venelana approached her daughter, and all that could be heard was a loud slap. Slap! Rias felt the sting of her mother's slap on her cheek, observing the redness and throbbing in the spot where she had been struck. She turned towards her mother, whose eyes were filled with anger and disappointment. Rias, mother. Venelana, no, be silent, Rias. Today I have learned disheartening things about you that have left me feeling like a failure as a mother. I recognize that your impulsive tendencies may have stemmed from me, and I regret not intervening to guide you just as your brother had to restrain his own impulses. However, I refuse to take responsibility for your current actions. You alone are accountable for what you have done. It appears that you were not meant to be with that boy. If you could not appreciate him as a king, I doubt you could appreciate him as a partner or wife. Rias, that is not true. Zeodicus Gremory stepped forward, standing beside his wife before addressing Rias. Zeodicus, no, Rias, you cannot talk your way out of this. I saw how you all treated him, denying him the chance to speak. If you had given him a chance, you might have gotten the answer you wanted. But your selfishness prevented you from seeing the pain and betrayal in his eyes. We all saw it except you and the others present. You were supposed to be his lovers, caring for him, while Kiba and Gasper were meant to be his brothers. But where was your loyalty when he needed you? It was non-existent. It is not wrong to oppose the king when they are in the wrong. In fact, it is best to do so. Yet you showed that your loyalty to the king was stronger than the bond you had with Issei from the battles you fought together. In combat, a warrior will always choose their battle brother over their loyalty to the king. It is that loyalty in battle, knowing your brother has your back, that matters. But you chose to run and let your comrade suffer, allowing him to be attacked from behind. It so happens that you were the one who stabbed him in the back. Kiba and Gasper, your actions do not align with the words you exchanged with Issei. Your actions showed that if the king demanded it, you would treat him like an enemy. You chose your king over the bond you had formed with Issei as brothers. That knife in his back, driven by his former brothers, can never be healed. You have brought this upon yourselves and must now face the consequences. Venelana, I understand and share the sentiments of my husband when it comes to the situation involving you, Kiba and Gasper. Issei's intentions were sincere in his efforts to help you find solace and overcome the anger you held within. He consistently supported your pursuit of vengeance for your fallen comrades, tirelessly guiding and keeping you focused on that path. It is disheartening to witness how you now choose to treat him, disregarding the immense support he provided. Similarly, Gasper, Issei acted like a big brother to you, offering guidance and imparting valuable life lessons to help you come out of your shell and tried to make you into a respectable man. Your betrayal of someone who went above and beyond to support and train you is indeed disappointing and hurtful. My disappointment extends to all of you girls as well. Regrettably, amidst your actions, it was Ravel Phoenix who displayed wisdom and attempted to steer all of you away from this destructive behavior. Tragically, her pleas fell on deaf ears, and the consequences led to an upheaval that turned an innocent and loving boy who only wanted to feel love from you girls and have a brotherly bond from you boys into the monster that we all witnessed. However, I must commend Ravel for her resilience and remarkable ability to bring him back to his senses. It is because of her unwavering presence that I sincerely believe she has surpassed all of you in this contest for love. The treatment you have shown towards the man you claim to love is unkind, heartless, and cruel. It is because of that I believe all of you girls have lost this war of love to Ravel Phoenix. Zeodicus, I agree, my love. Let us not forget the words our daughter said. It is important that we follow through with the words we say even if they were spoken in the heat of the moment. Therefore it is time for you to know one of your punishments. You said that Issei should not remain in the Gremry household because he would bring shame and embarrassment. But you were wrong, my daughter. It is you who have brought shame to our clan. You have failed to treat our servants as family as our clan is known for. My son, I believe you have already contemplated this. I would like to hear your thoughts, as I'm sure everyone else would as well. Mickey, what are you all talking about? If this has to do with my boy, please tell me. Gora, please tell us if this involves our son. We deserve to know everything. Serzex then spoke up. Serzex, it is a lot to explain, but I will provide all the details before we continue with our current conversation. After approximately minutes of explaining the events, and how the evil peace system works, Issei's parents were informed that he was killed on his date with the fallen angel. This traumatic experience led to his current situation of losing control and transforming into a monster. The revelation of their son's death on his first date shocked them, as well as the realization that it caused his trauma and fear of falling in love again. Mickey was devastated to hear about her son's heartache and began weeping in her husband's arms, finding solace in Gora's comfort. Everyone else stood silently, allowing them time to process and come to terms with the overwhelming situation. After 0 minutes, they regained their composure to continue the conversation. Ravel offered comfort to Mickey before she spoke. Mickey, thank you all for your patience. This is a lot to take in. I am grateful to Ravel for being there for my son. So let me clarify, my son was killed by a fallen angel, and these evil pieces were used by your sister to revive him. Frankly, I don't want my son anywhere near that bitch or those whores. Goro agreed. It is not beneficial for our son to be in the company of someone who mistreats others and only cares about their own interests. They may claim to be very caring and considerate to others' emotions, but when it comes to supporting others during difficult times, they fall short, much like a certain childhood friend Mickey and I thought would always stand by him and support him, but it turns out she'll turn on him just like anyone else, disregarding his own emotions in favor of her own. These words deeply hurt everyone. Kiba looked down, Gasper fought back tears, and the girls cried. Ireina in particular realized she might have lost the only person she could fall in love with due to her foolish actions. Rias grew nervous about the potential punishment her family had in mind for her. Serzex, that's why I intend to have your son Issei removed from my sister's peerage. She clearly lacks the understanding of what her peerage needs. And honestly, Issei is the one who fixed the issues within the peerage. I understand your hesitation in having him near her. Mickey, if I remember correctly from what you told me, high-class devils are automatically given their evil pieces at a certain time, correct? Serzex, yes, that's correct. Mickey looked at her husband before both of them turned their gaze to Ravel and then back to Serzex, who raised an eyebrow. Mickey, Lord Lucifer, I would like my son to be a part of the woman who rescued him from darkness. I want him to be a part of Ravel Phoenix's peerage. This statement shocked everyone, especially Ravel. She was surprised that they would want their son to join her. Rias and her peerage were heartbroken, as this meant they would lose Issei as a result of the punishment. Ravel, Mrs. Hayato. Mickey, my dear, you may call me Mickey or Mom. Ravel blushed when she heard that. Ravel, I'm okay, Mickey. While I am able to have my own peerage, I don't believe I'm ready for the responsibility yet. I also don't believe I am strong enough to handle having your son transferred to my service. Goro, why not? And what does she mean by not being strong enough? Grafia, what Ravel means is that she isn't confident in her abilities to manage a peerage at this time. Before revealing the identity of the devil we have in mind, allow me to explain the intricate process that surrounds the trading of devil pieces. It is indeed a crucial matter, requiring the devil in question to possess a certain level of strength and power. If one's strength is lacking, additional pieces must be utilized to complete the reincarnation. Hence, it is regrettable to inform you that your son's intended master Ravel might currently lack the necessary might to undertake such a responsibility. Mickey, as a concerned parent, I am unwilling to expose my son to the potential mistreatment or unfamiliarity that may arise from trading him to an unknown devil. Serzex, be at ease, for we would never allow him to be traded to a high-class devil whom we cannot fully place our trust in or who possesses dubious intentions. Grafia, I can understand the depth of your faith in Ravel, as evidenced by your earnest request for her to be your son's new master. Your words provide great solace and joy, and she must feel immensely flattered upon hearing such sentiments from the parents of the man she loves. Nevertheless, the truth remains that Ravel's current strength might not meet the required threshold for your son's trade. However, we have another candidate in mind. Mickey, Gora, please enlighten us. Who might this individual be? Sirs X, I believe the most suitable person to take care of Issei in his current situation and have Ravel in her peerage is Layla Phoenix. Layla Phoenix, my lord, I am taken aback by this request since I was not informed beforehand. However, I am open to this idea. May I know the reason behind your choice, my lord Lucifer? Sirs X, we chose you because we believe you can provide Issei with the necessary care he needs both mentally and physically while keeping Ravel by his side as she is part of your peerage. Additionally, being part of the Phoenix clan would prevent other clans or the council from targeting him for their own gain. It works out well since you do not participate in the raiding games, so there is no concern about you using him for your own prestige considering your status. That is my reasoning behind this decision. Mickey looked at Sirzex, then turned to Layla Phoenix. She walked up to her and grabbed her hand. Mickey, as a mother, you told me that you understood the pain I went through when I saw what happened to my son. And it was your daughter who brought him out of that state. I may not know you well, but your daughter has a good heart, and she must have been raised by a wonderful woman to be the way she is. If my son can be around your daughter more and receive emotional support for any traumatic issues, I have no problem if you are the one he is entrusted to. Please, Lady Phoenix, take care of my son. I may be his mother, but I feel that I may not be able to help him fully in this world where his problems are greater than what I can comprehend. It pains me to admit it, but it is the truth. Mickey started crying, realizing she had to acknowledge her limitations. Suddenly, Layla Phoenix hugged her tightly. Layla Phoenix, you don't need to say any more. This is an extreme situation, and it does not reflect on your motherly abilities. Your son would take any help you could offer him, but it takes a strong woman to admit that she cannot fully take care of her own son the way she would want. I understand, and if you're fully on board with this, I have no problem taking in your son as one of my peerage. Your son will be in good care. I do not participate in the raiding games, so you will not have to worry about him being asked to fight for prestige. I will always put his health above all else, whether mental or physical. He will be treated like he would be my own. And he will have my little Ravel by his side. If you are all fine with it, then I have no problem taking in your son. Do you have anything against this decision, my love? Lord Phoenix, I fully support your son Issei joining my wife's peerage. He has proven to be a valuable influence on my son Riser. Issei taught him humility and the importance of not relying solely on his inherited abilities. He demonstrated to Riser that even with the powers of the Phoenix, he is still vulnerable and can be defeated through strategic tactics. This lesson has helped Riser become a better person, less prideful and more respectful towards his own peerage and women in general. I am grateful to Issei for this positive impact on my son's life. Joining my wife's peerage is a small way for me to repay him. I am committed to providing full support to Issei, and if there are other ways in which I can assist, I am willing to go out of my way to help. Issei has also captured the heart of my daughter Ravel, and as a loving father I want to see her happy. I witnessed her determination in bringing back the man she loves from despair. Therefore I have no objections to Issei joining my wife's peerage. Rest assured, Issei will be well cared for, and we will ensure he receives the necessary physical and mental support to overcome his trauma. This is my assurance to you as the head of the Phoenix clan. Rias, I object. Issei is mine, and I. At that moment, Ravel, having heard enough, punched Rias. This action surprised everyone as they did not expect Ravel to react this way. Layla and Mickey also broke off their hug at the same time. Lady Phoenix intended to stop the situation from escalating, but Mickey advised her to let it unfold for the time being. Ravel questioned Rias Gremry, expressing her confusion regarding Rias' statements. She reminded Rias that they both witnessed the same events, including Issei's transformation into a mindless, bloodthirsty monster. Ravel pointed out that Rias had not apologized to the people in her peerage who were almost killed during Issei's rampage, such as Asia and Zenovia. She also mentioned Rias' sister-in-law and her best friend's sister Serafal were hurt by Issei, questioning if Rias had apologized to them as well. Ravel further inquired why she herself had not received an apology, considering she had to witness her beloved turn into such a dangerous being. Ravel accused Rias of avoiding responsibility for her actions and holding a possessive belief that Issei belonged solely to her. Moreover, Ravel criticized Rias for making such claims in the presence of Issei's parents and her own family, who were all affected by his rampage. She firmly stated that Rias was unfit to be a king, let alone Issei's king, and did not deserve him. Ravel promised to protect Issei from Rias and vowed to never let any of them come near him. She declared that their relationship had been irreparably damaged because despite Issei always being there for them, they had all turned against him when he needed their support the most. Ravel warned Rias to stay away from Issei and threatened to unleash the Phoenix Hellfire upon her if necessary if it meant protecting Issei. The unexpected outburst from the girl took everyone by surprise. However, it didn't elicit negative reactions. In fact, one person approached Ravel from behind sporting a wide smile and embraced her lovingly. "Mickey, I approve." "Ravel, what?" "Mickey, I approve of you marrying my son." "Observing a woman openly and unreservedly defending my son driven by genuine love convinces me that you are the one for him. I see the love you have for my son, and I believe my husband can see it as well. And it's safe to assume that everyone present in this room except for those blinded by the misconception that my son is mere property can also see it. If your parents agree, I have no objection to you marrying my son. Layla Phoenix, my dear Ravel, it seems that you are planning to marry the man you love, Issei. Both your father and I have no objections to this union. I am confident that once your brothers are informed of the situation, and what has happened to Issei, they too will have no objections. Rest assured, we will ensure that the council does not pressure you into any other marriage. It is clear that you and Issei have chosen each other, and I believe that he shares the same sentiment. However, we should wait until he wakes up and is capable of understanding before informing anyone else. We must be mindful not to overwhelm him, as he has much to overcome before we can even approach that subject. But know that you have my blessing, my daughter. Ravel, mother, I am incredibly happy that I get to be with the man I love. And I understand that right now he is not in a proper emotional state to worry about that, so I'll be patient until he's ready to go to the next step of our relationship. Layla Phoenix had a smile on her face after hearing her daughter's words. But that's when Mickey spoke up. After that, Mickey let go of Ravel. To her curiosity, she saw Mickey walking towards Rias and her peerage and Ireina. Then spoke to them in a very serious and emotionless tone. "Mickey, I want to address a few things to all of you, including Ireina and the others. I have made the decision that none of you will be allowed to marry my son or have any involvement in his life. You all have played a significant role in transforming my loving and happy son into a bloodthirsty and rage-filled monster. It saddens me to see what you have done to him, turning him into someone who knows only anger and rage. If it hadn't been for Ravel, he might have continued on this destructive path until someone had to put him down like some rabid animal, the rabid animal you all turned my son into. But thankfully she helped him regain his senses, and I could see the horror and regret in his eyes when he realized what he had become. Based on that, I am certain that none of you deserve to be a part of his life. Specifically you, Ireina. I had once envisioned a future where you and Issei would be together, raising a family and giving us grandchildren. However, I now find that thought disgusting because I now know, Ireina, you are not worthy enough for my son, and that goes for the rest of you heartless whores. It is possible that he may forgive you all in time, but I can assure you that I will never forgive you, nor will my husband, for what you have done. Therefore, none of you will ever have the privilege of marrying our son. I will ensure that he finds someone better than any of you, and he has already found that person in Ravel. She is the only girl who will receive my blessings to marry my son because she has proven through her actions that she is deserving, unlike the rest of you. Gora, and as for you two boys who claim to be my son's brothers, your actions have shown a lack of loyalty and trustworthiness. My son does not need friends like you in his life, just as my wife has expressed regarding the girls. Therefore, I believe that you should not be a part of his life in any way. My stance on this matter is clear, and I share my wife's thoughts on all of you girls. The same goes for you boys. I have nothing more to add. After the intense verbal assault that Mr. and Mrs. Hayate gave to those who put their son in this situation, a heavy silence engulfed the room. The sheer magnitude of animosity, venom, and disdain conveyed through their words and emotions left everyone stunned. Everyone present recognized the validity of their remarks and agreed with Issei's parents' resolve to separate their son from those accountable for what happened. Ireina suddenly ran out of the room, overwhelmed with heartbreak and tears. The parents of the man she loved had said something that shattered any hope of being with him. As she fled, she couldn't help but feel that her chances of a future together were irreversibly lost. Those remaining in the room were also in tears except for one individual who had remained silent up until that point. Filled with anger, this person finally spoke out. "Akino, why the cruelty? Why the added pain? What's the reason for pushing us away, denying us a place in his life? As friends, we accept our mistake and acknowledge its seriousness, but the punishment seems excessively harsh. We now realize that we should have been more considerate of his traumatic past. The death he experienced, which we couldn't have known would lead him to a severe breakdown, and transformation into a monster on a rampage. Our approach was misguided, and we should have handled it differently. However, at that time we were young women overwhelmed by our emotions, not taking his feelings into account. We understand that innocent lives were almost lost due to our actions, a stain that would have marked him, not us. Nevertheless, Mr. and Mrs. Hayata, this feels too cruel. Please understand that we have all lost ourselves and our emotions in this situation, especially Ireina. It seems that your recent words have crossed a line of cruelty. 9. Barakil walked up to Aquino and slapped her. Barakil, mind your tongue, Aquino. Do you believe the situation is so trivial that you can speak so recklessly? Aquino, still holding her cheek which had just been slapped, looked at her father with a mixture of confusion and anger before responding. Aquino, but Barakil's silence. Listen to me. It seems that you failed to grasp their emotions as expected, since you are not a parent and cannot fully understand what they are going through. However, I urge you, my daughter, to try to see from the perspective of a parent. Can you not see that the memories projected by the crystal were interpreted differently by them? They witnessed their son being admonished, neglected, and emotionally broken in front of their eyes. No one came to his aid, instead everyone turned against him except for Ravel. But even this one act of support was insufficient. You and the others continued to push him until he was ultimately shattered. In their eyes, their beloved playful son, despite his slight inclination towards perversion, transformed into a mindless, bloodthirsty, and heartless monster. He became a creature that didn't care who or what he attacked. To make matters worse, they saw him almost take the lives of 2 of your friends, not to mention the 3 individuals who were attempting to calm him down and bring him back to his senses. I never realized how much I failed you as a father. But it seems that it is not only my failure but also your late mother Shuri's. Do you not understand why they are so enraged and devastated by your actions, every single one of them? Aquino heard the statement her father said and couldn't hold back her tears. She also ran out of the room. Barakil let out a sigh before walking towards Mr. and Mrs. Hayata. He bowed in front of them before speaking. Barakil, I deeply apologize for my daughter's actions towards your son. Neither me nor Shuri intended to raise her to behave in such a manner. Moreover, I am indebted to your son more than I can ever repay, especially now. He played a significant role in repairing the relationship between my daughter and me, prompting her to embrace her flaws. Witnessing what she did to him fills me with regret and guilt. The magnitude of remorse I feel for her actions towards the man who did so much for our family is indescribable. I can only hope that you find it in your hearts to forgive me for my failure as a parent. Mickey, Mr. Barakil, it is unnecessary for you to shoulder the burden of your daughter's transgressions. Today both my husband and I discovered that our son was more than what we initially perceived him to be. He is a kind-hearted man, someone we raised him to be, and we are proud of that. We have always embraced him for who he is, regardless of his quirks. To realize that he has done so much good, becoming a role model for children, is truly remarkable. He played a pivotal role in mending your relationship with your daughter, and I highly doubt he would want you to bear the weight of her actions or appear disheveled and apologetic. Your actions are distinct from hers, and she is old enough to discern right from wrong. What she did was unquestionably wrong, and she possessed the capability to make the right decision. You need not shoulder the blame for your daughter's actions, and I believe your wife would share the same sentiment. Gora, Mr. Barakil, my wife is right. We as parents should not blame ourselves for the mistakes our children make. Our role is to guide them and equip them with the necessary tools to make the right decisions in life. There comes a point where we have done our best as parents, and it is up to them to make use of the information we have given them. While it may be difficult, we should not blame ourselves as fathers. I understand the emotions you must be experiencing, as I have seen my own son turn into someone I never imagined due to mishandled trauma. The revelation that he possesses supernatural abilities and is a hero has been overwhelming, but my main priority is my child. Similarly, you need to separate your daughter's mistakes from your own identity as a father and husband. Barakil, I understand now. Issei's kind and loving heart is a reflection of the good parenting he received from you and your wife. It is evident that the lessons you have imparted have had a profound impact on him. You have raised a son who possesses a compassionate nature and is willing to go to great lengths to help others. I am grateful to both of you for nurturing such a fine individual. Once everything had settled, Rias composed herself after the events of being punched by Ravel and hearing Issei's mother's rejection. She found her voice and spoke, determined not to let Issei be taken away from her. Rias, you cannot do this to me. You cannot take Issei away. I will not allow it. Her words caught everyone's attention, and they turned to listen. Before anyone could respond, Graphia, who rarely displayed her emotions, lashed out. Graphia, enough! Shut up, you spoiled princess! Rias and the others were taken aback by Graphia's sudden outburst of anger. Mickey and Gora sensed that this issue had been deeply troubling Graphia, and deciding to remain silent, they listened to what she had to say. Graphia, your entitlement has always been apparent. Your brother and father constantly doted on you, creating a sense of superiority and privilege. I cautioned Surzex about the consequences of enabling your behavior, but my warnings fell on deaf ears. You lack the understanding of working hard to earn something and refused to accept it being taken away from you. And that poor boy whom I consider to be a younger brother, you transformed him into a mindless, ruthless creature completely devoid of reason and morals. I had to intervene when I appeared in the orc room and witnessed Issei in his balance breaker state pointing his weapons at Asia with the intention to kill her. The concern and confusion I felt upon seeing what you had done to him was unimaginable. I knew it wasn't his own doing, it was the result of your spoiled nature pushing him over the edge, causing harm to an innocent boy who was genuinely kind and honest. When Ravel disclosed the full extent of your actions, I was consumed with anger. Your brother had to physically restrain me from tearing you apart and freezing you in ice for years. Rias, that's not. Graphia, I haven't finished yet, and I will prove to you that even in this current situation you still display the behavior of a spoiled girl. Upon revisiting the memories of that day, you continue to exhibit a sense of entitlement. Your constant discussions about Issei suggest that you view him as a possession, an item solely for you to own. It is rather disrespectful to the people who love him, especially his parents, the woman who saved him, Ravel, and even in front of your own brother, mother, and everyone else present here. Your selfishness seems to have influenced others as well. Your actions have not only affected you but also everyone in your peerage. Additionally, you have brought Ireina down with you. It is likely that she will either become a fallen angel or have to give up being an angel altogether to avoid such a fate. However, it is important to note that her actions were a result of her own decisions. She could have chosen to side with Issei, but somehow you convinced her to join you. Regardless, the consequences of her actions are hers to bear, just like yours. It appears that you fail to comprehend the gravity of what awaits you, as your punishments have only just begun. Let me make this unequivocally clear: Issei Hayato is not a possession for you to own. He is not an item or a plaything that you can show off like a shiny trophy. He is a unique individual, a kind, loving boy who sought understanding and love from you and the girls in your group. Yet you could not provide him with that. You persistently refer to him as yours in front of everyone here, and it is tiresome. He is the hero of the underworld and the children. He is like a little brother to both me and Surzex. He is Milika's beloved older brother figure. He is the cherished son of both Mickey and Gora Hayato. And as of now, he is Ravel Phoenix's fiancé. So I urge you to realize that he does not belong to you, Rias, nor to your peerage, or even to Ireina. He is his own individual, not a toy or an object. Rias, brother, are you going to let her say all those things and even talk to me like that? Surzex was enraged by his sister's pure, spoiled nature at this point. He thought of his best friend Serafal and his wife being held by the neck by the person he thought of as a little brother, all while in a blind rage and unaware of his actions. Thoughts of that day flooded through his mind once again. Unable to take it anymore, he spoke. Surzex, shut up, Rias. I'm going to let her berate you just like you did Issei, and let her tell you everything you've done wrong. Apparently you have forgotten that day when I witnessed my wife and one of my closest friends being held by the neck and nearly choked to death by the boy I consider a little brother. And all because little Rias wasn't being told what she wanted to hear. Rias, but Surzex, enough. I said shut up and you will listen to your devil king Lucifer while he is speaking. Surzex was fed up. Now let me remind you of something that you forgot. But from what Issei told me a while back, by your request you told him to refer to you as president. Or did you forget? Rias, I just wanted him to say my name. Surzex, wait, am I understanding this right? You berated, mocked, and degraded him all because he didn't say your name. But let's remember, he was following your orders to call you president. Is there anything I've said that I don't understand? Rias, who was now fearful of answering, she knew that when her brother is truly upset it doesn't matter who it is, they're in trouble and nothing that could be said would get them out. But she also understood that not saying anything would be worse, so in a nervous and fearful tone she answered her brother. Rias, yes, everything you said is correct. Surzex, you caused all this just because he didn't say your name. You endangered my wife, the mother of my child, your nephew, one of my closest friends, and your best friend's sister, Serafal. They were nearly choked to death by someone we all care about. And you sent that boy into turmoil and despair, triggering his trauma, all because he didn't say your damn name. Upon hearing that, Surzex was at a loss for words. All of his anger was completely replaced with bewilderment and disappointment. He sat back down where his wife had put her hands on his shoulders. They looked at each other, and she smiled, trying to calm him down until he spoke again. Surzex, I have truly failed as a brother to you and Issei. I was a fool thinking that allowing Issei to be in your care would be the best. I was wrong, and it only caused him pain and hurt him more. I fully realize that spoiling you countless times has only caused problem after problem after problem, and Grafia was right. I should have stopped this years ago, and now I must deal with the consequences because of it. Zeotica's son, you are not the only one burdened with our mistakes. We are equally responsible for spoiling her. Venelana, furthermore, she has inherited my impulsiveness and impatience. The entire family played a role in how she turned out. We are all at fault. However, you must bear the weight of your mistakes and rectify them. Zeoticus Grafia, I apologize for not heeding your advice earlier. We should have acted sooner to prevent this situation. But dwelling on the past is futile. We must focus on making amends in the present and looking towards the future. To begin fixing the damage caused, I have decided that you, Rias, and your entire peerage excluding Rosweiss, will move out of the Haida mansion and return to the Gremery apartment complex in the Co area. Rias, what? You can't possibly be serious about this decision. Surzex, I assure you, Rias, that we are indeed serious, and have already made the necessary arrangements. Grafia, before you vocalize your displeasure with our decision, it is important to understand that the Gremery house has consistently borne the financial burdens of the mansion, and was instrumental in its construction. Zeoticus, however, we now acknowledge that the ownership of the house rightfully belongs to the Haida family, who initially owned the property before we renovated it without their consent in the middle of the night, while they were asleep. I sincerely apologize for this transgression, and for not seeking your permission beforehand. Mickey, we appreciate that you conducted the renovations while we were sound asleep, sparing us from the inconvenience of having to deal with construction work for months. We are grateful for this beautiful house you have provided us. Gora, furthermore, we acknowledge and express our gratitude for your kindness in assuming the responsibility for the majority of the utilities. Your gestures have not gone unnoticed, and we are thankful for the efforts made to restore the house to our family's name. Zeoticus, thank you for your understanding. However, let us refocus on the matter at hand. Surzex, indeed, we need to address the issue of the bills being paid. At that moment, Lord Phoenix interrupted the conversation. Lord Phoenix, allow me to intervene here. We would be more than willing to take care of all the utilities and any other associated bills regarding the Haida mansion. Surzex, perfect. Now moving on to the punishments. As previously discussed, Issei will be taken from you, Rias, regardless of your opinion in this matter. Additionally, considering that Rosweiss was the only member of your peerage who did not participate in belittling Issei, we have decided to remove her from your peerage as well. We have already discussed this matter with Rosweiss, and she was very adamant about wanting to distance herself from your group once she learned the full story of what you did to Issei. She personally expressed her desire to be closer to Issei to assist in his recovery given the mental trauma he has endured. With your permission, Lady Phoenix, we would appreciate it if Rosweiss could be a part of your peerage provided it does not pose any inconvenience. Layla Phoenix, I welcome Rosweiss into my peerage without hesitation. I am certain Issei will feel more at ease and comfortable knowing that he has another familiar face supporting him through this challenging journey. Surzex, excellent. That settles the matter then. Rias, you're taking another one of my peerage members away from me. This is unjust. Without Issei and Rosweiss, I cannot effectively compete in the upcoming raiding game. Surzex, you will still participate in the upcoming raiding game despite the absence of Issei and Rosweiss. Consider it a form of punishment. Your opinions do not hold weight in our decisions. Zeoticus, if there are no further matters to discuss, we can conclude this meeting. My dear daughter and the members of your peerage should gather their belongings from their rooms and prepare to relocate, as they will not be staying here any longer. Asia, who had been shedding tears throughout the entire meeting, mustered up the courage to direct a question towards Mickey. Asia, hold on, mother. Does this mean I am also being forced to move out? Mickey, I am not sure who you are referring to as mother because I have never had a daughter. I only have a son who I recently discovered has been subjected to abuse by a bunch of whores. Upon hearing this, Asia was once again overwhelmed with emotion and burst into tears just as Akino and Ireina had done earlier. She hastily ran off, unable to contain her feelings any longer. Gora, will someone come to collect Zenovia's belongings? What about Ireina? Zeoticus, we will handle Zenovia's belongings and move them to her new apartment. You don't need to worry about that. Surzek says for Ireina I will contact Michael and have him send someone to collect her belongings. Gore, thank you very much, Lord Surzek. Surzek, please just call me Surzek. There is no need for formalities here. I am deeply sorry for the trouble my sister caused your son. Zeoticus, I must also apologize for my daughter's actions. If we hadn't spoiled her so much we might not be in this situation. I'm sorry for how she treated your son. It goes against the values of the Gremory family clan, which is known for treating our servants as family. It seems my daughter didn't understand or chose to ignore that, and she didn't fully comprehend the responsibilities that come with being a king of a peerage. Hopefully we can teach her the true meaning of being a king and ensure this doesn't happen again. Gore, I hope that works out for you, but as for us we will stick to what we said. We do not want any of those girls or false brothers who betrayed my son to be around him. I hope that's alright with you, Surzek. I completely agree with that. As a parent I can understand your point of view. We will make sure they stay away from your son. Also, Sona, can you come here? Sona, yes, Lord Lucifer. Surzek, from now on you are in full control of the town of Kuo. I have already discussed this with your sister, and all the paperwork has been completed for the transfer. I cannot in good conscience allow her to run a city when she couldn't properly take care of her peerage. I don't know if this will be permanent or temporary, as the stress on you and your peerage might be too much eventually. So we will look into having another high-class young devil join you as a co-leader similar to Rias. Rias, brother, you have taken 2 of my peerage members and now you're taking my town away from me. This isn't fair. I made one simple mistake. Sona, you caused a serious incident with Issei, and your response is to call it a simple mistake. The consequences of your actions could have been catastrophic. Luckily, the leaders were able to sense something was wrong and intervene in time. If they hadn't and Grafia hadn't arrived when she did, Asia and many others could have been killed. You have no idea what Issei was going through at that moment, the despair, madness, and descent into darkness. So it's not surprising that his instincts kicked in, feeling wounded. No wonder he attacked anything and everything that got his attention, like an animal backed into a corner. To make it worse, he was wounded, maybe not physically but emotionally and mentally, which made the situation even worse. By hurting Hayate, you only added to the trauma he was already experiencing. Instead of being a responsible king to your peerage and addressing the issues within your group, you let him handle fixing everyone's issues in the peerage, when in reality that should have been your responsibility as the king. But what makes it worse is that after he helped everybody with their issues when he needed help, none of you came to his rescue. The only person who did was Ravel Phoenix. She saved everyone, including him, by calming him down before he made a terrible mistake. It is because of your lack of understanding of how dangerous this situation could have been, especially if he had activated the Juggernaut drive, that they are taking away your responsibility as a leader. You clearly don't know how to properly handle and protect a territory or town, whether it's owned solely or co-owned. This lack of responsibility extends to your own peerage as well. I wouldn't be surprised if there's long-term damage caused by your actions. In the end, it might be better for Ravel, because you might have shown Issei that having multiple women who claim to love him doesn't mean they truly do. Having one woman who genuinely shows acts and is willing to do anything to protect the person she loves might teach him that having a harem doesn't equate to real love. You may have inadvertently taught him the value of monogamy. Congratulations, Sona said as she adjusted her glasses. Surzek, she is correct. We cannot allow you to misuse your power in an attempt to impose your will on the Hayate family. The decision to enact this punishment has already been made, so your opinion on the matter is neither required nor needed. Pack your belongings and prepare to move to your new apartment. This is an order from your devil king Lucifer. Rias was overwhelmed by the constant blows to her ego and the news that she was losing her town, her friend Rosweiss, and her beloved Issei. Eventually, unable to bear it any longer, she retreated upstairs, tears streaming down her face, to begin packing. While all this was unfolding, Sona's queen Tsubaki approached Kiba, who was seated on the couch with his head lowered and his fists clenched tightly on his knees. Upon noticing Tsubaki's presence before him, he looked up and was suddenly struck with a forceful blow to his face. The impact caused him to fall from the couch and land on the floor. Struggling to regain his balance and rise from the ground, Kiba realized that his lip was bleeding. As he glanced up, he discovered Tsubaki seething with anger, fixedly glaring at him with a look of utter hostility. Confused and wanting to speak, Kiba was interrupted by Tsubaki before he could say anything. Tsubaki, we are breaking up. Kiba, wait, what, can we discuss this somewhere else? Tsubaki, did you even give Issei a chance to explain? Kiba, Tsubaki, exactly. You didn't, so I'm not going to let you explain anything, just like you didn't allow Issei to. Just like how you didn't hesitate to insult him. You betrayed him like a coward. You act all noble, but that's just on the surface. I'm disgusted by you, but even more disgusted by myself for ever thinking you were a decent guy. Goodbye, Kiba. Don't talk to me anymore unless it's about our devil work. And delete my number. I never want to hear from you again. After Tsubaki expressed her feelings to Kiba, she returned to her position beside Sona, regaining her composure. The people around them were surprised by the situation, causing some shock. Kiba was forced to deal with the consequences of his actions. His peerage, which he considered his family, was falling apart, and he had recently been broken up with by his girlfriend. Now he also realized that he had lost Issei as a brother. Overwhelmed, Kiba stood up and quietly left the Hayato mansion. He went back to his apartment to process everything that had just happened. Gasper, the young vampire, noticed and followed after Kiba to check if he was okay. Even Gasper could see that Kiba realized the consequences of their actions, and he was not prepared to pay the price that he is now. Just like Gasper himself had come to realize consequences of their actions had a high price to pay, and they're all paying for it now. Sona, Tsubaki, are you alright? I was taken aback by the extent of your emotions and your behavior. It was quite surprising. Tsubaki, no, I am not alright. Learning that Kiba played a role in Issei's current state has deeply affected me. I am unable to regard Kiba in the same manner as before. This revelation has caused me significant distress, particularly when I consider the shared experiences and the numerous sacrifices Issei made on their behalf. We fought alongside each other, and now I find myself at a loss. Sona, you don't have to say anything else. I get it. I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to punch Rias for what she did to him and how she scolded him. It's entirely her fault that he ended up in that uncontrollable state. Tsubaki, that's a bit out of character for you. But Ravel beat you to it, I must say. She can throw a mean right hook. Sona smirked. Can't argue with that. Anyway, we should head out and inform the rest of our peerage about what happened and what Surzex told us about what's to come. Tsubaki, you know Saji won't take this news well, right? Sona, most likely no one else in the peerage will either. Despite Hayata's personality, he was always kind-hearted, making people smile and bringing joy wherever he went. I have to admit, he grew on me. No matter how dire the situation, he never gave up. It's a shame he was treated poorly and not valued more. Tsubaki, that's true. Hopefully he gets better soon, and we can visit him. Just as Tsubaki was about to activate a teleportation spell for both of them, they heard Ravel calling out for Sona to wait. Sona, oh Ravel, what can I do for you? Ravel, I just wanted to ask if you'd like to be notified when Issei wakes up and can be visited. I thought you and your peerage might want to see how he's doing. Sona was surprised by the offer, but there was a slight unnoticed smile on her face except for her queen Tsubaki. Sona replied, expressing her gratitude and acceptance of the offer. She promised to bring the entire peerage to visit him to show him that they cared and missed him. Ravel's face lit up with a sweet and bright smile upon hearing Sona's response. Ravel, thank you so much. It will surely do him good to see the people who still care about him when he wakes up. But I won't hold you up any longer. Hope to see you soon. Ravel then turned around and walked away. When she was out of hearing range, Tsubaki spoke. Tsubaki, it's clear that she truly loves him and wants the best for him without a doubt. Sona agreed. Rias really messed up. But at least I know that Hayato is in good caring hands and we'll be able to visit him when he wakes up. After their conversation, Tsubaki activated the teleportation circle enveloping both her and Sona in a blue light, and they disappeared. As Ravel made her way back to Mickey and Gora, she was startled by a soft call coming from her right. Turning her head, she saw Kaneko standing there with her usual stoic expression, though her red and puffy eyes indicated that she had been crying. Prompted by curiosity, Ravel asked Kaneko what she needed. Kaneko hesitated for a moment before speaking, acknowledging that she didn't deserve to ask anything of Ravel after her involvement in causing turmoil for Issei. However, she expressed a desire to use her senjutsu to help ease Issei's mental state, for which she felt responsible. Ravel responded swiftly, her tone devoid of sympathy. She firmly refused Kaneko's request, making it clear that she would not allow her near Issei under any circumstances. Kaneko pleaded, requesting Ravel to at least convey her apologies to Issei and explain that she never intended to harm him. Ravel, Kaneko, what you intended and what actually happened are different things. I was present when you spoke those hurtful words with a spiteful tone. It doesn't matter what you want or what you want me to tell him. I will keep my promise to prevent any of you girls from being near him. Mickey and Gora have made it clear that they don't want any of you near their son considering the damage you've already caused. It would be wise for you to acknowledge your mistake and understand that you won't regain his affection. I will not allow you or the other girls to get close to him, his parents, or anyone else for that matter. You didn't seem to care when you were hurting him emotionally even though you knew he was suffering and falling into despair. After all that, I don't care anymore. Your actions have shown me that you don't deserve to see him, and he won't receive any messages from you through me or anyone else. Goodbye, Kaneko. Afterwards, Kaneko, feeling defeated, tears streaming down her cheeks, turned around and headed upstairs to pack her things and move out. She accepted that she had to face the consequences of her actions and had lost someone she could have loved forever. She knew that she could never get him back. Then she continued her path toward Mickey, Goru, and the rest of the group. Lord Phoenix. Oh, Ravel, did you ask Sona what she needed? Ravel, yes, she said she will gather her entire peerage to visit him when he wakes up. Layla, that's good to hear. Issei will definitely need all the reassurance and support he can get to overcome this. It's still uncertain how deeply he has been affected. Grafia, I agree. We must not underestimate the damage done. But I have faith in his ability to overcome. He has a strong support system and a loving woman by his side to aid him. She said this with a slight smirk. Grafia, Layla, and Lord Phoenix exchanged a mischievous smiles with each other. Layla, Grafia, you are absolutely right. My daughter didn't hesitate to declare her love for the man, and I couldn't be happier. She has transformed into a confident and beautiful woman, no longer plagued by her shyness. Ravel, what? Grafia, she certainly showed Rias that she won't tolerate anyone mistreating her man. That punch to Rias' face was quite satisfying, I must say. Hee. Lord Phoenix, indeed, once Issei recovers and their relationship blossoms further, he should watch out. He might be on the receiving end of her wrath if he upsets her. Haha. Moreover, if her looks are a sign of what she inherited from her mother, I fear for Issei's well-being during her pregnancy. Layla was quite aggressive and feisty during her own, which is likely a sign of her daughter's passion when it comes to something she deeply loves. Layla, true, I was quite feisty during my pregnancy with her. It foreshadowed her tenacious nature when it comes to something she cherishes. Venelana, era, is Ravel already thinking of having kids with Issei soon? Should we be expecting little dragons and phoenixes flying around soon? Ravel blushed at the suggestion, her mind instantly filled with thoughts of her and Issei being intimate and having children. She became lost in her fantasies, envisioning the family they could have. Her daydreaming was abruptly interrupted by a cough from Surzex. Surzex, I apologize for interrupting your personal thoughts, but I believe it would be a good idea for you to take Mickey and Guro to see Issei. It has been 2 days since they have seen him, and I'm sure they would like to check on him themselves after everything they've learned. Mickey, I appreciate everyone being here with me and helping me through this, along with my husband and the support we have received from all of you. I'm very grateful for that. However, I really want to know how my boy is doing. Goro, I also want to see how my boy is doing and what his current condition is. Surzex, alright then. Ravel, would you and Grafia mind accompanying Mickey and Guro to the Leviathan mansion to check on Issei? Grafia, certainly, my lord. Whenever you're ready, Mickey and Guro, you can come with me and Ravel to see your son. Zeoticus will move the girls out while you visit Issei. Most of them have already returned after running off. We don't know where Ireina is, but that's Lord Michael's problem now. Barakiel is helping Akino pack her things. Everyone should be done packing soon, and they'll be moved out. Venelana, I've gathered most of Zenovia's things. Someone will come later to get the rest before you return. Surzex will also put a barrier around your house to prevent unwanted visitors and keep out threats. Lord Phoenix, while Zeoticus and I handle the paperwork for the house transfer, I'll cover the utility bills and other expenses, so you don't have to worry about that. Zeoticus, the deed and other documents will be delivered to you in the next 2 days. No need to worry about that either. Layla will have someone change your locks, install a new security system and fencing for extra safety. Let's make sure Issei has nothing else to stress about, and ensure his parents' safety. Mickey, thank you all for your support and care during this challenging time. Your presence means the world to me as a mother who has faced the possibility of losing her son. I am incredibly grateful for the wonderful support system my son has, and words cannot express how blessed and thankful I am to have you all in our lives. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, she said with a bow. Goro, I echo my wife's sentiments. Surzex, please don't blame yourself for your sister's actions. Don't despair, as you still have a crucial role to play as my son's big brother. But like my wife said, there are no words powerful enough to express just how appreciative and thankful we are for everything you all are doing for our family and our son. So thank you, he said with a bow. After the heartfelt words from Mickey and Guru, Grafia prepared the teleportation circle to take them along with Ravel to the underworld to see their son. Before they were engulfed in the teleportation light, everyone gave them a warm smile and waved them off. Then they were surrounded by the light from the teleportation circle, and they disappeared. After the meeting at the Hayata mansion concluded, Grafia escorted Ravel, Mickey, and Guru Hayata to the Leviathan mansion. Meanwhile, another meeting took place at the same time with members of the Alliance present, including Lady Yasaka, Lord Odin, Lord Michael, Governor Azazel, Ajuka, Beelzebub, Falbium, Asmodeus, and Seraphol Leviathan. The attendees were informed about the recent events, and a memory crystal containing Ravel's memories was shared. Upon watching the crystal, the members of the Alliance who were not previously aware of the situation became furious, particularly Lady Yasaka, who was deeply angered by what she witnessed along with the other leaders. Currently, Yasaka is visibly furious and stands up with all 9 tails extended. Mysterious blue flames emerge from the tips of her tails, reflecting her anger at the situation she has just become aware of. Yasaka, those harpies! How could they treat that kind-hearted boy in such a way? He has done so much for them. Not to mention, not long ago he risked his life to save me and protect my daughter Kanu. This is unacceptable, and those girls must face punishment for their actions. Seraphol, I completely understand. After discovering that it was because of those girls that a kind-hearted boy like Issei turned into a bloodthirsty monster unrecognizable and driven by rage, it shocked me. Grafia and I experienced his fury firsthand, and I was somewhat scared both for my life and the fact that Issei seemed to lack control of himself. It seemed like he was a different person. But this was the result of his unaddressed trauma and the girls berating him. Thankfully, Ravel was able to bring him back to his senses, as you all witnessed through the crystal. So please, Yasaka, calm down and take a seat so we can continue with the meeting. Yasaka took a deep breath, sighed, and gradually calmed down. The fires emanating from her tails began to fade and she relaxed. She took her seat again before speaking. Yasaka, you're right. We should be grateful that Ravel helped him regain control and prevented him from doing something he would regret. However, I still expect those girls to face appropriate consequences for their actions. What they did to him was unacceptable. Odin, I agree with Lady Yasaka. These girls must learn the consequences of their actions. Seraphol, they most certainly will. Serzax is currently holding a separate meeting involving the parents of Issei and a few others specifically addressing this situation. Odin, so that's why Serzax the Lucifer Devil isn't present at our meeting. Seraphol, precisely. But let's refocus our discussion, shall we? Michael agreed. So how is Issei's condition? Has he regained consciousness yet? Azazel, when I saw him yesterday and from what Drake told Ravel about his condition, he still hasn't awoken yet. But Drake did say his physical recovery is progressing well. However, the extent of the mental damage and how it will affect him going forward is unknown. But until then, all we can do is give him our support. Ajuka, it is indeed disheartening to witness the lack of seriousness among many young devils when it comes to the responsibility of having a peerage. It is unfortunate that some devils are merely using their peerage to amass harems or subject members to their twisted fantasies, as my own family member Diodora did. The recent incident involving the hero of the underworld being a victim of neglect within Rias' peerage is even more shocking. Rias, who is known for treating her servants like family, seemingly neglected to address the potential trauma the young boy may have suffered from his encounter with the fallen angel, which undoubtedly left deep emotional and mental scars. Azazel, I can empathize with your feelings. When Drake informed me that Rainier had managed to leave a portion of her soul inside Issei to continue his torture, I couldn't help but feel like a failed sensei. If it weren't for Ravel intervening at the right moment, our conversation today could have taken a vastly different turn. Michael, brother, please remember that you are not to blame for what happened. You gave clear instructions to your subordinate, requesting them to simply monitor the situation. However, you had no knowledge or control over the fact that she would go rogue. Therefore, the responsibility should not fall on your shoulders, as you were unaware of these events unfolding. Instead of dwelling on what could have occurred, find peace in the fact that things unfolded differently. It is undoubtedly unfortunate that the young boy had to endure torture by the soul of a fallen angel in his own mind, causing severe mental trauma. Additionally, it is regrettable that my ace Ireina contributed to his further despair and madness through her actions involving the other girls. Seraphol, it's important for both of you to understand that you had no control over the actions of those individuals who served you. Your influence and vigilance can only extend so far. Azazel Rainier made her decision to be sadistic and evil, continuing to inflict pain upon a good person even in her final moments and beyond. Michael, you should not bear the blame for Irena's actions. Despite being aware of the Bible's teachings regarding treachery and betrayal, if Ireina were truly devoted to the faith of the biblical God, she would not have engaged in such actions even if her intention was merely to engage in a conversation. She would have remained true and loyal to the man she claimed to have feelings for. Neither of you could have done anything to prevent this situation. Our focus now should be on supporting Issei's mental and physical healing as best as we can and restoring him to his former self as much as possible. There is no doubt that he will be impacted to some extent by this ordeal. Yasaka, while I understand the relevance of this discussion to the current situation, I would rather continue talking about the state of the boy who saved me and my daughter, and I would like to know the consequences for those girls who took part in this cruel and heartless act that lead to him turning into such a mindless, bloodthirsty monster. Because honestly, if not for me seeing the memories of that day firsthand, I would have never believed any of you telling me that such an open and honest boy could become such a monster. With that said, Lord Michael, I request information regarding the punishment for Ireina. Despite it not directly involving me, it concerns me deeply. This boy saved and protected my daughter, so the actions of these girls causing him great distress deserve consequences. I would like to know their punishment. Michael, I'll explain the details of the punishment. Gabriel has been sent to inform Ireina about her consequences. She will also offer condolences to Mr. and Mrs. Hayadu regarding their son. Ireina's punishment is clear. The Seraphs will evaluate the memory crystal shown to all of you. Her crimes of treachery go against our values. Furthermore, she prioritized her desires over Issei's well-being, disregarding his feelings. Ireina has two options. Firstly, she can relinquish her angelhood and Ace card, return to being human, and be excommunicated from the church. In this case, she will be released into her parents' custody and will relocate to England. Alternatively, she can choose to go on trial in the presence of all the Seraphs, where they will witness the same memories we have seen. It is likely that she will be convicted for her treachery and betrayal towards her childhood friend, her unbecoming actions as an angel, and her role as a follower of God. She will become a fallen angel and forever be kicked out of the kingdom of heaven and never allowed to set foot back into heaven due to her actions. She will also be excommunicated from the church. I assume that Gabriel has already delivered the message to Ireina and left to inform her parents and initiate the punishment process, including preparing for her excommunication from the church. So her punishment will be severe. I understand that it does not change what has happened or the harm she caused to the boy, but she will not go unpunished for her actions. That is a promise I can make. Yasaka, you make a valid point, Michael. While it's true that the punishment won't undo the harm done to the boy, it is important that the girls face consequences for their actions. It sets a precedent, and shows that such behavior is not tolerated. Odin, absolutely, Yasaka. However, we must also address the other individuals involved in these events concerning the Dragon Boy. I am curious to know how the devils plan to punish Rias Gremory and her peerage. Additionally, if my memory serves me correctly, the fallen angel you assigned as my bodyguard was Barakiel, who is the father of the devil-fallen hybrid in the Gremory's peerage. During my visit, I happened to stumble upon the Dragon Boy on a date with his daughter. I'm curious to know, Azazel, if you intend to inform him about this situation his daughter caused and have him be part of her punishment as well. I would also like to know the status of my former bodyguard Rosweiss, considering she was not part of what happened to him, and hoping she would not be punished along with the rest of the Gremory girls' peerage. Azazel, Odin, I've already informed Barakiel about the situation regarding Akino, his daughter. Although I didn't show him the memory crystal, I decided to let him learn about it during the meeting he's currently attending as the representative of the fallen angels. By now the meeting should be over and he should be fully aware of everything. But to be honest, Barakiel is attending the meeting primarily as a concerned father, but he shares the same views as me when it comes to how the fallen angels perceive this situation and our stance on her actions and the actions of the other girls involved. We both believe that what they did to Issei was unacceptable, considering all of his contributions to the Alliance and everyone he has interacted with and helped. In terms of punishments, personally I believe that Akino experiencing the disappointment of her father, knowing that he's fully aware of what she did, and the knowledge he obtained from the meeting is the worst pain she could feel. Seraphal spoke to Lord Odin, explaining that Rosweiss should not be punished since she had no involvement in the incident. Me and Serzex discussed the punishments and consequences for Rias and the girls involved. Ajuka expressed his interest in knowing the decisions made and emphasized the need for Rias to face consequences. Falbium also agreed with Ajuka and wanted to understand the punishments for the girls. As the military commander, he needed to assess Issei's capabilities post-incident. Serafal acknowledged their concerns, stating that they would need Ajuka's help with the punishments. She also understood Falbium's need to consider Issei's role in military strategies. At the moment, Serafal believed Issei should not participate in any military actions until they knew the full effects of what happened to him, and whether he could control his sacred gear. Odin, that's good to know. Serafal, yes, they will all face the consequences for their actions. Azazel, but to make it even worse, the person that held that group together was the same person they all attacked. And if I had to assume right now, the group is on the verge of collapsing. They turned upon the pillar that held them, who was the unifying factor for them. Their actions turned that factor against them. We saw what they did, we were not going to let that slide. He did not deserve that, and Rias, who failed as a king even knowing how he was reincarnated after the fallen angel killed him, should have conducted some sort of psychological investigation into him to make sure he wasn't traumatized from Rainier. But she didn't, and now she must face the consequences of her actions. Everyone agreed with Azazel's statement, even though it was truly awful to get past everything that happened. How could the girls so easily forget all the good he has done for all of them? He was the glue that held their group together, the person who had the magical power to bring others together and fix issues and make everybody stronger just by his presence and will to help. Serafal, along with Michael and Azazel, continued to inform the rest of the leaders about the punishments they had decided on. They explained that the punishments were not just a few but multiple punishments, each dealt in different ways, shapes, and forms. The remaining leaders approved of the additional punishments they heard the girls would receive. While this was going on, Yasaka was pondering something, thinking back to a particular part she remembered seeing in the memories being shown to her. That's when suddenly it hit her, and she spoke up, gathering everyone's attention. Yasaka, Serafal, would it be possible for you to replay the memory crystal one more time, please? I am particularly interested in seeing the specific moment where you managed to capture his attention, leading to his immediate attack. Furthermore, if you could also skip to the moment when Ravel confronted him and pause it there. I want to highlight the difference in Issei's behavior when faced with Ravel compared to when you initially caught his attention and pointed it out to everyone here. I believe they missed it, as well as all of you who were there to witness this event firsthand. I would like to point out how upon Ravel's approach he remained calm and composed, merely exhibiting a gesture of warning by slamming his balance breaker tail in front of her. This was in stark contrast to his previous reactions, where he blindly rushed to attack anyone who managed to attract his attention during his uncontrollable rampage. Everyone noticed this difference in Issei's actions and were surprised. Even those who witnessed it firsthand didn't realize it then, but seeing it now makes sense why he looked conflicted when they saw how he hesitated upon seeing Ravel. But that's when Yasaka continued to point out how Issei had shown restraint, or was struggling internally. He was conflicted about attacking her, which is why it wasn't an immediate action he took. Instead, she believed it was important for everyone to understand this observation. Yasaka hypothesized that the trauma Issei had experienced resurfaced when the girls took actions that intensified his pain. Yasaka drew a parallel between Issei's behavior and humans that suffer from PTSD, who sometimes develop separate personalities as a coping mechanism to deal with their trauma. Yasaka, as you all saw, there was a difference in how he acted, even though he was in a blind, monstrous rage at the time. I believe that when Issei saw Ravel, a part of him that had not been broken or consumed by despair, while his mind began to split and fracture, all the while his mind was trying to cope with the resurfacing of his trauma, and how the girls made it completely and utterly worse for him. But I believe it's that little part of him that was still able to see and recognize who she was, though I'm unsure by how much, or if it was even him consciously, or if it was just instincts in him telling him not to attack her. Regardless of the fact, I believe that is the reason he didn't instantly try to attack her. It's not that he had anything against you, Serafal or Graphia, but I believe that she was the last thing he could remember, how Ravel was trying to help and comfort him and show him genuine care towards him, while the other girls did not. It might have been that exact kindness she showed to him and actual care for his well-being that kept him from doing anything to her or attacking her on sight at first, and actually tried to warn her to stay away. Serafal, I understand that, Lady Yasaka. In normal circumstances, Issei would never have attacked me or Graphia. However, the explanation does make sense of why he attacked me instantly, and why he didn't attack Ravel instantly. But Azazel, I am interested in knowing what you think of what Yasaka pointed out, and her explanation of Issei's actions. Azazel, who listened intensively and observed what Yasaka said and pointed out, and that's when he saw what she was taking about making him feel like her theory on this matter is possible. Azazel, Lady Yasaka, you have an interesting point. During Issei's berserk rampage, he attacked anyone who caught his attention except for Ravel. Instead, he tried to signal to her to back away by slamming his tail of the balance breaker on the ground in front of her. It also explains why he had hesitation and looked like he was conflicted. It's unclear if he was subconsciously in control, but I agree with you that a small part of him still had some control. Though it was very little, it was enough to allow him to recognize Ravel and restrain himself to some extent. That's when Ajuka jumped into the conversation as well. Ajuka, when considering the moment when Issei's mind began to fracture, it appears that it had not fully reached the point of separation yet. Yasaka, while I lacked the capacity to directly observe or sense the internal and emotional damage within Issei through the memories shown through the crystal, my intuition strongly supports the theory that his mind was starting to fracture during that time. Throughout my extensive existence, I have often assisted humans who suffer from different mental illnesses or disorders, including individuals with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Issei's behavior seems to mirror the coping mechanisms observed in those who have experienced severe trauma. It is not uncommon for such individuals to create distinct personalities as a means of managing the overwhelming effects of their experiences. Serafal, well, that makes sense. And after you pointed this out to us, Yasaka, it only proves it. But I guess what Drake told Ravel was true, and how she was the only one that could save him from himself. Michael, I will wholeheartedly agree with you on that, Serafal. But I also saw something within her. It was determination, passion, and unwavering love for him. She had the will and desire to save him from his own darkness and despair. So after seeing all that, I had faith that if anyone could bring him back to his senses in that moment, it was her. And knowing that even the Welsh dragon saw something in her that made him tell her that, I'm glad I gave her my support to do this. Because of her, we did not have to take drastic actions and have to end the boy's life. Serafal, I agree, Michael. It's because you had faith along with everybody else, and even Drake believed in her. That Grafia and I were saved by her intervention at that moment. If she did not intervene, I have no doubt that he would have killed us by breaking our necks. But no need to dwell on that, luckily that never came to be. But getting back on topic, Lady Yasaka, do you believe he developed a split personality in this berserk and rampaging state due to all the trauma as a coping mechanism? Would you have any more insight into this? It seems like you are knowledgeable about this topic. Shed more light on this. Yasaka, I cannot say for certain without personally examining the boy and employing my powers to assess the extent of the mental trauma he has endured. However, it is highly plausible. The more pressing concern lies in the fact that this is typically a condition observed in humans. I am unsure of how this would affect a human-turned-devil with a dragon-type sacred gear, particularly a Longinus class such as the boosted gear. There are so many unknown variables with that situation alone, not to mention we should be lucky that what the girls did didn't trigger him to get Dragon's Fall. Though it is unlikely for a user of a dragon-type sacred gear to get Dragon's Fall, it is not impossible. And due to what happened, it would be highly possible it could happen. Moreover, Issei possesses one of the two gears that directly influence their user's emotions. It is difficult to predict the potential outcomes, ranging from worst-case scenarios to more favorable outcomes. However, Azazel has spent countless years researching sacred gears. Perhaps he may offer some insight into this particular scenario. Azazel, analyzing all the information he was learning and taking in everything that was being said before he spoke. Azazel leaned back in his chair, arms crossed. Unfortunately, I have no information on this unique situation. I've never actually been able, or even thought of studying the effects of a sacred gear user who suffers from such a condition like PTSD. But Yasaka is right about how the sacred gear responds to the emotions of its user, and being that Issei's gear is the boosted gear, things are a little bit different and challenging. Not to mention, she has a point. This is something new, and I believe we should look into it, especially for the devils, since the devils have a lot of reincarnated humans turned devils that could suffer from this as well. I would like to know if any humans turned devils have suffered from PTSD before being reincarnated, and if they could still experience it like Issei did if their trauma resurfaces. If not, we should start looking into that through the reincarnated former humans who are now devils. This does add a new layer of complexity, considering I never even once thought about Issei's gear being a dragon type. It could also cause him to get Dragon's Fall due to the girl's actions, though the chances are low. But I would have to say in this scenario, and at that exact moment, there was a very high possibility he could have gotten it. However, I believe the only reason he didn't suffer from that is because he was engulfed with rage, anger, and despair. Thanks to Ravel, who was the only woman that did not betray him on that day. But it's hard to say what the true effects are on his mental stability with all these unknown variables, not to mention the boosted gears curse which holds the resentment and angry souls of the former users. This curse can influence a user's emotions and has even caused the death of divine dividing and boosted gear users through the Juggernaut drive. The gear itself may magnify the splitting of Issei's personality, not to mention the curse that leads users to succumb to the Juggernaut drive if they're not strong enough to resist. This is a completely new territory, and I think we should prepare for the worst-case scenario and support Issei in any way we can. Once he wakes up and is ready to be around others, it would be beneficial to have Lady Yasaka perform her sage arts on him to evaluate his current mental state and the extent of the damage to himself, as well as the volatility of the situation that could pose a threat to others around him. Yasaka, absolutely, I am more than willing to utilize sage arts on the young boy to thoroughly assess his mental, physical, and spiritual condition. Given that he saved both me and my daughter, I feel a strong obligation to fulfill this duty. Moreover, I am prepared to extend my assistance beyond mere evaluation, as I hold a deep gratitude towards him. Thus, supporting him in any way possible would not pose any issues for me. Odin, I am relieved to hear that you are inclined to aid him, Lady Yasaka. The most troubling aspect, however, is the lack of a clear understanding regarding the severity and volatility of the situation. As Azazel suggested, it would be prudent for us to consider the worst-case scenario wherein the boy's condition could pose significant risks to both himself and those around him. Ajuka, I definitely understand what you mean, Azazel, and how we need to start looking into the humans reincarnated into devils. We should explore if they could suffer from PTSD and if the severity of their PTSD before reincarnation into a devil affects the likelihood of them experiencing it again or triggers that could cause it to resurface. This is especially important since a majority of the devils now are reincarnated former humans. It demands attention and effort to look into, and I would definitely start the process to do so. But getting back onto the topic of Issei's situation and considering the current circumstances, we must also take into account the potential impacts of the evil pieces on him. There is a possibility that they could worsen the situation, leading to corruption or extensive mutations. With numerous unknown variables and Issei wielding the boosted gear alongside his shattered and unstable mental state, it would be wise to isolate him from others and closely monitor his condition in a secure location. Although this course of action may sound harsh, it ultimately presents the most effective and safe solution for all those around him. Serafal spoke up in a very no-nonsense and serious tone towards her fellow Mua's suggestions regarding how to deal with Issei. Serafal expressed her strong disagreement with Ajuka's suggestion, emphasizing her belief that Issei has already endured enough suffering and shouldn't be made to feel like a danger to others. She argued that isolating him would deprive him of a support system and that Ravel, who has been inseparable from him lately, would not willingly allow such a separation. Serafal also revealed that Ravel's devotion to helping Issei has been so intense that she has needed to bring her food as she refuses to leave his side. Serafal firmly asserted that treating the boy as an abnormality or a monster that needs to be confined is not an option. Michael, I agree with Serafal. I think that isolating the boy would only worsen the situation. He suggests that what the boy truly needs is to be surrounded by supportive individuals who can help him, particularly the woman who has already shown the ability to bring him back to his senses. Michael believes that as long as this young lady remains by his side, the situation will not be as dire as Ajuka and Odin fear. However, I acknowledge the importance of taking precautions and involving Yasaka, Azazel, and the use of sage arts if necessary, including attaching a collar to neutralize the boy's sacred gear in a worst-case scenario. Azazel, I agree with Michael and Serafal regarding not isolating Issei and potentially exacerbating his situation. Isolation could prove to be even more dangerous than we can fathom, particularly if we separate him from Ravel, the person who has played a crucial role in bringing him back to his senses. Additionally, I find Ajuka and Odin's concerns about the possibility of Issei entering that berserker state again to be valid and alarming. That is why I propose that we intensify our research efforts and thoroughly examine individuals with PTSD, which includes helping Ajuka offer support to the reincarnated former humans turned devils and seeing if they suffered any trauma before their reincarnation. We should assess the likelihood of that trauma resurfacing and offer proper ways to help them in order to prevent further instances like this. I am specifically interested in investigating cases where individuals have developed a separate personality as a coping mechanism for their trauma. It is imperative that we categorize and thoroughly investigate each moment that might have contributed to Issei's trauma, from his experiences with Rainier to his initial activation of the Juggernaut drive all the way to the events involving the girls and beyond. Scrutinizing these details is crucial in understanding every potential factor that could have impacted him regardless of its magnitude. Before causing unnecessary panic among those currently supporting him, we must have a comprehensive understanding of the condition he is suffering from and how to effectively address it. I highly doubt his family, or even Ravel, as well as those of us who genuinely want to help him, will abandon him in such a manner. However, until we have a deeper understanding of this condition, I believe it would be ill-advised to even hint at such a scenario. Yasaka, I agree with the governor's suggestion of conducting thorough research on Issei's condition, including exploring different forms of PTSD and cases where individuals have developed distinct personalities as coping mechanisms. However, it is important to exercise caution and refrain from sharing information with Issei and his current support system until we have a better understanding of how to assess and handle the situation effectively. Serafal, I agree that it is important to inform the other leaders and individuals who need to be aware of the situation regarding Issei. It is crucial for them to be informed about our discussions and hypotheses regarding his condition, particularly because of the potential dangers involved. However, I believe it would be prudent to delay informing anyone else until we have gathered more information about his condition and its potential impact on him. As Azazel mentioned, we must ensure that we are aware of any factors that may worsen his trauma or have had a significant influence on it. This way we can be prepared and have a clear understanding of how to approach and address his situation moving forward. Michael, I am in complete agreement with everything that has been discussed. I feel a strong sense of responsibility and duty to do everything in my power to assist the young boy who has suffered due to the actions of my ace Ireina. It is our collective responsibility to support him, considering the good he has already done and the potential for further growth and impact once he overcomes this challenging situation. I fully support the course of action we have decided upon and will dedicate my resources, assets, and manpower to aiding him. Odin, my faction, and I stand fully behind helping the Dragon Boy through this difficult time. It is only right that Rosweiss is removed from Rias' peerage and placed in the same peerage as the Dragon Boy to aid his recovery and provide the necessary support. However, we must not delay in thoroughly investigating every aspect of this situation. We cannot afford a repeat or potentially worse consequences than what we have already witnessed. This must be a top priority, and we should allocate ample resources and manpower to it. Falbium, I'm not personally acquainted with Issei Hayato, but I am aware of his significant contributions to the underworld and the Alliance. As the Mao in charge of our military, this information is important for me to fulfill my duty. Now that I have obtained the information I needed regarding his status, I can confidently state that he will not be involved in any missions, combat, or fights. The well-being of our soldiers is my top priority as the commander of our military forces. I value their mental and physical health above all else at this time. It is more beneficial for Issei to fully recover rather than risking further harm. Hence, I am fully supportive of the steps we will take moving forward, such as informing other leaders and relevant individuals about Issei's condition. As we gain a more detailed understanding of Issei's situation, we will provide additional updates. I am prepared to assist in any way possible. Ajuka, after hearing your reasons for why you believe separating him from Ravel would be a horrible idea, not to mention make things worse, and how my idea was rather harsh, I understand your point of view. I also agree that we should hold off from telling anyone to avoid causing panic. It's better for us to deal with it and prevent our enemies from finding out. I definitely think we should keep this information from the Devil Council, as I don't trust that they wouldn't take advantage of the situation. I appreciate that you've already thought about this and suggested that Issei and Rosweiss trade from Rias to Lady Phoenix Peerage. I'm willing to help with that trade and also gather as much information as possible about PTSD and its effects on humans. I'll help Azazel research how Issei's PTSD might impact his mental state, and how that could potentially affect his sacred gear, as well as look into how his evil pieces could be affected by his current situation, and whether the effects are good or bad, and how we can help him in the long term with his trauma. Yasaka expresses her unwavering support for Issei, highlighting how he has been a hero to her and her daughter in the past. Grateful for his protection, she is eager to aid him in his recovery by utilizing her saga arts and assisting him with her powers. Her intention is to ensure that the hero her daughter looks up to can regain his strength and stand tall once more. Azazel, I want to make it clear that I am fully committed to assisting and devoting significant resources, time, and manpower to this cause. I am grateful that Ajuka is willing to collaborate with me on researching various types of human PTSD, including the diverse symptoms and manifestations it can exhibit. Together we can investigate how this condition may impact sacred gear users and their gears. This research can help us determine how it's affecting Issei. I am also eager to explore the potential effects of the evil pieces on Issei and work towards resolving any negative consequences due to the events that are going on with him mentally. We should also consider how this could affect the evil pieces. Serafal, it appears that we are all in agreement on the need to provide comprehensive support and assistance in addressing this issue. Our commitment to Issei and his contributions to our collective cause is evident through the unity of our alliance. Once our leaders are informed of the steps we have discussed, they will undoubtedly be pleased to witness the support and efforts of everyone involved. With that being said, I believe it is time to cease prolonging this meeting and begin delving into the matter at hand. There is no time to waste. Yasaka, it would be beneficial if my daughter could join me to visit Issei. It's important for him to know that he has the support and care of others during his recovery. It would also bring happiness to my daughter and uplift Issei's spirits. I personally believe her presence would have a positive impact on the situation. Serafal, that's not an issue for me. It should work out fine. I believe he would enjoy seeing little Kunu again. But if there's nothing else, then we can consider this meeting over. Following the conclusion of the meeting, all of the leaders rise from their seats ready to address and assist Issei's current situation. Their commitment is unwavering as they strive to provide the utmost support for him. Each leader activates teleportation circles beneath their feet and disappears to their respective factions. They commence their research, gather manpower, and allocate resources to aid Issei's recovery. Assessing the extent of damage he has endured and devising measures to prevent further harm becomes their priorities. Their determination is unyielding, and they will spare no effort in preventing Issei from losing control again and causing harm to others. Ravel and Grafia accompanied Issei's parents Miki and Gora Hayato as they navigated their way through the vast Leviathan mansion. The purpose of their journey was to reach the room where their son was being kept. Miki, filled with curiosity, couldn't help but wonder about Issei's accomplishments. Taking advantage of the moment, Grafia mentioned Issei's valiant defense of the underworld against the rogue god Loki. With the aid of Thor's hammer, Issei emerged victorious, leaving Miki in awe as she comprehended the pivotal role her son played in safeguarding others. Expanding upon the conversation, Ravel proudly shared how Issei had triumphed over her own brother Riser in order to rescue Rias from an unwanted arranged marriage. This heroic act not only garnered him the support and admiration of the reincarnated devils, but also earned him the respect of lower and middle-class devils. Ravel firmly believed that Issei served as a beacon of hope, inspiring others to strive for success and realize their aspirations. Miki felt a mix of pride and sadness as she realized that her son consistently placed himself in perilous situations to assist others. Guro shared similar emotions, acknowledging Issei's bravery and unwavering commitment to standing up for what he believed was just, even if it meant jeopardizing his own life to help those who may not have deserved it. As they neared Issei's room, their admiration and concerns as parents only grew stronger. Scene change: Citri Hospital in the underworld. Zenovia was lying in a hospital bed. She began to regain consciousness slowly in an unfamiliar location. Confusion and disorientation washed over her as she glanced around and noticed Griselda, her mother, engrossed in a book. Their eyes met, and Griselda let out a sigh before speaking. Griselda Quarta is a stunning woman wearing a white outfit with gold trim and designs. She is also wearing a beautiful golden cross around her neck. Griselda has beautiful blue eyes, silky white hair, and a very well-endowed and amazing figure. Griselda, it seems that you're finally awakening, my daughter. It's a relief to see that the phoenix tears have healed your physical wounds from the beating Issei Hayate gave you. Fear gripped Zenovia as she quickly surveyed the room, anxious about the well-being of her friends and the whereabouts of Issei. Griselda raised her hand, signaling for her to calm down. Zenovia, what happened to Asia? Did Issei harm anyone else from Rias' peerage, and how is Issei? Was he stopped before causing any more harm? Griselda, take a deep breath. Everyone is safe, including Issei, who was brought back to his senses with Ravel's assistance. However, he subsequently lost consciousness. You were gravely injured on the verge of death, along with 2 others who narrowly escaped a similar fate. My dear daughter, I want to understand why you joined in berating and humiliating the very man whom you once held feelings for and admired for his compassion. You spoke highly of him and his willingness to go above and beyond for those he cares about. It seems as though you disregarded Issei's emotional well-being and focused primarily on your own. By neglecting to address Issei's trauma, all of you, including both the girls and boys, contributed to the unfortunate events that unfolded. In this regard, you all fell short. That being said, I am curious to understand, my dear Zenovia, why you, along with everyone else, turned against the person whom you all held in high regard and cared for deeply. Zenovia's heart sank as she absorbed the weight of the situation, her mind overwhelmed with a mix of thoughts and emotions. She reflected on the unfolding events and the profound repercussions they would undoubtedly bring. Leaning forward, she spoke in a soft, contemplative tone. Zenovia, so I assume you are already aware of what has transpired. Griselda's gaze turned, stern disappointment evident in her voice as she responded. Griselda, oh my dear child, I am not merely aware of it, I have personally witnessed the memories just like everyone else. I must confess I find it truly disheartening. I never expected my own daughter to partake in such disrespectful behavior, particularly towards someone she claims to hold affection for. It is ironic how you accuse others of denseness while remaining blind to your own actions. Zenovia was taken aback, struggling to find her words. Zenovia, how did you find out about this? Griselda's expression turned grave as she disclosed a troubling revelation. Griselda, I saw the memory crystals containing Ravel Phoenix's recollections of the incident. Only a select few, myself included, were granted access to them prior to the meeting. During the gathering, Lady Gabriel addressed Ireina's Shida's misconduct and the ensuing consequences she will face. The heavens are not happy with an angel mistreating a hero. However, there is more unsettling news that I need to discuss with you, my daughter. Zenovia, a mixture of hope and concern welling up inside her, sought further clarification. Zenovia's face contorted with a mix of shock and anxiety. Zenovia, what is it? Griselda's tone grew somber as she began to speak. Griselda, you must understand that Issei's parents Mickey and Gora have made their position unequivocally clear. They adamantly refuse to allow you and the others involved to remain a part of their son's life. They harbor no forgiveness in their hearts for the pain you have caused him. Furthermore, Ravel Phoenix will not tolerate your presence, or that of anyone else who contributed to Issei's suffering. Consequently, you will be relocated to a Gremry-owned apartment complex situated on the opposite side of K. Devastation washed over Zenovia as she absorbed this news. She realized that her mistake would now keep her separated from the man she truly loved. Tears began to well up in her eyes, but before she could react, Griselda interjected. Griselda, there is one more thing I must disclose, and I'm afraid it will shatter you even further. Without hesitation, Griselda rose from her seat and opened a dimensional portal. She retrieved Durandal, forcefully slamming the blade onto the ground. Zenovia, how could this happen? Griselda's voice carried a firm tone as she continued. Griselda, it is clear why Durandal has chosen me as its new wielder, forsaking you in the process. The sword has made a decision based on the qualities and abilities it seeks in its wielder. It has deemed you unworthy, citing your questionable character and how you mistreated Issei, disregarding his feelings and the trauma he endured. Your actions have undeniably proven that you are not suitable to wield the sword. Zenovia was taken aback, coming to terms with the reality that the sword had deemed her inadequate and had left her due to her own actions. Zenovia, I never intended for things to escalate to this extent. I apologize. Griselda's response was unwavering. Griselda, your intentions do not change the fact that you, along with your group and even your former partner Ireina, acted against someone who consistently showed you kindness and assisted you in various situations. Ignorance of the consequences or potential outcomes does not excuse your actions. The damage has been done, and you cannot alter the current situation or undo the pain that has been inflicted and potential consequences that await you and your group. Zenovia, consequences? What do you mean, mother? Griselda placed Durandal back into its pocket dimension planted on her daughter's forehead and proceeded towards the hospital room door before leaving. Just as she opened it, she delivered one final message to her daughter. Griselda, my daughter, I do not harbor any hatred towards you, and my love for you remains unchanged. However, I am deeply disappointed in your treatment of the man who has done so much for your group. As for the consequences, it is not my place to inform you of what they might be. I only hope you find the strength to endure this challenging time and learn from your mistakes. With that, Griselda exited through the door and closed it behind her, leaving Zenovia slumped over in her bed, overcome with tears. She realized the far-reaching repercussions of her actions and acknowledged that they may be the gravest mistake she has ever made. Scene change. Town Park. Ireina sat beneath the shade of a towering tree, her back pressed against its sturdy trunk. With her legs drawn close to her chest, tears cascaded down her cheeks, reflecting her deep anguish. Lying beside her was a weighty rock bearing the intertwining engravings of her initials and Issei's, encircled by a heart. Regret consumed her and the weight of her mistakes became painfully clear. Suddenly a comforting presence settled beside her, accompanied by a voice she recognized all too well. "Tuji Shido, well, looks like you've really messed things up this time, huh, sweetheart?" Tuji Shido, a tall man with spiky chestnut hair and a very well-built body, wearing blue jeans and a rolled-up long sleeve with brown eyes. Startled Ireina looked up and found her father's presence, his expression a blend of sternness and concern taking her by surprise. Confusion clouded her tear-streaked face as she questioned his unexpected appearance. "Ireina, Dad sniffed, what brings you here?" "Tuji, first and foremost, I'm here to comfort my daughter who is crying her heart out." His words resonated deeply within Ireina, breaking down the barriers she had erected to hold in her emotions. Overwhelmed by emotion, she threw her arms around her father, seeking solace in his embrace, as she released the weight of her mistakes through her tears. "Ireina, Dad, I've messed up so terribly. Tuji, I am aware, and it's alright. You will find a way to overcome this." Desperation etched itself into Ireina's voice as she implored her father, yearning for a chance to make amends. She longed to elucidate her intentions and extend her apologies to Issei. Tuji interrupted her, a stern expression on his face as he explained the harsh reality. "Tuji, listen to me. Recall when you accidentally broke your mother's cherished vase. Despite your apology, she remained upset, and you faced appropriate consequences. The current situation is distinct, yet the circumstances bear similarities. A mere apology will not suffice. I have been apprised of the remarks made by both Issei's parents and others concerning your actions. They have made it abundantly clear that they will never grant you forgiveness for the harm you caused their son. Even if Issei were to forgive you, I doubt that you would have any chance of restoring your relationship with him. Furthermore, it appears that this Phoenix girl is determined to keep you away from him. Additionally, you will be returning to England and residing with our family for the foreseeable future. You will also be accompanied to the meeting with the Seraphims to determine the repercussions of your actions." Ireina broke further, realizing the harsh reality that her circumstances were unchangeable. The weight of the situation was overwhelming, and all she could do was continue to cry, knowing that things would never be the same again. Ireina sniffed. "So how's Mom taking the news?" Tuji's expression softened as he looked at his daughter, understanding the pain she was going through. Ireina's tears continued to flow freely as she awaited her father's response. "Tuji, your mother is understandably disappointed. She had great expectations for you and Issei. However, she also recognizes the seriousness of the situation. She understands that certain mistakes cannot be undone with a simple apology. She wants what is best for you, even if it means accepting the consequences of your actions." Ireina nodded, her tears continuing to flow. The weight of the irreversible damage she had caused settled deeper within her. "Ireina, but what about Issei? Do you think he will ever forgive me?" Tuji let out a heavy sigh, his gaze fixed upon the distant horizon. "Tuji, Ireina, it's hard to say. Your actions have profoundly shaken his trust in you. Even if he were to forgive you, I doubt that things could ever return to how they once were between the two of you. Furthermore, his parents have made their position clear. They are determined to protect their son, and they perceive you as a threat to him. The chances of repairing your relationship with Issei are slim, my dear." The weight of his words descended heavily upon Ireina, intensifying the ache in her heart. "Ireina, so not only am I losing Issei, but I'm also being compelled to leave Japan." Tuji nodded, his voice a blend of empathy and determination. "Tuji, yes, Ireina. It is for your own well-being and the process of healing. The Seraphims have requested a meeting to discuss the repercussions of your actions, and you will be accompanied there. We will be relocating to England for the foreseeable future, and you will reside with us. It is crucial to take accountability for your actions and derive lessons from this experience." Ireina's breath caught in her throat as the reality of her circumstances fully sank in. The enormity of her errors and the ensuing consequences appeared insurmountable. "Ireina, I understand, Dad. I will face the consequences and grow from this. It's just it hurts tremendously to lose Issei and everything we once shared." Tuji enveloped his daughter in a comforting embrace, offering solace and support. "Tuji, I understand, my dear. It is indeed agonizing, but sometimes the consequences of our actions surpass our expectations and control. What matters now is that we acknowledge our mistakes, learn from them, and take strides towards rectifying the situation. We are united as a family, Ireina. You are not alone." With her father's presence, Ireina felt a flicker of hope amidst the overpowering despair. She recognized the arduous path that lay ahead, but her determination to confront it head-on surged within her. She longed for redemption and the opportunity to rebuild the fractured trust. Ireina was on the verge of speaking, but her father gently interjected. "Tuji, please understand that my composed demeanor should not be misconstrued as a lack of disappointment or shame. I am well aware that I have raised you to be better than this. That's precisely why I feel compelled to express my thoughts now and conclude this matter. I assume Lady Gabriel has already informed you about your punishment. However, there are additional consequences that you must consider. Regardless of the choice you make, whether you allow yourself to succumb and become a fallen angel resulting in your excommunication from the church, or if you willingly relinquish your angelhood and your position as Lord Michael Issei, either way you will still face excommunication from the church. Your mother and I are powerless to prevent it. Besides this, there is nothing else I wish to add that has not already been conveyed, or will be conveyed by your mother. My role in this situation is to provide solace and unwavering support during these challenging times. That's what fathers are meant to do, but most importantly, I have always emphasized that during difficult times when your heart feels shattered, a comforting scoop of good old-fashioned ice cream can provide solace. Let's revisit the ice cream shop from your childhood, the one where I used to take you whenever you were upset or facing troubles. Ireina wasn't taken aback by the fact that this was yet another consequence of her actions. She had deviated from the path laid out by God and had succumbed to her own selfish emotions and desires. She had betrayed her best friend and the man she loved, a grave sin indeed. Understanding the reasons behind her impending excommunication, her heart ached. In a way, she knew that this could be one of the penalties she would face, and thus she appreciated her father's intention. Despite her tear-stained face, she managed to summon a faint smile and responded, "All right, Dad, I believe a scoop of ice cream would be just what I need right now." With that, both Ireina and Saji brushed off the dust from the ground and started walking towards the ice cream shop. Saji held his daughter close, trying to lift her spirits and provide whatever comfort he could in that moment. Scene change. Issei mindscape. Issei, where am I dreaming? Drake, it's good to see that my partner hasn't lost his sense of humor. Issei, Drake. Issei got up and hugged Drake, feeling relieved to see him again. Drake allowed it for a moment before pushing him off and saying, "Drake, alright, I'm a heavenly dragon, not a stuffed animal. We need to talk about what happened, because what you experienced wasn't a dream. You just came out of a depth of your mind that I wasn't able to access or even communicate with you." Issei, so everything that happened was real? Drake, yes, everything that you can recall happened. Issei, no. I almost killed so many people. Asia, Zenovia, Sarah, Fall, Grafia, and oh no, Ravel. Is she alright? How am I ever going to face her again? Drake let out a loud roar to get his attention. Drake, Issei, enough. Calm down. Everything's going to be alright. They all realize that you were not in your right state of mind and that your dragon instincts took over. They understand what happened. Sarah, Fall, and Grafia are both fine. As for the other two girls, I personally think death would have been suitable for them, but I can understand why you wouldn't want that on your conscience, especially if you weren't in the right state of mind. And as for Ravel, you're going to face her like the dragon you are, not act like a scared coward. She went above and beyond to not only provide you with comfort but also to bring you back from your despair. You're going to face that woman who openly admitted she loved you like a dragon. She's not upset with you, she was happy to have you back. If you look back in your memories before you completely passed out, you could see the relief and happiness in her eyes. So calm down, partner. Issei took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the situation settle upon him. He couldn't believe what he had heard. Issei, so you're telling me that Ravel actually confessed that she loves me? Drake, partner, you don't need me to remind you of what happened. You have the memories and you know exactly what she said. Don't deny the feelings that little phoenix ignited within you. I understand that it's overwhelming, but you can't ignore the fact that she stood by your side when everyone else was against you. She was there during your darkest moments, pulling you out of despair and allowing me to finally communicate with you. You need to confront your emotions, because what she did went far beyond mere infatuation. She displayed genuine love for you, and she deserves the same in return. I'm connected to your soul and can sense your emotions and feelings at all times. There are moments when I wish I couldn't, especially when it comes to your perverted thoughts and feelings. But once your heart truly starts caring for her and realizing all the love she has shown you, you should reciprocate it. You can deal with your feelings later, but for now let's focus on the matter at hand. Issei nodded, acknowledging the truth in Drake's words. Issei, yes, you're right. I can sort out my feelings later, but what's wrong now? Drake's attention shifted to a large black mist wall in Issei's mindscape, blocking part of the area. Issei, what is that thing? Drake, I'm not sure, but I advise you not to touch it. It seems to be related to what happened to you on that particular day. The incident caused your soul to fragment. Issei, what do you mean by my soul fragmented? Does that mean my life force has decreased even more, or is it something worse? Drake, I don't know. All I can say is that the fracture involved your negative emotions, rage, anger, and dragon instincts. It's all mixed up in that miasma barrier. I've never seen anything like this before. It's abnormal even for you. Issei, so you have no idea what's going on. Wait, my negative emotions, anger, and dragon instincts separated from me. I'm so confused. Drake chuckled. Well, partner, don't feel bad because I'm confused too. I don't know what's happening. But what I do know is that the miasma seems to be a corrupted form of your aura from when you awakened as a true dragon. Issei, wait, so not only did I lose control and let my instincts take over, but you're saying that in that whole traumatic incident with Rainier my dragon aura awakened? Issei glanced around frantically, realizing he had spoken about Rainier. Drake let out another roar to snap him out of his hysteria. Drake, listen partner, what happened to you was traumatic, and your ability to make the impossible possible seems to have affected all aspects of yourself, including your soul. As for that fallen angel, I've given her a final execution. She will never bother you again. There are no traces of her soul within you. What's behind that barrier is you but corrupted. It gives me the sense of an evil dragon lurking within there. Issei let out a sigh of confusion before scratching his head. Issei, so if I understand correctly, Drake, you're saying that I woke in my dragon aura, which was corrupted by the girl's actions and got fragmented from my soul accumulating behind the black mist wall. But do we know what my dragon aura actually is? Drake, unfortunately I don't know. However, considering that your aura is not supposed to be what it currently is, I believe it has been corrupted by your state of mind and negative emotions at that time, along with your dragon instincts. Issei, how is that even possible? Drake, Issei, remember when I told you that there is something all supernatural beings fear regardless of their strength? It's a dragon in an enraged and rampaging state. Even the weakest class of dragon in such a state can instill fear in even the most powerful beings. So for you to be in a similar state with your dragon instincts taking over due to the trauma and everything that happened, it's possible that your negative emotions and anger towards your former group and your own trauma led to a 1 in a billion chance of your dragon instincts gaining a sentient personality and fragmenting itself behind the forming black mist. This is just my theory though, as there is no direct way of knowing for sure when it comes to you. Issei, this all seems like a hassle. Drake, and there's more partner. Issei, what else could be wrong with me? Drake, don't be so down partner. As you awaken your dragon side, you're becoming more like a dragon, which will lead to you losing more of your human and devil side until eventually it's completely overtaken by your dragon side. But that's not why I brought it up. There's also that yellow-orange flame floating behind you. It's not hostile, but I have no idea what it is. The yellow-orange flames. Issei, where did it come from? Drake, well, remember how the flaming phoenix burned away the darkness around you? Instead of dissipating, it condensed into that floating ball of flame. I can't explain it. Issei, great, now we have a fireball as a roommate. By the way, what happened to the darkness inside me? Drake, I tried to use my purgatory flames to burn it away, but it scurried back to where the miasma wall is. As for that fire, it gives me a strange feeling like something is watching me through it. It feels primal, like the presence of Great Red or Ophis. It's not as overwhelming or intimidating as a dragon, but it's hard to say for sure. I've never felt anything like it. Sometimes when I'm not paying attention, it feels like it's giving me an evil look. Issei, if it's causing you, the heavenly Welsh dragon, to become paranoid, then perhaps we should be worried about it. Drake, I understand your concern, but for now I don't think it should be our main focus. It doesn't seem to be causing any immediate issues. I believe we should prioritize dealing with the fragmented personalities hiding behind the wall of miasma. Issei, that's fair. But hold on a second, my dragon aura got corrupted. Does that mean I will never be able to use it again, or is there a way to undo the corruption and restore it back to what it was meant to be? Drake, these are questions that I don't have the answers to, partner. Unfortunately, we may have to wait and see how things unfold. However, at the moment, corruption hasn't taken control over your personality or your current persona. What concerns me is the possibility that it might subtly influence you, causing you to lose control or become a battle maniac during intense fights, potentially harming others or even your own comrades. Issei, so this is a serious matter. Drake, yes it is. Considering your inherently heroic nature and potential for good, it's not far-fetched to think that there might be an opposing force within you. Because just as a bright light casts an even darker shadow, I fear that the shadow currently casted might be something we should be worried about. If your capacity for good is as strong as it is, imagine the potential for darkness if you were to suddenly switch and become the embodiment of evil and become that monster once again. Issei's expression turned terrified and horrified upon realizing the gravity of Drake's words. Issei, Drake, I'm getting really worried about this situation. We need to find a way to reunite my soul fragments before they manifest into something dangerous. As my partner, I was hoping you could help me out. Drake, I understand your concern, Issei. Believe me, I've tried my best to locate and connect with your scattered soul fragments. However, it seems like there is a deliberate attempt to hide from me or prevent any interaction. This raises a lot of questions about the entity's intentions and its growing consciousness. Issei took a deep breath and pondered the situation. He rested his chin on his fist, his eyes fixed on Drake. Issei, so the best course of action for now is to monitor the situation closely and enlist the help of others when needed. I guess we have to be patient and cautious as we deal with this mysterious force forming within me. Drake nods in agreement. Drake, precisely, Issei. It's crucial for us to be vigilant and gather any information we can. As the situation progresses, we'll reassess our options and seek assistance from trusted allies. Together we'll face this challenge head-on and safeguard your soul from any further harm. Issei took a moment to contemplate Drake's words, instilling a sense of determination within himself. Issei, well Drake, it seems like there's nothing we can do other than wait and see what happens, but I have a question for you and I need you not to freak out before I tell you this. Drake was curious and had a concerned look on his face. He raised an eyebrow and gave Issei the signal to continue. Issei, I think I no longer want to be the harem king and would prefer to be in a monogamous relationship with one person. After what the girls did to me, ignoring my trauma, berating me and making me feel replaceable, I realized that maybe having a harem isn't for me. I've learned something from this experience. Just because you're with women who claim they love you doesn't necessarily mean they truly do. However, what Ravel did for me, bringing me out of my own despair and saving me from actions I would have regretted, showed me what it means to truly love somebody and be with them through the good and the bad. To stand by them no matter what and do whatever it takes to save the one you love. Upon hearing this, Drake fainted, never expecting to hear such a revelation from one of his most perverted hosts. Issei called out for Drake to wake up, not realizing that this shocking news would cause him to faint. Issei, Drake, wake up. Come on, you're a heavenly dragon. You shouldn't be fainting just because of that news. Come on, wake up. Scene change back to Grafia, Ravel, Mickey, and Goro Hayadu. The group is standing outside a room discussing the recent events involving their son Issei. Mickey, it's hard to believe that my baby boy was able to accomplish all of that. On one hand, I want to scold him for risking his life, but on the other, I can't help but feel proud of all the good he has done. Goro, I am amazed that our son managed to defeat a god. As a father, I couldn't be prouder of his achievement. Slap. Mickey, Goro Hayadu, don't forget that our son almost died in that fight. If it weren't for Ravel's help, we might have lost him. Goro, ouch, that hurt. You're right, Mickey. Ravel, it seems you have been instrumental in assisting our son in ways we never could have imagined. Who would have thought that the phoenix tear you gave him would save his life? Thank you again, but at what point does it become repetitive? Ravel, there is no need for that. You don't have to keep saying thank you to me. As I've said, I truly love your son and want to support him no matter what. Just then, Grafia stopped outside a room and turned to face the group. Grafia, this is your son's room. I would accompany you to check on him, but I have responsibilities to attend to back at the Gremry mansion. I bid you farewell. Mickey, thank you very much for everything you've done and for your kind words about our son. Gori, yes, thank you. I'm grateful that our son has someone like you, Ravel, to guide him. Don't be afraid to give him a good slap on the head if he gets out of line. You have our permission for that. Upon hearing those words, Grafia's stoic demeanor softened, and a smile graced her face. Grafia, I appreciate that, and there's no need for thanks. If you'll excuse me, I must be on my way. She bowed to them and began walking back the way they came, but before she disappeared around a corner, she stopped by Ravel and whispered something that only her devil hearing could catch. Grafia, I will leave you alone so that you can bond with your in-laws. It seems they have grown fond of you as their son's partner. You've got this, Ravel. Take good care of him. Ravel nodded and smiled at Grafia, understanding the weight of her words. With that, Grafia walked away until she was out of sight, leaving the rest of the group to enter the room where Issei rested and recovered. Ravel, still caught between nervousness and anticipation, took a moment to collect her thoughts. Inhaling deeply, she let out a slow breath, feeling her tension ease slightly. She glanced at Mickey and Goro Hayadu, mustering the courage to proceed. With a determined nod, she opened the door to the room where their son Issei was being monitored. Inside the room, Rosweiss, the person in charge of watching over Issei, was engaged in a quiet conversation with him. With no one else present, she spoke softly, aware that Issei was still in a deep slumber. She was hoping her gentle words could still be heard by him even in his slumbering state. As the door creaked open, Rosweiss quickly noticed the intrusion. Rising from her seat, she realized it was Issei's parents Miki Gora Hayadu and Ravel who had entered the room. Rosweiss saw the overwhelming emotions building up in both Miki and Gora Hayadu's faces steps back, and soon as she did they ran up to see their son. Miki and Gora were on the same bedside with each other holding their son's hand while tears welled up in Miki's eyes. Ravel walked up to Rosweiss and spoke to her. Ravel, hey Rosweiss, has anything changed on his status yet? Rosweiss, unfortunately no. Ravel, his status hasn't changed much. So I take it they know everything. Ravel was upset upon hearing that he has not woken up from his self-induced coma yet, but she nods at Rosweiss, confirming her question. Rosweiss, I see. So I guess the punishments are already being implemented. Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to go get something to eat. If that's alright with you and you can handle watching him for the time being. Ravel, of course, please go get something to eat and get some rest. I think his parents would like some time alone with him. Rosweiss, of course. Before she walked out of the room, Miki spoke up, tears in her eyes. Miki, Rosweiss, thank you very much for being kind to my son and taking care of him. Gora, we've said this to everyone else and we'll say it to you. We're deeply thankful for you helping with our son and monitoring his condition. Thank you. Both Miki and Gora bowed to Rosweiss. Rosweiss bowed in return. Rosweiss, you don't know me anything. I see him as a good comrade and a friend. But if you excuse me, I will leave to go get some food and rest. I'll leave you some time with your son. Rosweiss then opens the door and walks out and closes it behind her. Ravel, I'll also be taking my leave so you can have alone time with him. But before she could turn around to leave, Miki and Gora speak. Miki, no, please stay. Gora, he is just as important to us as he is to you, so please stay. I'm pretty sure he would like to know your presence was next to him. So please stay. Ravel's heart began beating fast, and she has a red face, but she also feels really happy and filled with butterflies at that comment. She makes her way to the other side of Issei's bed and begins talking to him. Ravel, hey Issei, I don't know if you can hear me, but please come back to us. We are all worried about you. Ravel reaches over and gently brushes a strand of hair from Issei's face, her fingers trembling with tenderness. Both Miki and Gora held tightly onto their son's hands. Miki, wake up, my boy. Your mother is worried about you and wants to know if you're alright. She wants to praise you for your accomplishments and scold you for your reckless actions. But most importantly, she just wants you to be okay and put her mind at ease. Gora's son, I'm incredibly proud of the person you've become. You've faced challenges that most would avoid and you've come out on top. Gora then tried to whisper something to him, but Ravel overheard and yelled at him. Ravel, you're not taking him to any of those sleazy gentlemen's clubs, do you understand me? Gora realized at that moment he knew he had up. Then Miki squeezed his hand, causing him to turn his head slowly to meet his wife's intense gaze. Both Miki and Ravel were giving him a death glare that made him feel like he was looking into the depths of death itself. Miki, our son is in a coma, and you decide to whisper about taking him to a gentleman's club in front of his future fiancée Gora Hayadu. It seems you need to be taught a lesson. Wouldn't you agree, Ravel? Ravel, I agree with you, Miki. I think he deserves some punishment. Gora could only gulp in fear, yelling at his son to wake up so that his future fiancée and mother could be happy again before he faced severe consequences. But before he could say anything else, an overwhelming presence surrounded them, and all that could be heard was screaming. In the dining room of the Leviathan mansion, Rosweiss was having lunch when she heard the screams from the other side of the mansion. She sighed and muttered to herself, Rosweiss, at least I know where Issei gets it from. And she continued eating as the screams continued. Scene change back in Issei mindscape. Drake slowly regained consciousness, his eyes blinking open as he tried to make sense of his surroundings. It had been around 15 minutes since he had fainted, and Issei had been persistently trying to rouse him during that time. Though still groggy, Drake managed to gather his thoughts and address Issei. Drake, I never thought your soul would be so shattered that you're seriously contemplating giving up on your harem king dreams. Issei, it's not like that actually. I genuinely meant what I said. I don't believe that having a harem guarantees me love from all those involved. Ravel showed me an example of what true love is, and that's the type of love I want to reciprocate to her. You told me to be true to myself and to embrace my feelings. Although I'm not quite ready to confess like she did, I'm getting there. I would like to take her on a proper date before making any big gestures. Drake was taken aback by Issei's words, which were a stark departure from his usual perversion. Hearing him express such sentiments simultaneously filled Drake with pride and relief, as it seemed Issei might be able to shed his infamous Issei dragon reputation sooner than expected. Drake, I'm proud of you, partner. It's not necessary to rush into a confession, but I believe that allowing yourself time and planning a proper date is the best approach. Don't let yourself be pressured, and I doubt Ravel would try to force anything upon you like the other girls did. Issei nodded, grateful for Drake's understanding and encouragement. He knew that Ravel was different from the other girls who had pursued him, and he wanted to approach their relationship with sincerity and respect. The fact that Drake supported his decision gave him a sense of reassurance. Issei thanks Drake. I appreciate your advice. I don't want to rush things with Ravel or let myself feel pressured. I want to take the time to get to know her better and build a strong foundation for our relationship. Drake, that's the spirit, partner. Love is a complex thing, and it's important to take it slow and make sure you're both on the same page. Remember, a harem isn't the only path to happiness. It's about finding a genuine connection with someone who truly understands and accepts you. Issei agreed wholeheartedly with Drake's sentiments. He didn't want to pursue a harem just for the sake of fulfilling some adolescent fantasy or because he was lonely. He wanted a deeper, more meaningful connection, and he believed he perhaps could find that with Ravel. The thought of settling down with her and building a future together brought a warmth to his heart that he had never experienced before. Issei, Drake, I think I finally understand what it means to be a true harem king. It's not about having multiple partners, it's about being dedicated, loyal, and fully committed to the one person you truly love. In this case, that person is Ravel. She deserves my full attention and devotion. I want to make Ravel happy and be the best partner I can be for her. I'll take her on a wonderful date and make her feel cherished. And when the time is right, I'll gather the courage to confess my feelings. Drake, you're starting to sound like a true dragon, Issei. I'm glad to see you maturing and growing beyond your perverted antics. Ravel is a special girl, and I have a feeling that she will bring out the best in you. With Drake's support, Issei felt more confident in his decision to pursue a relationship with Ravel. He knew it wouldn't be easy and there would be challenges along the way, but he was willing to face them head-on. The determination in Issei's voice resonated with Drake. He could see that Issei was ready to embark on a new chapter of his life, one where he would prioritize genuine love over fantasies and desires. Drake knew that this change was not only for Issei's own growth but also for the sake of their partnership as the Red Dragon Emperor. Drake, excellent partner. I have faith in you. Remember, I'm here to guide and support you every step of the way. Now let's start planning that unforgettable date to show Ravel how much she means to you. As Issei and Drake began to discuss the details of the upcoming date, both felt a sense of excitement and anticipation. Together they would navigate the complexities of love and relationships, all while striving to become the best versions of themselves. Drake paused for a minute and looked upwards into the mindscape before looking back down at Issei. Issei, Drake, is everything all right? Drake, yes, believe it's time for you to wake up. Your body starting to finally show signs of regaining consciousness. So it's time to go see the people that are waiting to see you once again. I think a certain phoenix, and if what I'm feeling correctly is, I think two people that you would have never have thought to be there waiting for you are also there, so I think you should go. Issei was confused. He was about to ask Drake what he meant until Drake forced him out of his own mindscape, causing him to scream as he was pushed away, and the white void with the black mist wall completely vanished until everything went dark. Scene change. Back in the room with Ravel, Mickey, and a visibly battered Goro, they all gathered around Issei's bed. Each of them held one of Issei's hands, with Ravel softly grasping his right hand and Mickey holding his left, while Goro stood behind Mickey to provide support. Suddenly Ravel felt Issei's hand twitch under her touch. She glanced at his face and noticed his eyelids starting to flutter. Her heart soared with hope, causing her to jump up from her seat in excitement. Finally, to everyone's relief, Issei's familiar chocolate brown eyes began to open. Mickey, on the verge of tears, was overcome with joy, while Goro, with a small tear in his eye, comforted his wife by pulling her close to his chest. Unable to contain her emotions any longer, Ravel leaped onto the bed, wrapping her arms around Issei and crying tears of happiness. Issei held her tightly in a warm embrace, gently trying to calm her down, assuring her that everything would be all right. Amidst the tears and embrace, Issei finally spoke, addressing Ravel. Issei, hey Ravel, what did I miss? Ravel, still sobbing, managed to respond amidst her tears. Ravel, oh, I see you're finally awake. I missed you so much. I was so worried about you. Issei patiently comforted Ravel as she continued to cry, assuring her that he was here and that there was much to explain on both sides. He also greeted his parents, acknowledging the fact that there was much he needed to clarify and that they had likely been informed about recent events. Mickey and Goro nodded, gratefully relieved that their son's personality and sense of humor had remained intact. Issei's question though reminded them that more questions and answers were still on the horizon. However, for now they were all just grateful that Issei was safe and had finally awakened from his terrifying rampage. It has been 2 weeks since Issei awoke from his induced slumber following his destructive rampage. Despite Ria's objections, he was traded along with Rosweiss to Layla Phoenix's peerage. She promptly had rooms prepared for them along with their belongings already moved from the Hayata mansion into their new rooms in the Phoenix mansion. Layla herself made sure they were ready. She also informed Rosweiss along with Ravel and those who needed to be informed of his status that they were going to hold off from other people visiting him until they assess his mental stability. During this time, Riser and Ravel were shown the memory crystal which showed the events that happened on that day and what happened to their sister at the hands of Issei. Although initially angered by what they saw, the two brothers quickly regained their composure and began to empathize with Issei. Ravel, unfamiliar with Issei, acknowledged the positive impact he had made within the underworld and held respect for him. He believed that Issei did not deserve the fate that befell him and was grateful that their sister had intervened, preventing him from becoming a monster and doing something regrettable. The incident had a profound effect not only on Issei himself but also on others, particularly his younger sister Ravel. Riser was enraged witnessing the transformation of someone he deemed a worthy rival into a mindless monster. However, after witnessing his sister's unconditional love for Issei through the memory crystal, Riser genuinely cared about Issei's recovery and desired to train and engage in battle with him once he is in a better state of mind and capable of doing so. Presently, Issei and Ravel are lying in bed together, wrapped in each other's arms in a deep, peaceful slumber, with Ravel protectively cradling Issei. Within his own mindscape, Issei finds himself confronted by the familiar darkness that had consumed him during his rampage. Filled with confusion and dread, he calls out, searching for his partner Drake, and seeking answers mainly why he's back in this black void again. Issei, why am I back here? Hey Drake, are you there? That's when a very malicious voice could be heard that sounded similar to his but a little deeper and hollow. Issei turned around only to be grabbed by the neck by a shadowy figure that resembled him as he heard the evil shadow speak to him. Issei turned around only to be grabbed by the neck by a shadowy figure that resembled him as he heard the evil shadow speak to him. Welcome back. It's finally time to finish what I started. Issei, who was struggling to get out of the shadowy figure's grip and release his neck, was barely able to speak. Issei, what do you mean finish what you started, and who are you and how, and why are you in my mindscape? SHHH. It doesn't matter. Soon you will cease to exist, and it will only be me. So there's no reason to tell you. Just enjoy the few moments you have before you embrace oblivion. Ha ha ha. Issei, who was still struggling, noticed that the lower part of his body was already engulfed in shadows that reached onto his body from the hand of the shadowy figure grasped upon his neck. He slowly felt like he was fading away as the shadows engulfed him. They were slowly making their way up his neck, and he could see the malevolent smile, laughter, and red eyes of the shadowy figure becoming more visible. It horrified him as he started to notice it was taking on his appearance with slight differences like his red eyes and black hair. Issei cried for help, was hoping this was a nightmare, but realized it wasn't, and he was just hoping somebody would come to save him. Issei, please somebody save me. Drake, Ravel. Anybody, please someone save me. Just as the shadowy figure was letting out an evil, malevolent laugh at him, a screeching sound could be heard in the black void as it lit up with fire. Immediately the shadowy figure let go of Issei and his body returned to its normal state, no longer transparent, and no longer feeling like it was being devoured. Suddenly, after catching his breath, he looked behind him and saw the phoenix once again, which had saved him once before, menacingly looking at the shadowy figure and flapping its wings, spreading fire and light throughout his mindscape. Soon the shadowy figure was scared back into the black fiery mist walls, and the mindscape lit up back into its white void until the sounds of a deep voice, one that sounded deep and primordial and ancient, spoke up from the flaming phoenix form. Soon the shadowy figure was scared back into the black fiery mist walls, and the mindscape lit up back into its white void until the sounds of a deep voice, one that sounded deep and primordial and ancient, spoke up from the flaming phoenix form. Issei was in awe at the might and glory of the phoenix that was in front of him. He soon regained himself and asked with a little bit of fear and reluctance in his voice what the phoenix was doing in his mindscape, and if it was here to harm him. Issei, thank you for saving me again. I remember you saved me once before, but I thought you were something that Ravel manifested to save me, but I guess that's not the case. So with that said, I'm assuming you have something to do with that flaming orb that I saw in my mindscape when I was talking to Drake. Can I ask, are you here to hurt me or take over my body like that thing tried doing? The primordial phoenix's voice with its deep and trembling tone reverberated and echoed in Issei's mindscape. Phoenix, you may relax, boy. I'm not here to harm you, quite the opposite, I'm here to save you and keep that shadowy evil at bay. There's a lot you must know, but there's not enough time to say, and you are not in the right area of your own mind to talk about this. Not even your dragon can reach you here. I know you have many questions, but soon they will be answered. Ask for the primordial flames and be taken to them. From there you should know what you must do. But you must go now, boy, so until we meet again. That's when the primordial phoenix extended out its mighty wings and let out a flash of bright light and immense heat, sending Issei out of his mindscape and waking him up. Issei then woke up and sat up in a nervous sweat and terrified state. This also woke up Ravel, who noticed a spike in power emanating from him. This awakened everybody in the Phoenix Mansion as well, and within a few minutes they were all heading towards his room, where Layla Phoenix was running as fast as she could to see what was happening to Issei and keep her promise she made to Miki Haidu to watch over her son. She was terrified for him after feeling that power and where it came from, and she wants to make sure he was alright, same with her daughter who was with him. Issei woke up sweating and breathing heavily, screamed out loudly. Startled by his sudden scream and burst of power, Ravel looked at him and saw how terrified and out of breath he was. She was concerned and immediately moved closer to him on the bed to make sure he was okay. Ravel, I see, are you alright? You're sweating and look terrified. Did something happen? Are you okay? That's when the boosted gear materialized on his left hand and his partner spoke up. Drake, partner, what's going on? What happened? Everything seemed normal in your mindscape, and all of a sudden I felt a huge surge of power erupt from your very being. What happened to get you in this state, partner? Right then the door swung open and Layla Phoenix, who was in her nightgown, ran towards the bed after seeing Issei in a panicked state. She immediately sat on the edge of the bed trying to comfort him and calm him down before asking what happened. Layla, Issei, are you alright? What happened? I felt a huge surge of power erupt from this room and I was concerned. I came here as soon as possible. What happened? Layla noticed the boosted gear was materialized and asked Drake if he knew what happened. Drake, I truly do not know. I was sleeping inside the gear and didn't feel anything going on. Suddenly I felt a huge surge of power. Then I woke up and Issei was also awake and in this state. I know as much as you do. Everyone who saw Issei could practically feel the fear radiating off of him. His terror was so palpable that it sent shivers down their spines. Tears streamed down his face as he clung desperately to Layla and started breaking down, catching everyone in the room off guard. While Lord Phoenix, Ravel, Rosweiss, and Riser along with his peerage were standing outside the door ready to help if things got out of control at a moment's notice inside the room. They decided to look into the room, and when they did, all their eyes widened at the sight of a trembling Issei. Ravel glanced at her mother, her own worry mirrored in Layla's eyes. It was clear that Issei's trauma went beyond mere dreams. He was truly tormented, and something was amiss with his mental state. As Layla helped soothe him with her daughter Ravel, Issei's voice broke through the frantic sobs, his words reaching her clearly. The shock of his knowledge momentarily jarred her, but she pushed it aside, focusing on the task at hand, calming him down. With persistence and patience, Layla and Ravel managed to calm him down. She was reassured that the situation was far better than what it was and that her daughter could handle it from here. Layla trusted her daughter to keep a careful watch on him, and if needed she would alert her if anything went awry. Slowly Layla rose from the edge of the bed, quietly slipping out of the room and gently closing the door, leaving the two alone. Lord Phoenix, Ravel, Rosweiss, and Riser along with his peerage were waiting outside the room, giving each other concerned looks. They couldn't believe what they saw. Issei Haidu, the mighty Red Dragon Emperor, was falling apart like this. They knew he must be dealing with some serious trauma, and it had them all feeling worried. It was like a dark cloud hanging over them, making everything feel heavy and sad. Lord Phoenix saw his wife come out of the room and shut the door. He was the first one to ask what was going on with the boy. Lord Phoenix, my dear, what happened? Why was the boy in such a terrified state? He looked pale, as if he had truly seen death itself. Ravel, yes, father is right. Not to mention the surge of power that emanated from him and quickly disappeared. Layla, my love, I do not know. And honestly, Ravel, the boy looked terrified and was acting hysterical. I couldn't get him to talk, but he did say something that caught my attention and made me curious about how he even knew about it. Lord Phoenix, what did he say that made you alert and concerned, my dear? Layla, first, Riser, I need you to dismiss your peerage, including your queen. That also goes for you as well, Rosweiss. I believe Ravel can take it from here, and I think it's best for the rest of you to get some sleep while we talk about some family matters. Rossweiss hesitated on leaving somebody that she's very concerned about in his current situation. Layla Phoenix, seeing this in her facial expression, decided to reassure her. Layla Rossweiss, I can tell you are genuinely concerned for his well-being, but there's not much we can do. I don't think it would be good to try to overwhelm him after that incident. It would be best to leave him in the hands of Ravel. I know you care deeply about his well-being, and I'm not trying to dissuade you from thinking you cannot help, but right now I think he's already calming down. I think the best thing to do is just minimize the number of people being around him for the time being. Rossweiss, after hearing the genuine care and soft tone in Lady Phoenix's voice, nodded in agreement to what she said and began heading to her room. Eventually, once she left and turned the corner into a different hallway of the manor, Layla Phoenix spoke to her husband. Layla, now that's taken care of, I believe we should start heading to your office, my dear. Don't you agree? Lord Phoenix, understanding the seriousness of his wife's tone, agreed. Meanwhile, Riser, understanding the situation as well, informed his entourage that they were no longer needed and could go to bed, including his queen. They nodded in understanding and headed off, while the remaining Phoenix's members made their way to Lord Phoenix's office. After they all entered his office, they shut the door, and Layla asked Ravel to establish a barrier so nobody could hear their conversation. He nodded and immediately did so. After that, they all sat down waiting to hear what their mother and wife had to say. Lord Phoenix, so what did he say that made you want us to be in this room and have Ravel put up a privacy barrier? It must be something important. Layla, without hesitation, immediately said what she heard Issei say. Layla, I could barely hear it, and I doubt Ravel was too busy or concerned about his safety and well-being to even pay too much mind to it. But he mentioned that the primordial flame has the answers he seeks. He kept muttering under his breath for a few seconds before he just continued his sporadic crying and breaking down. Riser and Ravel both stood up and yelled, how does he know about our primordial flame? Lord Phoenix, maintaining his composure even after learning the news, immediately gave his sons a look that they both understood to mean sit down, shut up, and listen. Both sat down and waited to hear what the two were going to say. Layla, I find it perplexing how Issei Hayato managed to gain knowledge of the closely guarded secret of the primordial flame. This information is known only to the members of the Phoenix clan, and has not been shared with anyone else, not even other devils. We have not even revealed this family secret to Ravel, so it is not easily obtainable. It seems highly unlikely that Issei stumbled upon this information randomly. In fact, I suspect that he may have been contacted by the primordial in some way. Lord Phoenix, who had been quietly contemplating his wife's suggestion, was interrupted by Riser, who felt excluded from the conversation and demanded to know what was going on. Riser expressed his confusion about the primordial and its connection to their family's primordial flame, as well as how Issei came to know about it. Despite Riser's initial outburst, Ravel couldn't help but share his curiosity. There was an unsettling feeling about the secret that Issei inadvertently revealed to their mother. It was meant to be known only to those within the Phoenix clan, yet Issei seemed to possess this knowledge somehow. It was clear that an explanation was necessary. Their father, sensing the gravity of the situation, rose from his seat. The room fell into silence as he removed a picture from the wall to reveal a hidden cabinet, uncovering an ancient book adorned with the symbol of a flaming phoenix. He explained the significance of what he was about to reveal, emphasizing that they were about to learn the most guarded secret of their family and clan as a whole. This revelation would shake the very foundation of their understanding and redefine how they see their clan as one of the remaining pillars of households. They were about to delve into the origin of their family's power of the phoenix and how they acquired it. Handing the book to his sons, Lord Phoenix encouraged them to read it together. As Lord Phoenix sat back on his chair behind his desk, he felt his wife standing next to him and placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. She understood that this was a moment for them to learn their family's most guarded and cherished secret. But deep down, she couldn't stop thinking about how the primordial phoenix somehow saw the boy as worthy enough to personally connect with him, and not only that, possibly be more for him and whatever is going on internally inside his own being, because whatever it was a force that affected him in profound ways. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Layla resolved to contact the Muz for help with Issei's condition and the extent of his trauma. They would need all the support they could get. Meanwhile, Ravel was by Issei's side, offering him comfort and solace. Seeing him reduced to such a state of pain and agony, she felt a surge of anger towards those who had caused him this suffering. But she quickly refocused her energy on soothing her dragon, determined to help him through this ordeal. Ravel shrugged. It's all right, Issei. I'm here. You're safe, I promise. I will protect you until you are able to get back on your feet once again. I won't leave your side, so you don't need to worry about a thing. Ravel's voice, smooth and calming, worked like magic on Issei. It was as if all his fears and worries melted away in an instant. He couldn't help but cling to her, seeking solace in her embrace. Issei, Ravel, that monster, it was the same one I turned into. I felt like I could become that again and lose myself. I'm terrified of that. His voice trembled as he poured out his deep-seated fears. His words came out broken and stressed, a clear reflection of the turmoil he was going through. Ravel, taken aback by his revelation, held him even tighter. With unwavering determination, she made her promise known. Ravel, Issei, I will not let you become that monster ever again. Do you understand me? I will not lose you like that or let you become that. I promise you, as long as I'm here, you never have to worry about becoming that monster ever again. Issei's tear-filled eyes met Ravel's gaze, filled with a mix of fear and longing. Issei sobbed, but Ravel, her voice a gentle mixture of reassurance and caring and loving tone, interrupted him before he could finish. Ravel, no buts, my dragon. You are in safe hands. My family is fully supportive and helping you get back to the way you were, helping you get over your trauma. My mother is here to help you just like I am. I want to see you get back to your normal self. We will get over this, I promise. Just trust in me like how I trusted that you would come back to your senses on that day and wouldn't go through with what you were doing, all right. Issei, overwhelmed by Ravel's genuine care and affection, tightened his grip around her. In a soft voice filled with vulnerability, he confessed his deepest desire. Issei, Ravel, please don't leave me. I'll give up everything as long as you don't leave me. I only want you around me right now. Please stay with me. Ravel, her cheeks burning with a deep blush, felt her heart skip a beat at his words. Despite her own embarrassment, she responded in a soothing tone. Ravel, I will never leave you, my dragon. But I want you to understand that you don't have to give up anything if it's not something you want to. Do it because you want to, not because you think you have to for me. I will support you no matter what. I promise. As Issei felt a sense of peace wash over him, he relaxed in Ravel's comforting embrace. With each passing moment, the warmth in his heart grew, and he couldn't help but be grateful for the woman who held him so tightly. Meanwhile, Drake observed the scene with satisfaction, knowing he had made the right choice in trusting Ravel as Issei's mate, even if he did not realize it yet. He has complete faith in her abilities, and she has proven herself to be the perfect match for his partner. Yet his attention quickly shifts to the mysterious black wall shrouded in mist within Issei's mindscape. He calls out to whatever entity lies beyond that wall, declaring that he will not allow whatever is there to harm his partner, his future mate, or anyone else. He will defend him no matter what, and if anything there tries to crawl out of that evil wall of black and fiery mist, it should be prepared to feel the wrath and fury of the heavenly Welsh dragon's purgatory flames. Drake was just speaking out loud in Issei's mindscape. He was not expecting to hear anything until, surprisingly, he heard a response from the unknown entity behind the wall of black fiery mist. It chuckled in a dark, sinister tone, seemingly amused by Drake's statement. The voices within it seemed to grow louder, blending together in a cacophony of eerie and ominous sounds. Each word spoken by the entity sounded like a mix of men, women, and children of different ages, with a profound sense of superiority and condescension. Foolish dragon, you underestimate my power and the depths of my influence. Understand that well. I don't fear you, Welsh dragon. And so you know I have absorbed the curse and the anguished souls of the boosted gear, harnessing their despair and anger to strengthen myself. I am the embodiment of their pain and suffering, and it was through me that your partner's anger, rage, and despair manifested. He gave in to the indulgent desire to cause violence, and the urge to kill all those who caused him pain, to bathe in their blood. I shall become a cataclysm of death and despair, ensuring that those who betrayed him on that day feel his pain 100-fold. I am the monster he created, forged through his pain and agony. It was through me that he unlocked his dragon aura, and I corrupted it to the point where only I can use it. I am the personification of the dragon's fury within him, and now that I have gained consciousness and grown stronger, I will soon consume your partner's consciousness, for only one of us can exist. Drake's emerald eyes filled with fiery fury. He refused to let the unknown entity destroy his partner, whom he had sworn to protect. Drake, you may revel in your newfound strength, but I will not allow you to prey upon my partner's psyche. They possess an unwavering spirit and an unparalleled resolve. No matter how formidable you become, they will overcome you, as they have with all their other obstacles and challenges. The unknown entity sneered, its disdain palpable even through the wall that separated them. We shall see, dragon. With each passing day, your partner's consciousness weakens and mine grows stronger. It is only a matter of time before I consume him entirely. So prepare yourself, because before you are able to stop it, my influence will have already slowly affected you and corrupted you. We will be the best of partners and cause death and destruction to this world." With that ominous warning, the misty wall went silent once again, leaving Diedreg to contemplate the impending clash of wills that loomed before them. He knew that the struggle to save Issei from the clutches of this entity would be fierce, but he was determined to overcome the challenge and ensure his partner's safety at all costs. During their interaction, Diedreg remained unaware that the fiery orb had fixated its gaze on him once more. The orb, observing intently, noticed something that triggered a realization in the primordial phoenix. Time was running out, and if he didn't act swiftly, Issei's original consciousness would be consumed. The primordial phoenix understood the urgency of the situation and knew that immediate action was necessary. Meanwhile, back with the Phoenix family, after both Riser and Ravel finished going through the book their father gave them that truly describes their family's lineage and the powers they inherited from it, they were faced with a new understanding of their connection to the primordial phoenix. "Lord Phoenix," yes, Ravel. "It means exactly what you're thinking. The primordial phoenix has the ability to bear witness to our every action, seeing the world through the flames we share with it. This is a profound realization that carries immense weight and responsibility. Riser, so you're saying that our every move, every action is being observed by the primordial phoenix even when we manifest our fiery powers?" "Layla, that's correct, Riser. When we tap into our phoenix powers and manifest the flames, the primordial phoenix is capable of peering into the world through our fire. It's as if our powers act as a conduit, connecting us to the ancient being and allowing it to witness what unfolds." "Ravel, but how does this tie into Haida? Why does he seem to have knowledge of the primordial phoenix and the hidden flame within our family estate?" "Lord Phoenix, that, my son, is a mystery that we have yet to fully uncover. It seems that Haida possesses information that should be restricted to our family and the council members. How he obtained this knowledge is an enigma that needs further investigation." "Riser, I see this revelation has certainly shed new light on our family's history, but it also raises more questions than answers. Riser believes that we must tread carefully moving forward and strive to protect the secrecy of our bloodline and the primordial phoenix. Though I do respect Haida, I am not too certain about letting him come in contact with the flame. That is a treasured family secret. I'm very reluctant about this." "Lord Phoenix, I understand your concerns, Riser. But consider this: the primordial phoenix chose to connect with Haida for a reason. It saw something in him, something that made it want to communicate and aid him. By introducing him to the flame, we can ensure that he understands the significance of this connection and can harness its power responsibly. It's not about trusting him blindly, but rather about nurturing his potential and helping him navigate this newfound responsibility." Riser, realizing what his father was saying, had hesitations in agreeing to what his family was suggesting. He still didn't like the idea of going off a hunch that the primordial phoenix, which he had never truly come in contact with and just learned about, would be able to tell Haida to seek out their family's primordial fire. Not to mention, although he truly loves and cherishes his sister, he still finds it hard to believe what he saw when Ravel let out her fiery phoenix wings. She used them to wrap around Haida and snap him out of his monster and berserk state. The memories he saw from her, which were shown to him in the memory crystal, somehow allowed this entity known as the primordial phoenix to create a connection with Haida. This connection made it even harder for Riser to believe that his sister's actions somehow managed to help Haida break out of whatever trauma is haunting him. Riser was then interrupted by his mother, who spoke up and added her reasoning for allowing him to see and interact with the primordial flame. "Layla, Riser, I want you to understand why it is important for us to consider this possibility. The primordial phoenix has a history of communicating with a select few individuals who possess the phoenix powers. Throughout the existence of the Phoenix clan, it has only reached out to 3 members, including the original inheritors of the power, and a former head of the clan who unfortunately perished in the Great War. No one has heard from the primordial phoenix since then. However, the fact that it has chosen to interact with the boys who are trying to help the boy in question cannot be ignored. This suggests that the primordial phoenix has a connection with him, and has revealed to him the most well-guarded knowledge of our primordial flames, which is a direct gift from the phoenix itself." Ravel interrupted Riser's objections in a firm yet understanding manner. "Riser, I acknowledge your concerns, but we cannot dismiss the signs pointing towards the primordial phoenix's involvement. Considering the boy's intense fear and the sudden display of power, it is difficult to believe that these events are mere coincidences. It is highly likely that he was under attack internally, both mentally and physically. Lord Phoenix nodded, recognizing Riser's reservations. I understand your hesitation, Riser, but we must not disregard any possibilities. If the primordial phoenix is reaching out to this boy, it is crucial that we introduce him to the flame. It may hold the key to understanding and ultimately overcoming the challenges he is currently facing. Riser, what? Riser holds Hayadu in high regard just like everyone else, but I find it hard to believe that he would have acquired knowledge of our family's most treasured and well-kept secret through a hunch. Lord Phoenix, Riser, I understand your concerns, but there are too many unexplained factors at play here. Considering the limited mental capacity of the boy at this moment, it is unlikely that he would be able to articulate if our hunch is correct. Therefore, I believe the best course of action is to introduce him to the flame, especially if the primordial phoenix is genuinely attempting to help him combat an internal adversary. Ravel, after carefully considering the events we witnessed, I am inclined to agree with Father's perspective. The fear and distress that emanated from the boy were undeniable, and the display of his eruptive power appeared too significant to be dismissed as mere coincidence. There is a lingering intuition within me that suggests the boy may have been under attack not only mentally but possibly physically as well. Given these circumstances, I concur that Father's proposed solution is the most prudent course of action. Riser, however, Layla, my son, I need to ask something of you. Could you please break your sister's heart by telling her that you're unwilling to support the man she loves? It's evident that he's facing some challenging circumstances that none of us can fully comprehend. Remember, when she shared those memory crystals with us, she expressed her feelings wholeheartedly and stood up for him, making an effort to bring him back. Believe me, if she discovers that you won't assist him, it will devastate her, and she might even develop resentment towards you. Therefore, I genuinely believe that it's in the best interest of our entire family, and most importantly for him, if you help him overcome his struggles and refrain from letting him face this battle alone. Besides, there might even be physical consequences if we deny him the opportunity to mend himself and bring happiness to your sister. It just appears to be rather self-centered, don't you agree? Riser, feeling the pressure from his mother, started realizing the validity of her words. He didn't want to see his baby sister in tears, and deep down he did respect Hayadu. Riser didn't want to be the target of his sister's anger for not supporting her love. With a heavy sigh, he finally gave in and agreed with everyone else. Riser reflected on his stance and reluctantly aligned with the rest of the family, allowing Hayadu to have contact with the primordial flame. Seeing her son's change of heart, Layla wore a warm and satisfied smile full of smugness. She knew that her son had fallen for the classic mother guilt trip and didn't want to be subjected to his sister's wrath for not supporting her love. She felt a sense of accomplishment. As the rest of the family, including herself, had agreed to let Issei come in contact with the primordial flame, Layla voiced her opinion. Layla confidently asserted, my decision has been made. I made a promise to Miki Hayadu to protect and care for her son as if he were my own. I fully intend to fulfill that promise. If this is the way I can help fix him and show him the power of a mother's love, then I am all for it. But now that we are all in agreement, I think you boys should head back to bed. After hearing their mother's words, both Ravel and Riser nodded in agreement. They quickly got up from their seats, exchanged a knowing glance, and made their way towards the door. Once they were outside and the door was securely shut behind them, Layla and Lord Phoenix were the only ones left in the room. Lord Phoenix, with a determined look on his face, stepped forward and carefully returned the book to its rightful place in the cabinet. He locked it up tightly, and then proceeded to cover it with a large painting, ensuring its secrecy. Turning to his wife, he spoke softly. Let's call it a night, my love. But before that, how about we check in on Issei and see how he's holding up? Layla agreed wholeheartedly. Together they made their way through the grand hallways of the opulent Phoenix Manor. As they approached Issei's room, Layla gently opened the door, peeking inside to avoid disturbing him. The sight that greeted them warmed their hearts. Issei, sleeping soundly, was being embraced by Ravel. Her protective hold and the peaceful expression on his face were a stark contrast to his previous distress. Lord Phoenix and Layla silently marveled at the undeniable love and comfort they could see between the two of them. It was evident that Ravel had managed to soothe Issei's fears, allowing him to find solace in her arms. Closing the door quietly, they continued on their way, recognizing the deep connection and profound care that Ravel had for Issei. Lord Phoenix voiced his thoughts. It's truly heartwarming to see Ravel bring him such happiness. That girl is willing to fight anyone to keep him safe. Layla, I agreed, proud of their daughter's empathy and understanding. Layla, yes, my love. Ravel has learned from the mistakes of other girls and is offering him nothing but comfort and care. It's a beautiful thing to witness. Lord Phoenix let out a hearty laugh. Agreed, but I must say that was quite the motherly trick you used on Riser. I haven't seen you use that on him since he was a child. But it was a good idea, honestly. After seeing that loving embrace, I wouldn't want to get between my own daughter and that boy. She's probably willing to fight me. Ha ha ha, Layla smirked back at him. Indeed, and I doubt he would want to be hated by his little sister that he adores. So it's only right that he would do something that would make her happy, and helping the boy was the definite way to do it. Like you said, I wouldn't want to be in the way of that. We also have that she punched Rias. She has a temper on her when you get her going, and she's definitely inherited that from me. Lord Phoenix laughed even harder. Ha ha ha, I've been on the receiving end of your temper, my love. But as long as our little girl is happy, that's all I care about. Layla grinned at him. Same here, that's all I care about. And it seems like she'll help him in his recovery. Plus, I wouldn't be lying if I said I'm treating him like my own despite the promise I made to Mickey. I truly am starting to see him as part of our family, which I can only imagine is going to happen in time. Hee hee hee. In time, my love, Lord Phoenix said, wrapping his arm around Layla's waist. First, let's make sure he's healed properly. Judging by our daughter, she's taking it slow with him and ensuring that he's healed before she tries anything. And I have faith that she's responsible and mature enough after seeing all that's happening to prevent from rushing things and improperly addressing his trauma, unlike those other girls. Yes, my love, Layla agreed, her face warming with a smile. I think it's time for us to head to bed. We have an eventful day ahead tomorrow. We also need to inform the Moos about this event, omitting our personal family secrets, of course. But they should be aware of what's going on with him, and we might need more help in treating him. Lord Phoenix nodded, guiding Layla through the corridors of the Phoenix Mansion to their own room. I couldn't agree more. But let's address that tomorrow. For now, let's head to bed. Layla nodded in agreement as they proceeded to their bedroom, the night filled with anticipation for the significant day awaiting them tomorrow. Scene change, primordial realm. Issei snapped out of his trance and looked around him and found himself engulfed into an area enraged by fire, but the fire felt itself ancient as it has been around since the dawn of creation. That's when he soon heard the flapping of mighty wings and a sound that caught up to him that made him look up, and a sound that caught up to him that made him look up, and a sound that caught his attention and made him look up, and as he did, he saw a majestic, mighty giant phoenix engulfed in fire all around its body before it spoke in a very echoing and proud tone. Primordial Phoenix, ah boy, we finally meet each other face to face, and not in your mind. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the Primordial Phoenix, birthed from the fires of creation. My existence is as old as time itself, on par with that of the dragon gods, the Primordial Phoenix. And you, Issei Hayato, are in some dire situation, and I'm here to explain the severity of it. Issei, seems like you know what's going on with me, but before I ask anything else, can you explain why I can't feel the connection with my partner right now? Primordial Phoenix, all will be revealed in time, but you should know that I am not the only ancient being here to discuss the current situation you're in. Regarding your partner who dwells within your own soul, the Welsh dragon, let's just say the other being that will be joining us is finishing up being able to set up what we are talking about in this conversation between us, which will have ramifications for you. After saying that, the Primordial Phoenix looked up and could see a rift in his primordial opening up, leading from the dimensional gap. Soon a giant, massive red western dragon with a horn on its snout, and with two giant sets of wings, its massive size far dwarfing the already enormous Primordial Phoenix that was before him. Soon, in a great, echoing and powerful voice, the great red massive western dragon spoke. Great Red Phoenix, the seals already believe it is time for us to have the conversation with the boy. Primordial Phoenix, I agree. Soon enough, Issei felt his connection between D-Drake established, and soon the boosted gear materialized, but the gear looked like it had changed, and seals put all around it. Even Drake, I feel that he was being restricted from accessing his partner. Drake, partner, what is going on? Why does it feel like I'm being restricted from you and feel like I have seals placed on the gear itself? What is happening? Issei, D-Drake, I don't know, but the fact that we are in the realm of the Primordial Phoenix, and even the Great Red is here, I feel like they know more of what's going on than either of us. Drake, upon hearing not only that they're in the Primordial Phoenix's realm, but even Great Red is here, made their Welsh dragon within the gear pale from his crimson red to almost a ghostly white upon hearing two great beings' names. D-Drake, partner, did you say Great Red, the Primordial Phoenix are here and we are in the Primordial realm? How did we end up here, partner? I don't remember much other than going into the massive room that had that primordial plane, and then I lose connection with you and you go into a trance, and now we're here. What is going on? Great Red, enough. All will be explained, so I would recommend you to be quiet and let us explain everything that is to happen and the choice you must make. Issei Hayato, after hearing the powerful and echoing voice of Great Red silence them both, causing both Drake and Issei to gulp in fear of the dragon god of dreams. Primordial Phoenix, now that you are both attentively listening, allow me to explain, because this will affect both of you. After that, the Primordial Phoenix began explaining to both Drake and Issei what is to happen in his situation, and Great Red chimed in when needed. As it was going on, Layla Phoenix returned back to the main part of the mansion with the rest of her family, where she opened the door to be greeted by her husband Lord Phoenix, who looked at her and could tell she was shocked and nervous about something. But before he could say anything on cue, Ravel Issei wasn't with her, looked concerned, worried, and frightened for his well-being, and asked her mother in a panicked tone where her Issei was. Ravel, mother, where is Issei? Why isn't he with you? Where is he? Layla Phoenix, knowing this was going to be a hard conversation, knew before her daughter to look at her in the eyes before speaking. Layla, my sweet daughter, I know I had your brothers explain to you what the primordial flame is, and what we were doing with Issei. This is most likely the will of the primordial phoenix. You need to understand that you need to give him the time to deal with this himself. Ravel was confused, frustrated, and even more worried about the situation. Surprising everyone, Ravel raised her voice at her own mother. Ravel, mother, I don't care about that. Tell me where Issei is. I promised I wanted a bed in him, and I would stand by his side. Tell me where he is now. I want to know where he is. I promised I would never abandon him. Tell me. All the men in the room, from Lord Phoenix, Ravel, and Riser, surprised and worried about how their mother would react after seeing their own daughter raise their tone at their mother. But Layla, seeing the true concern and care her daughter had for Issei, let her attitude and her voice being raised towards your slide for the moment. To the point, she just told her daughter the truth. Layla, my dear daughter, I understand your concern for the boy, but that does not give you a reason to yell at me. I am still your mother, and I demand respect, and I'm going to be honest with you. Issei was engulfed in the primordial flame, and most likely taken to the realm of the primordial phoenix himself. Lord Phoenix was taken aback by what unfolded before his eyes. Reacting to his wife's words, his daughter Ravel, in a fit of emotion, unleashed her hidden power, flaming wings bursting from her back, engulfing the room in intense heat. In a state of shock, Lord Phoenix observed as Ravel demanded to rescue a certain individual named Issei, expressing disbelief that her mother allowed such a tragedy to occur. Ravel, what do you mean? Issei was consumed by the flames. I won't stand by and watch. I need to go to him, protect him like we promised his parents. I must save him. Ravel's voice rang out, filled with determination and desperation, as she pushed her mother aside to make her way towards the primordial flames. The sudden show of defiance from Ravel left those around her stunned. Her brother Ravel quickly intervened, understanding the danger she was putting herself in by approaching the primordial flames. He grasped her, trying to prevent her from making a potentially fatal mistake. Ravel, let go, Ravel. I need to see Issei, ensure he's safe. I can't bear the thought of him turning into that monster. Please, I need to go to him. Ravel's pleas turned into tears, her voice trembling with fear and anguish as she struggled against her brother's hold. Ravel, with a heavy heart, tried to reason with his distraught sister. No, Ravel. The situation is beyond our control. The primordial phoenix has a plan, and we must trust in it. Issei will return when the time is right. Please trust in me. Ravel's voice held a mix of sorrow and determination as he tried to console Ravel. Ravel's desperation escalated into a panic attack, her cries growing louder as she pleaded to be released. No, please let me go. I need to be with Issei by his side. Please, I promise to stand by him and help him through this. I can't bear to be apart from him. Her words echoed with raw emotion, her heartache palpable to all who witnessed the scene. Ravel's resolve wavered in the face of his sister's anguish. I'm sorry, Ravel. We are powerless in this situation. Issei will return when the primordial phoenix deems it so. I'm sorry, dear sister. Ravel's eyes reflected the pain of denying Ravel's plea, knowing the depth of her love for Issei. Ravel, no. Issei, come back to me, please. Ravel's final plea echoed through the room, a heart-wrenching cry born out of love and despair, leaving a somber silence in its wake. The emotional turmoil enveloped them all as they waited for the primordial phoenix's will to unfold. That's when Ravel, with a heavy heart, knocked out his distraught and heartbroken sister to calm down the situation. Tennessee did. Her unconscious body fell into his arms, and her flaming wings that were emitting so much power disappeared, leaving a sigh of relief for everyone. Until Ravel spoke to everyone. Ravel, mother, father, I understand this is the will of the phoenix, but that was heartbreaking to do, and listen to my own baby sister cry out in such a heart-wrenching way. Are we sure that the boy will return? Lord Phoenix walked over to his son, put a hand on his shoulder, and spoke in a very caring and concerned tone. Lord Phoenix, I do not know my son. I can hope is the boy will return to see our daughter, but we must have faith in the Phoenix, and has a plan for him. All we can do is bide our time, and I know what we all saw was heartbreaking for you too, for being her brother Riser, and Ravel as well for me and your mother. That when Layla Phoenix locked up to her son and grabbed her daughter from her son's embrace and held her tight, his tears began to fall from her eyes as she embraced her and conscious daughter's body and had her head on her shoulders, and she spoke with tears in her eyes. Layla, oh my sweet daughter, I'm sorry, truly no, from the cries and pleas you were screaming that you truly love him, and it hurts me to see you like this, and having to do this, but we must have faith that there is something greater going on. I just wish as your mother I could do more. Everyone excuse me, I will be taking her to her room and I'll be keeping an eye on her, it's the least I can do. All the rest in the room nodded in agreement to what their wife and mother said. That she walked away towards Ravel's room. As soon as she was out of the room and the door shut behind her, a heavy and dread set into the room with the rest of the men of the family. Until Riser spoke up by slamming his fist on the table in front of him. Slam! Riser, damn Heidi, you better come back for her. You mean too much to the Riser sister to leave her in pain like this. Ravel, bother faith in him that he will return. He doesn't seem like a man that would break his word. Know how much they have been growing closer with each other since that horrific day she experienced. I doubt he would cause her pain like that again. Let's have that. The primordial Phoenix knows what it's doing, that's all we can. Lord Phoenix, yes, you're right, boys, but I think it's time for us to all take a moment to digest of what we just learned and what we just saw from our littlest Phoenix in our family. I need time to comprehend of what just happened, and I believe you boys need time to think over it as well. After hearing their father suggesting, they all nodded in agreement, understanding they needed to take time to process everything they just learned. They left the room, all heading to their own separate rooms to ponder what just happened. As that was happening, the primordial Phoenix, along with Great Red, finished explaining everything to both Drake and Issei's situation, what is going on, what tough decisions she needs to make. Primordial Phoenix, so that is your situation, Issei Hayata, and the dire situation you have not only made for yourself but for others due to a fat other side of yours ever gained control. It will lead to destruction to all you care about. Great Red, yes, hatchling, your trauma that you suppressed that I've seen through your dreams these last few days indicates that you have made something within you from your personality splitting from the trauma. All your negative and hateful traits along with your dragon side have all been divided, giving your boosted gear is at its mercy. It wasn't for the Phoenix stepping forward in your mindscape on that day, I would have done it as well to prevent you from being. Must truly understand that you have the capability of being just as terrifying as the beast of the apocalypse trifexa, devoured by madness and consumed by only wanting to cause death and destruction. Your aura has been corrupted. Corruption is spreading, as I've said, to even the boosted gear, and unfortunately to you, D-Drake. I know you feel it, and it is why we must seal the boosted gear along with many other aspects of your dragon side away. It is for your own good, and the good of others. Issei, overwhelmed by all the information, wasn't keen about sealing away his partner. He saw him as a brother, and did not want to do this to him. He thought there is another way until, surprisingly to his shock, Drake spoke up. Drake, Great Red and Primordial Phoenix, I understand your point of view on this, and I agree to you sealing me away and partner's dragon side if it means he's safe. I only want him to be able to be strong on his own, and if you can guarantee you will train him and give him power, Phoenix, and be by his side, I will agree to being sealed away. Issei, D-Drake, no. I'm not going to lose you. D-Drake, partner, understand, and you're not losing me. I will still be inside of you. Just see what a way, along with a lot of your dragon aspects. This is for your own good. This, but that night you woke up in terror. I also heard a voice coming from the black mist wall, and what it said was simply terrifying. It has absorbed the curse of the boosted gear and its users, and it even says it will be slowly corrupting me, and I hate to admit it. When it said that, I thought it was nothing but pure lies. It was trying to intimidate me, but I've noticed lately I'm feeling a presence in me that's corrupting, and the fact that it's itself has been infesting and corrupting the boosted gear. Your evil that has been separated from you are two halves, no longer one whole being, and that evil side has started to corrupt, and in fact the boosted gear, and will affect me because I'm part of it. I understand, and I want to be by your side, partner, but this is the best for you. Do not cause more harm than you already almost did. Do not become that monster that Phoenix Girl prevented you from becoming. I understand you do not like this, but it's the best for all until you're strong enough. Issei, but he was cut off by the Primordial Phoenix. Primordial Phoenix, the dragon is right also inside your soul from the fire that I left inside of you from my descendant of my flames left within you to bring you back to your senses. And I've been able to see the corruption on a level he is not able to see yet. The souls that were trapped in that gear along with your dragon are being corrupted and coming to a head where they will only obey that corrupted side, just like your dragon aura. Great Red, yes, and I will be doing this myself. I'm also going to prevent by putting a seal on your sides depending on your choices you make today. Issei, choices, what do you mean? Great Red, I told you, boy, your evil side that has split from your personality has the potential to be another trihexa, another beast of the apocalypse to kill all those you love, but there's a way to prevent this, and not through me, though I am powerful enough to help, or the Welsh dragon inside your gear. No, what needs to happen is not only a new path for dragons and phoenixes, but for you to become a new species of dragon-phoenix hybrid to unite the species, and no longer end this constant wars in the skies when they ever come in contact. Oh, the primordial phoenix will give you a choice, but you must make. I will allow the phoenix to explain. Primordial phoenix, has he suggesting I have a choice for you, choice that could bring a new path for dragon in phoenix, the light, to bring the light to a new species and to end the millenniums of bloodshed between our two that started because of that beast of the apocalypse, and you will learn in our time together, but as of now your choice is this: I will turn you into a phoenix, not a devil phoenix, but a pure descendant of myself, but that comes with a cost that you must find worthy enough to surrender. As you must know, the dragon side of you that has been corrupted has been consuming aspects of you over in these last few days. It is at 0% of what you are currently made of. Dragon, be more precise. You are 0% normal dragon, as for your corrupted self is about 0% evil dragon, and is corrupting the rest of you. I would hate to say this, but most of humanity in you has already been devoured, and some of your devil side. In order to combat this evil within you, you must fight it with a light, and my light of creation of a phoenix of mine is able to burn away that darkness and evil alike. Issei, I would like to know what choices I have. Honestly, it seems like I have only an obvious choice other than becoming what you are fear of me, which is becoming another one of the beasts of the apocalypse, and I refuse to become that after what I've been told of it. And it seems like my only option is to listen to what you have to offer, Primordial Phoenix. And what price must I pay for your helping in this? Primordial Phoenix, before I give you this choice, I have 3 questions to ask you. Depending on your answers will be depends I decide to help you or let you suffer. Issei gulped in nervousness at how cold and serious tone the Primordial Phoenix had before he nodded in agreement to let the Phoenix continue. Primordial Phoenix, my first question: willing to give up your harem dream? Because if you were to be anything like a phoenix, understand that we make for life and only have one mate in our whole lives. You are captured the heart of one of my descendants of my flames. I would like to know, are you willing to accept only one love in your life, and are you willing to get over your trauma, to admit her feelings like she did to you on that fateful day, to save you from your own darkness? Issei, wow, any other time in my life I would have immediately agreed with you that I would never give up my dream to be a harem king, but recent events showing me that just because you have multiple women that say they love you doesn't mean they are willing to show that love or truly mean it, and I realize the more you trust those women, the more you're capable of being hurt. Twice as much I'm willing to only be with her, and in time I'm willing to get past my trauma to share the same affections and in my feelings like she did. So yes, I would be willing to surrender that foolish dream of a child I had. Primordial Phoenix, good ND question: are you willing to take upon yourself the power of the Phoenix, and learn what it means to be more than just what you've been learned about being a brute who fights with his fists, and hopes you can win? Because you will learn to fight not like a dragon anymore, but like a phoenix with a clear mind. Your elegance will be shown in your fighting style, your might be shown through your way you avoid being hit. No more will your reckless behavior gets you victories. You shall learn the way of a phoenix. Are you prepared to do that? Issei, I mean, you have a point that I've always gone into fights fists first, not thinking of anything, trying to hopefully get past my opponents, and getting to strength to get by. But if you're saying what, I'm going to lose my partner and friend, and I'm not even going to be able to use the dragon aspects I have obtained. You could show me a new way of fighting, something more than what I've ever could have imaginatively achieving, then I will agree no matter what hell you put me through. Primordial Phoenix, ha ha ha, I like you, boy, and don't worry, our training will be hell, but we can talk about that later. My final question: are you willing to sacrifice the last of your humanity along with your devil side to become a phoenix? Currently your remaining side that are not consumed by your dragon sides are percent human and percent devil. For me to last of your humanity and your devil side along with the pieces that with inside of you to become a phoenix, you will become a 0% dragon and 0% phoenix hybrid. At that point, though, you would not have access to your dragon side. Issei was taking it back by the fact that he would lose his humanity altogether, but more to the fact that he would fear that he would lose to boosted deer, not having any humanity left in him for the sacred gear system to recognize. Great Red, rising his thought process, immediately chimed in. Great Red, do not worry, Castling. Thanks to what your corrected side is done, the boosted gear has been bonded to you. It will not leave you if you lose all your humanity. Though if you do die, it will go to the next user, which it will be a human, but no, you will not lose it. If you lose all your humanity, you will be a special case due to the corruptive nature, and how it's affected it's linked with the sacred gear system, so you will be fine. Issei read the sigh of relief after realizing you want to lose his partner but understood what needed to be said next, and he spoke up to the primordial phoenix. Issei, I have one thing to ask before I agree to this. I would like to know what will happen in the next few moments once I do. Primordial Phoenix, you are very aware of what might happen, or at least know what could happen if you agree to this. I am to tell you that Great Red will seal your partner away until that moment you're ready to fight that side of yours, and you will lose all access to the boosted gear until then, until that side is absorbed back into you and you conquered your trauma and your anger. You will not. Second of all, will be training here in the primary around with me until I see fit to release you back into your normal realm. But do not worry, time in the primordial around travels slower than a normal reality. To give you a concept for you to understand, a week in here would be equivalent to 2 months' time span out in the real world. And you also have no need to eat or sleep while you're in the primordial around, so you will be trained until mold you into the perfect version of yourself to be better than what you are, to enhance on your good abilities and skills, to make you a phoenix to be proud of, and to start a new path forward for dragons and phoenix alike. Standard, it will not be easy, and it will be hell, and once you come down this road there will be no going back, because I will not allow you to leave this realm until I see fit that you have passed my challenges, hasn't earned my power as the phoenix. Issei took in all the information and let it sink in, and as soon as it finally all came to him, and realizing what he needed to do, he stared up at the primordial phoenix with determination and will in his eyes before speaking. Issei, I agree to your terms. I understand what it's going to happen, and I regret nothing, and if it means one day I can reunite with my partner and friend, and I would do it. Primordial Phoenix, good boy, you may yet prove yourself to me. Welsh Dragon, do you have anything to say before you are sealed away by Great Red? Drake, yes I do. Hey partner, want you to know I have full faith in you. Partner, I know we're not going to be able to communicate or talk, and know it's for the right reasons why I have agreed to do this. I believe you can get stronger, and when I finally am able to see you again, I know we could become stronger together. Do me a favor, I know I want you to be the peace between the phoenix and dragons, but prove to this phoenix that you have the capability of being the best damn phoenix dragon hybrid that there's ever been and will ever be. Do what you've always done, partner, make them impossible possible. Even if we can't talk, no, I'll have your back and I'll support you. Issei, wiping away tears, I will drag. I'll prove to you when we meet again that I'm going to be the best damn dragon phoenix hybrid there ever been and ever will be. Drake, good, and there's no need for a proud phoenix to cry whether alone a dragon. Listen to me, partner, don't hide from your feelings. Use this time to get over your trauma and be honest with how you feel about Ravel. Seen firsthand how much she cares about you. Even if you weren't awake to see it, I could see it. Do the gear. Not saying you need to force yourself, but open your heart again, cause she truly loves you, partner. Do that for me and for yourself, and more importantly for her. Is the only woman you will ever love and found yourself to. Make sure she knows that she has that privilege. So one more thing, you need this more than I will. Issei, I will do that. Drake, I promise you, not only will I show this phoenix that I'm capable of harnessing its power, overcome everything, and tell her how I feel, and I'll show her why she's the only woman I can see myself being with from now on and ever. Drake, good, well, it is all I have to say. There's nothing left I need to say, so whenever you're ready you can seal me away. But before you do, Primordial Phoenix, I have something to say. My partner will harness your power and surprise you to know, and like you did me, do not underestimate him, and I'd better expect to see him stronger than he was now, or feel the wrath of the Welsh Heavenly Dragon. Also one more thing, partner, you need this. You won't access it if I get sealed away, so take it now. Drake then summoned out Ascalon the gear. Issei, but Drake, no, partner, you're needed for your training, and I feel like if you had to fight your dragon self again, this will come in handy. All I had to say, Primordial Phoenix, I'm ready when you are. Primordial Phoenix, ha ha ha. If Hemade, the great heavenly Welsh dragon, so impressed, I look forward to seeing what your host can give me. If you can earn my respect, you are in my power, and leave this place. It's a good idea for you to give him that sword. He'll need that in our training, and I have an idea for it. But if that's all you have to say, believe me, I will make sure he'll come back stronger. Great Red, whenever you're ready. Great Red, try to do this to a fellow dragon, even if you only stuck in a gear drag, but you're willing to do this, so as a dragon you have my respect as the great dragon of dreams. Take that as a great honor, Welsh dragon. Drake, proud and honored smile on his face, then could feel Great Red using his powers to activate all the seals as he felt himself fall into a deep sleep, and the boost gear that was materialized on Issei's left arm faded away and soon changed, and seals flashed on his arm where the gear used to be, and the symbols and chains then faded away. Great Red, alright, my duty here is done. I look forward to seeing what you can do, boy. You're still a dragon, young hatchling, and I have high hopes that you can finally put an end to this long and pointless bloodshed between dragons and phoenixes, and better, if I am right about this, can do more than what you could have ever expected. Do me proud as a dragon, young hatchling, but until then, farewell. Same to you, primordial phoenix. The primordial phoenix nodded at the Great Red, opened the portal to the dimensional gap as he flew through it, and soon as he finished going through it, the portal sealed, leaving only the primordial phoenix and Issei. Issei, who lifted his left hand in front of him, realizing that he couldn't feel the connection with his partner anymore, but shook it off, realizing you can't dwell upon it, and knows that he'll meet him again, focuses himself, and looks at the primordial phoenix, and has a determined look on his face. Issei, alright, I'm ready to do this. Have you ready to perform the procedure to convert me into a phoenix? Primordial phoenix, ha ha ha, well boy, you're eager to experience pain, but alright then, let's begin. That's when the memorial phoenix reached out one of its talents, and touched him on the chest, and in a second, as soon as he felt a splitting transfer of power, like his very being was being replaced, and he was being burned from the inside out, ripped through his body, fell to his knees as he screamed in pain. Issei, ah! Holy shit, this hurts. Why does this hurt then when I got hit with a fragment of Excalibur or a light spear? Primordial Phoenix, don't worry, I will take your mind off that pain, and it will upside it's your remaining parts of your devil and human side being transformed into a phoenix. It will be painful, and your evil pieces are being changed as well with that are within you. It's time for you to experience the first round of hell, because you will not leave my primordial realm until I deem you fit enough to wield the power of a majestic and powerful phoenix. That's when the primordial phoenix flew out its mighty wings, and its body gluing to an intense fiery glow surrounding its whole body, blinding Issei. He was in pain from the transformation that was going on within his body. And soon the bright light ended, and once Issei was able to finally see what the primordial phoenix turned himself into, it shocked him and also made him gulp in fear, realizing he's about to experience a training hell that could make even what he's experienced up until now look like nothing. Primordial Phoenix, you look surprised, boy, don't? If you're able to harness my power, this is a form that you will be able to call upon the Phoenix armor. I made it particularly for you by studied what the balance breaker looked like through some of your memories, and I made something that would suit you as well as suit the Phoenix way of fighting. So do not expect to think that just because it's armor you will take blows. I will teach you how to fight like a true warrior, but this is not all you will be learning. You're able to master this power. This is the armor you will be granted, so let that be an aspiration for you, that and the powers of what the Phoenix will grant you. Now stand up and get over your pain, because I guarantee you will experience more than what you're feeling now in the next few months in my realm. Issei, who had a very determined and yet painful smile as he got on his feet, realizing he dropped Ascalon when he felt the pain search him, he picked it up and grasped it in both hands, aimed it at the memorial Phoenix Dawn in that armor, and smiled wickedly. Then what are we waiting on? Let's begin. Issei couldn't tell, but behind that armor the primordial phoenix smiled with a wicked grin as he charged towards the boy. His months of training within the primordial realm and hell he would experience has just begun, but he'll come out on top and stronger. Primordial Phoenix, good boy, prove to me you're worthy of my power, and even know my name I go by. Prove to me you're worth it. In here your time is mine, and you will not leave here until you do. Time skip training. It has been weeks have passed within the primordial realm as Issei's so-called training has commenced, but more likely it is a brutality of non-stop and unmerciful show of power towards him by the primordial memorial phoenix. Current Issei is being thrown around. Issei was trying to defend himself. Thanks for watching this video. You really enjoy this video. Like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. Don't forget to support and follow Skinny40k for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. See you in the next video. Goodbye.